All right, ready? This is Skybunker episode 11. We are starting the episode by talking about how did Jeffrey Epstein get into
Bear Stearns. I don't know.
Because I thought he didn't
Bear
even
Stearns
have
Mirrors.
He didn't have a full degree. I think he was studying a bit of math for a bit. He dropped it. I think it was like Hunter College or something. I forget the bio. Like it wasn't even particularly prestigious.
No,
But he made some trades. He made some friends. He maybe sold some kids. And then the rest is history.
No, he apparently interned, and then he interned. When he was interning, he made them a bunch of money, but I think he got kicked out for like fraud or some bullshit again. And they went to another place and interned again and started making a bunch of. I can't remember this. I watched this Netflix documentary, but like he apparently made a bunch of money on Wall Street, but he was apparently also scamming or something too. Like he raised a bunch of money from funds and. But he was legitimately successful.
He wasn't scamming. The biggest thing about him, basically, he only managed like the money for like one guy, but that one guy's portfolio was like worth like over $1 billion. All that matters at the end of the day is assets under management. Exactly, like Wexler, exactly. And Wexler was the CEO for I think like what female brand?
Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, he had like over $1 billion in AUM. And like as like an
To $1 billion?
well as a wealth management advisor.
From what though? Like what did he grow it from? Like did he grow it from like
no one knows
10 million or
no
something?
one understands the relationship between Wexler and Epstein. To be quite frank, there's a lot of like gray areas in his history. And the question is,
I hope it was platonic.
yeah. And I think the major question in the whole thing with like Epstein too is like who's really the intelligence asset? Is it really like Jeffrey Epstein or was it like Ghislaine? Because the interesting thing about
Well, hold on.
Ghislaine.
I don't know if I agree with those assumptions. Let's unpack this.
Oh, they were 100% intelligence assets.
100% is a strong claim. What evidence?
Oh,
do you
sorry,
have?
99% intelligence assets.
No, man, don't be
Dude, did your
facetious.
dad go to jail?
No, wasn't there?
Walk us through this.
There was some. I forget. There's some known political man, some political name rather, that was either in Congress or Senate at the time, and like there was something that was happening when Jeffrey Epstein got initially charged with like child sex trafficking or some sort of like sexual like some sexual like charge.
I left my phone in the car here.
And like he got this amazing deal, and when people are asking why is he getting this deal, the guy said it's above my pay grade, right? So and like there's like it's not just me being insane. I think you ask anybody right now, it'd be hard, you ask any sane person right now, and I think they
No, that begs the question.
Have the
That begs the question.
Yeah. So what was he? So what do you think he was then?
I don't know, but I think I'm not saying he's definitely not. I'm just saying I don't think we have quite enough evidence to say either way. That's my take.
No, because he's either Mossad or CIA, because this is also what like these intelligence agencies do, honeypots.
Or what about the idea that he just had a lot of power?
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
And like you can do a lot when you have a lot of power.
Honeypot.
You don't have to be full-on intelligence agent to have
That's
these
true,
connections.
yeah.
Yeah, you just had a lot of money and power.
But also,
For a lot of kids, you had a lot of kids, right?
It does,
You had a lot of kids.
but it does also
Working
it follows the historic behavior of other intelligence agencies. Honeypotting is actually a very well-used tactic by pretty much all intelligence agencies. Where essentially,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I want to see evidence. I want to see more evidence that he had connections to intelligence agents.
Because the simplest answer might just be it. Like, yeah, it's power. Right? It's like maybe there's no
I think
underlying
so.
motive to it. It's like, dude.
I mean, if you're asking whether he had friends who were intelligence agents, I'm open to that.
Oh, for sure.
I would guess that's probably
Sure.
right.
So wait,
But it's
wait,
different than say that he himself is an intelligence
How do you
agent.
explain his New York real estate or whatever? I think I'm not sure if it was was it a penthouse or was it like an actual house? That he used to invite people to have sex parties in and basically has cameras all over it. That's 100% happened. Well,
Wait, you talking him like?
Oh, why can't we set up cameras in my house?
okay, no, but the better question actually is why are the videos not being released of the people that he caught on camera?
Probably because, like we agreed, he had a lot of power influence people in positions of power that don't want to know that they're there.
Yeah, so
But that's different than saying that he's a CIA agent.
I didn't say CIA agent. I said intelligence asset. There's a difference.
Oh, so maybe what do you mean by?
I don't know about.
So
maybe evidence of this.
There's a difference between okay. Similarly to how, for example, a police force may have informants. That's a police.
Oh,
asset.
okay. If you mean maybe. Okay. Maybe in that sense. Okay, I see.
They subsidize these individuals, and they basically also allow them certain legal grievances
Maybe.
in order for them to purport certain tasks that they want to be done, right?
Maybe.
So that's what I'm trying to say to a guy like Jeffrey. I'm not saying he was like a part of the CIA.
Oh, okay.
But he was
That's what I thought you were trying to say.
He was an asset 100% for sure that was collecting favors, or at the very least collecting collateral or blackmail information
Yeah.
from scientists and a lot of stakeholders in politics from around the world in the worst possible thing possible, which is literally a child sex trafficking ring that has somehow managed to be global.
So scientists, is that, you think there's some scientists?
Oh no, 100% of the scientists that were involved as well too.
So what are you talking about?
Oh, but the people that flew on the Lolita Express. There's a
I
manifest.
don't know.
There was a manifest that was released. Then yes, like he basically he was going after a lot of scientists as well, and academics.
So say more.
Yes, he was going after a lot of scientists and academics, and he said the reason why.
So there were scientists sleeping with kids?
Well, there were scientists who were basically flying on the Lolita Express, and there were also scientists who were. Going
So
to
tell me why. I haven't read about this stuff.
Yeah, so basically, so the whole thing about Jeffrey Epstein, right, from my understanding of this, is that Jeffrey Epstein was a wealth management advisor based out of the US, but basically he was a money guy who had access to a lot of women and you'd supply like parties. And that's also a tactic done in like professional services, like lawyers do this, everything like that. The whole idea of honeypotting, or essentially having like hot women around you, being the guy to get girls, it's like it's everyone. Come on, we're guys. We understand that this is a thing. It doesn't change.
Oh, I mean, they do it everywhere. I mean,
Exactly.
You go to the well, and
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You go to the well, plants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's basically who Jeffrey Epstein was. The only messed up part was that he was with kids, which is the most disgusting thing possible, right? So the thing was that Jeffrey Epstein, as like matter of factly, was going around the world, courting scientists and academics.
So yeah, say more about. I'm curious.
Yeah, so
Say more about.
Prince
no
Albert.
one really understood why, but he basically would just be like endorsing.
Can you give me some examples of scientists? Or
I can pull up some scientists actually. Hold on. Sorry.
And although these names are on the flight log, were they actually going to the island? or
I'm
were
pretty
they
sure.
just fly the
I'm
plane?
pretty sure there's some scientists who defend Jeffrey Epstein to this day. Scientists, Jeffrey Epstein. They're like, oh, he was a good guy to me. I didn't see anything.
Well, I heard that Epstein donated a lot of money to MIT. There's a connection to Epstein through some initiatives Bill Gates was doing. I read about that too.
So the first article is science.org. What do you think about that? Or no? What do you think about that resource? It's called "What kind of researcher did sex offender Jeffrey Epstein like to fund?" He told Science before he died.
Oh yeah, okay, hold on. If you're asking whether he funded scientists, that's different than saying that he provided child prostitutes to scientists. That's what I thought you were saying.
Well, he funded, but he also courted them. I'm saying in addition to funding, I was talking about the courting. This is talking about.
If you want to get something real like Illuminati, like Bohemian Grove, like
I think that actually gets too far away with it. I think honestly, I think the Bohemian Grove is like an artsy thing. Like people, just artsy people.
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
But, like, I'm not calling it, but like,
Yeah.
if you want to get this whole theory that like that there was like some elite pedophile ring that he was sort of like the ringleader for, and what he would do is that, let's say he found a bunch of like politicians who were like super like they're essentially pedophiles, right?
Yeah.
And he was able to sort of like leverage his position as sort of like a child pimp or something like that, and then broker deals through these like private island parties where you find a bunch of underage girls and everything like that. That I could actually 100% believe.
Yeah.
Because again, the reason why is because that exists even amongst like broke guys who go to like third world countries and do sex tourism there, right? So for that to exist, because like amongst like elites, prostitution always exists. So there probably is like an X amount of like pedophiles, and that's why when they talk about like when people start getting conspiracy theories about like all these important people having these like elite sex parties that have like underage girls, I part of me is like there probably like who knows who it is, but there probably is some of that going on.
But I think this sort of buys into the whole like
it's not Hillary Clinton.
I think this buys into the whole all rich people are really messed up in that.
No, not all. I'm not saying all, but some of them definitely are.
Yeah, no, I know, but
they're still human.
Because I feel like there's perfectly normal wealthy people who like definitely like actually I would say the majority of like a person that's wealthy would look at that kind of behavior and be completely appalled by it, right? And I think that's the point of the severity of this guy's actions that's never really spoken about, because I feel like this people sort of like by sort of like this actually happened. Like Jeffrey Epstein 100% had like a global whatever, all that kind of stuff. I can't say too many times. You know what I mean? And he, I cannot say he purchased X for these people, right? What I will say is that these people happen to frequent the areas in which these negative actions, where what's it called? Victims have come out and said they've been abused. So like I forget the names of the actual victims that came out and spoke out. There's like two of them. Like,
I don't know.
Virginia something. Blah, blah,
There's
blah.
probably quite a few. I guess it was at least 70.
But actually kind of begs the question is, is all money really just evil, right? Like money has no emotions, but money flows.
I think people are just, some people are just evil.
People are evil, but if you know money's coming from an individual who, let's say, committed heinous crimes, do you still accept money?
If you do, that's illegal. Because you're receiving crimes from your
But the money itself has no emotions. It's just money. It's just printed.
Yeah, but like it's not about the money. It's about the humans using it for evil, right?
Yeah. So you talk about how the money is accumulated, but you can arguably say like a lot of
Like
money
money's the root of all evil.
Well, a lot of money in circulation is at some point.
I
Due
think
to exploitation, at some point, when you stop and be like, oh, you know what,
these
at
are
the
the tough
beginning,
questions in
right? It doesn't even matter.
I think
It doesn't even
power
matter.
can corrupt you.
Question.
Like if you get a lot of power in life, you are probably more susceptible to becoming a corrupt individual. It doesn't mean you will be, but like if you get a lot of money in your life, it creates a lot more temptation. It's like I had this guy say to me, he's like, why don't you let your wife go clubbing, or and he's just like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with letting your wife go clubbing, but like it's just an environment of temptation. And you're just increasing the odds of something going down. It's like, I'm not saying you're supposed to get chill and she go clubbing all the time, but she's just like, but she's going all the time. She's drinking. It's just an environment of temptation. And when you have a lot of money, I think it's a similar environment.
if your wife is going clubbing all the time, you're clearly fucking up. Like, why is your wife going clubbing all the time? You know, I don't understand. Maybe like she doesn't want to be around you. You know, trying to say.
It can be for different reasons. Like some women just really like to just be glamorous and get dressed up and go.
Some just enjoy it.
Yeah, some just like to dance.
Which one do you want? What flavor do you
Yeah,
want?
but I think like
What flavor do you want?
I'm indifferent. But I know
I'll give them this one.
I know for a fact that when girls are really into me, they basically turn into like teenage girls. And they like being around you and whatnot. So it's basically, and I don't mean that
Teenage
I'm not saying
I think you help. I think you're like a masculine guy, so you help put them in their feminine energy. Because like when you're a masculine guy and you make them feel protected, it enables them to revert to that like young innocent state where they're like, well, I got a big strong guy, so I can like act stupid and get drunk and shit. This guy will like fucking rock anybody else. I'm good, like, you know.
I don't mean that. I just mean even like she wants to go dance. She probably wants to go dance too. Obviously, she wants to go dance with her girls, but obviously, and you know what? Maybe I can only speak to my life experience, right? But like, if I am dating a girl and she's constantly wants to like not be with me on weekends, then like maybe I am doing something that makes her not want to be with me on weekends. That's how I look at it.
If you have a girlfriend who like, I think I don't want to judge like my non-existent spouse like too heavily, but I would just look at the reasons why she's doing it. Like, let's say she has like a really stressful job and let's say she really likes music a lot.
Girls like partying, like dancing.
I know the difference. If she's going, she's not getting super fucked up. She's just going out and hanging out with her friends. They're having a good time at the club. Like I'm like, okay, maybe you're just doing that. If she's going out every weekend and like doing that in addition to that, getting like super drunk and doing a ton of substances and like really fully escaping, then I've been like, to the point where it's a little bit destructive. I'm just like, okay, maybe this is like, why are you doing this for?
People have different outlets, right?
Yeah.
So you either accept those outlets or you join them in the outlets. It's like, yeah, maybe you're not like a fitness person, but your spouse really loves to go to the gym every Friday. And you're like, why do we have to go to the gym every Friday? Why do we go watch a movie? And she's like, no, it's my routine. It's like what I do. You should come to the gym with me on Friday. And you're like, no, it's kind of like, I don't want to do that. Like, why do we have to do it? So it's like, there's friction there, but you also have to see why what's the root cause. Whether it's the gym or dancing or whatever, like, people have outlets. And also, again, you don't have to, be attached to your partner, like,
At the hip.
Yeah. And everything. I know couples like that who like they do everything together. And I'm like, bro, couldn't be me, man. Like people love being there 24/7. I'm like, yo, at the end of the day, you're still your own person. Yeah, you're together as a couple, but you're also your own person. If the other person is required for you to be a person, you got your own issues.
I see what you're saying.
Like if the other person is required for you to be a couple, and you're like, yo, like when we're apart, I feel hurt. You got your own issues, man.
You know one thing I heard from this like coach recently? He said he says why advice doesn't work, and his argument was essentially saying that who else said this? Anytime someone else is giving you advice, I don't know, it was Rick Rubin who said this actually. Rick Rubin says that a lot of advice doesn't work for other people, and the reason why is because advice in life, unless it's something specific like career advice or like, I don't know, like advice in school or whatever, he says like most advice for people is so hyper specific to their situation, so contextual.
Oh, yeah.
So what's happening now is I'm on YouTube. Let's say like I'm listening to some advice on YouTube these days. I'm actually disregarding a lot of the advice I read on YouTube, where they're just like, this is about your career and that about your career. Like, you know, I'm looking at like motion design and everything, and they're talking about like, should you do this? I'm listening to the argument. I'm just like, okay, for this guy, like maybe that makes sense, but in my life that has never been true.
Oh, yeah.
Like this does not apply. And when they're saying it on screen, they're saying it so matter of factly. Like I feel like YouTube in general, it's all about clickbait and having super definitive statements, being like you need to do this to be successful. But I'm watching that and I'm just like, okay, I've never done that and I've never found success in that. And actually the opposite of that. And that's actually why even like I had a Molly call me recently, and he had this girl who wanted to be a 3D artist, and she called me and she was asking me for advice. And I was like, can you give me some advice about being a 3D artist? So I told her what my strategy was, which was actually the opposite of what other people do as creatives. Where I actually told her, I said, if you want to be like any kind of like creative, I actually encourage people. A lot of people are like, oh, it's all about networking and getting your door. And I said, but the next thing I asked her is, I said like, okay, do you have like a full-time job, or like are you like living off your work yet? She's like, I have a full-time job and I want to like jump into this. And I said, well, if you really want to do that, the safest way to hedge your bet against that is, can I actually recommend that you spend a lot more time training instead of like networking and this and that? Because like what's going to happen is that if you actually train and really get your skills up, I can almost guarantee eventually if you get good enough at it, you'll make enough money to be able to quit your job. If you want to network and finesse and like try to network on the top, that's way more nebulous, man. That's way more, there's way more variables that you can't control. But what you can control is your skill. So I said that to her and she's just like, oh, no one's ever said that to me. And I said, it's because most people don't want to give you the hard route, because that's actually the harder path. It's harder to study, it's harder to get good. Like I looked at her, she's like a hot ass chick, and she could probably like finesse any room. She probably finesse so many guys to do work with. But I said, you know, another way to get people to give you their money other than finessing them and networking and like trying to wiggle their way in is actually just to be really good. To the point where they have to book you because you're so dope, like, and focus on the skill, and like, and especially within the creative scene where it's all about scenes and like who knows who, and like I'm friends with this person and everything like that. Just to be the one person who's not playing that game, you know. But that's also my advice, because that's kind of what my life was like, right? Like I tried networking all through my 20s, but what actually happened for me is that I became really indispensable when I actually just started studying like crazy and actually becoming irreplaceable, to the point where like there's only maybe a couple of guys who can do it, and if you can become those couple of guys, and then you'll pretty much gravitate everyone towards you without having to do all day to the library, right? So at the same time too, though, maybe in her career, because maybe she's like a beautiful woman, and she also lives in New York, like she'd be able to open a crazy amount of doors that she'd be able to like access NBA players and like people that I just cannot access, right? So maybe in her situation, she'll have opposite results by doing the opposite of what I'm telling her to. So is my advice applicable, right? So I think that's why advice is really hard to give, because it's just like it's just like people all have biases naturally, and
well,
yeah.
they just have unique lives. Some do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think relationship advice, I mean, there might be some generalities that apply to men, women, people, but some stuff is just really specific to the person.
As I get older, I'm starting to realize that more and more with relationships too, because as I get older, it's like you start hearing about how everyone's relationship is sort of different and everyone makes it work differently.
Yeah.
And it's really, and I think that's one of the issues with red pill dating advice and everything, because they make it so like, you know, standardized. When in reality, like let's say like, oh yeah, like if your wife has like a high body count, she's going to be a slut. Like maybe, you know, or if she had a hoe face, there are plenty of girls who go through a hoe face and then just grow out of it and then just stop. And it doesn't mean she's going to cheat on you when she's 35 or some shit. Maybe she just had a party face and that's it. It doesn't mean she's a bad person. Or you know, conversely, she had a hoe face and then she does cheat on you. And then you get confirmation bias. And then you're like, oh, I should have listened to fucking Rich Cooper. I could listen to fucking Rich Cooper. Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't be taking advice from guys on Reddit.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, come on, man. These guys probably I've only seen girls in magazines. Like,
a lot of guys on Reddit they're just talking about their own personal life experience, and I think they should also, you know, because people go on Reddit and they look for like definitive answers, and it's like, you know, there's guys on there who will just talk about their personal experience.
Yeah, because they're chronically online. They should go out and touch some grass, man. Like, look,
There are definitive answers, and I think similarly to what you were saying about advice, it's like relationship advice is also like sometimes incredibly ambiguous. It's not relative to the context of your relationship at all, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I was having a conversation with this girl the other day, and she's so mentally unhealthy, she made me realize I need to go to therapy, because she was in such denial that she needs to go see a therapist. I was like, holy fuck, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I was like, holy. So, like, I think like a lot of people for relationships, the best course of action if you're single and have an issue with that is like go see a relationship therapist. If you're in a relationship and you're going through hard times, I think the best fucking thing someone could do is go to a relationship therapist. That being said, both people have to be in in the boat at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I
right?
hear you.
Yeah. But honestly, it's like the relationship therapist can be like, it's crazy. They can be such a value add insane because they act as an ombudsman and they're also a professional. So they'll basically provide you information that you never would have known because, you know, you guys are probably an accountant and, you know, and like a fucking, I don't know, race car driver. But no, none of you guys are like psychologists, right? So it's
Yeah, a
all
lot of it's so personal, right? It's
Yeah.
like you may have grown up a perfectly healthy individual, but then your partner suddenly has some like childhood trauma, some like issues with like insecurity or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, I've never dealt with that before. I've only read about it in books or whatever. Like, you can't deal with it. You're not equipped to deal with it. Like, you've never been in a situation where this person, or whether it's a friend, a partner, whatever, has, you know, gone through this like trial. You can only think your answers may be helpful, but really, you don't really know, right? Because lived experiences are a very different thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, and honestly, I think like it's funny. I even think of the time to see a relationship therapist for a relationship is like the time where you feel unhappy in a relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm not trying to say that like even like if you do that, because there's times I've been in a relationship where I felt that I just haven't said it, I haven't embraced it. I've just decided to feel trapped.
Yeah.
You know, but like the best thing sometimes is communicate. Hey, you know what? I don't feel the best right now. I think we should like just maybe go see a therapist. See what's up. And the thing is, honestly, even if you make like seeing a therapist, like you don't have to make it a regular date night. But even if it's like a one-time thing, it can be actually a very nice thing in the relationship.
Sure, yeah.
You have no idea. You may end up having the best sex year of your life. But it's like I don't know, it's something people don't explore.
Well, yeah, that takes me back to like why setting yourself up and lifestyle design is so important.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, and we've talked about this many times, is like a lot of people are NPCs, right? They don't know what they want.
Yeah.
They've actually never really sat down to have, like maybe they just never had the time to think about what they want because they're living for like their parents or they're living for their siblings, whatever. They never actually live for themselves, so it's hard to really think about what you want if you actually never thought about it, right? And a lot of people are trying to spread love, positivity, whatever to someone else, but they don't even love themselves, man. They fucking hate themselves. And they're I'm trying to give you love, but I hate myself, but I'm going to give you love. Like, how are you supposed to be happy for me, but you're not even happy for yourself?
That's actually a syndrome.
Like, dude, like,
it's like a sneaky.
you're not a positive person. You're very upset, but you're trying to act positive because you want to please the group, but really, you got to work for you. You got to be like, hey, man, or whatever. Like, I feel like I should do this for me. I'm going to watch a movie by myself. I'm going to eat dinner by myself. I'm going to give myself space to grow, right? Because really, like, society, the thing is, it's like society's construct is going to be there. It's going to do its own thing, but you also don't have to play into that. Like, you don't have to be like, yeah, like, I don't have to do this because it's all invisible. It's all out there, but I can control what I can control.
Yeah. I'm thinking about NPCs too, like recently, because like, you know, I've been looking at like, I've been freelance for a long time, I've been looking at like the job market and everything, and I realized that like, dude, like, I think a lot of people, like, I think there are definitely some pros to being an NPC. You know, like on this podcast we talk, no, 100% there are. You know, there's a thing with us because you know, you do like freelance versus working at a company. I'm just like, if you're working at a company, they just feel.
No, I hear you.
It's like that's like way lower stress if you think about it. Like thinking all the time, having to do everything on your own, like being.
No, I'm not laughing because I disagree. I'm just laughing because
being a free agent is like way more stress and responsibility. You do get more freedom, but the freedom comes at a cost of you having to do more shit all the time. So it's like if you can just kind of like obey orders and like. You don't really have to think as much, and it's actually more of like a zen life. And
This is why I commend anyone that's capable of sucking dick, because I can't do it.
No.
I'm not capable of it. It's a difficult task.
Yeah.
I can't do it in any capacity.
Well, because you're just thinking, right?
Yes.
Don't overthink, bro. Don't overthink, bro. Yeah.
Don't overthink.
Yo,
right?
my God.
You know who's not thinking? The dick.
No,
It's not thinking.
But yo, do you enjoy sucking corporate dick? You were the last person I know would ever want to suck corporate dick.
I mean,
Exactly.
I think for you it's not about like whether or not it's like sucking because you worked at legit places before. I think for you it's more about the fact that like you have the skills to do it, and there would be a lot of benefits if you did it yourself. So it's like I may as well just do it because if I'm going to work this hard, I could get like a way bigger reward if I just did it myself. So there's a lot of external benefits and a lot of external bonuses from doing that would incentivize you to put in the extra work. And then eventually, if you do it long enough as well, the workload gets down less than what you would do.
I've done it. I've sucked corporate dick. I was at the start of my agency. I had no fucking money, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back and work for this man for a couple months, Why not? I mean, it's fucking gonna suck, but you know.
Was it so bad?
Well, it was obviously a hit to the ego because you're like, man, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna make my own money, I'm gonna be the man. 2 months later, you're like, hey bro, you got a job for me? Like, gotta fuck yourself.
Is that what happened? Did you leave for a bit and then you were like, oh fuck, I gotta start my business and it was tough?
Yeah, you go out, you like get some exuberance, you're like, man, fuck this guy. I can do my own thing. I can make my own money. You go out, you're like,
It's not easy.
You still got that position? Can I help out a little bit?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? A little bit of humility there. You're like, it's not going to be easy, but sucks a dick.
Yeah.
And then that dick helped me survive another couple months, and eventually, a couple years. It is what it is, right? It's like sometimes you're gonna have to eat shit, man. You're like, but you also just gotta look at it from a bird's eye view. Like, yo, man, is it really that bad? Right? Am I thinking logically about it? Am I thinking emotionally? Emoji says a lot of business owners fail because they think emotionally about it.
Yeah.
Put the ego in front, and they're like, just do the job. It's A to B. That's it. Right?
The more rational you can be in business, the more money you'll make for sure. Yeah, and the more like I think when it comes to making a lot of money, it's like fucking like when Ryan Pinito was talking about that. He was dude, like at one point in time he was like, I'd say to make money as quickly as possible. What's the quickest way to make money with like a budget of under $3,000? He's like, go flip couches. So like I had one of my ex-managers say to me that making money is actually really easy. It's just what are you willing to do to make it. Being a government pays 6 figures. It's a hard job. There's injuries, you get cut on the job and stuff like that.
I don't even think most.
After 5 to 6 years in waste management, because it's a government union job and it's a hard job, right?
Yeah.
But in Canada, apparently, like being a garbage man, I think it starts at 70.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And then after 5 years, you hit 100. And all, like some, here's what goes down. Being a police officer is a really hard job. It's a crazy job. It's a chaotic, stressful job every day. The divorce
a lot of
really
paperwork,
high.
mostly paperwork.
And just people disrespect me every day because they're the law, right? And it's just, but you know what though? It's like that's my ex-manager said to me. He always said to me, he's like, Eric, man, don't think that like making money is difficult. Making money is actually really easy. But what are you willing to do to make that money? And he says, what's hard is making money purely on your terms. He's like, that's hard. Making money exactly the way you want, purely on your terms.
Yeah,
He's like, that is actually difficult.
Like, it's like, yo, am I gonna, really put myself out there and put myself at a disadvantage for like $5 or try and push for like 15. Like, it's hard to make money on terms, man. It's true.
He was giving an example of because this guy's like a music producer, right? He's just like, it's easy to make money, but it's really, really hard to make money if you're just trying to like purely live off like making records and making tracks and producing all day long. He's like that's a hard way to try to earn your living. He's like for the guys who can do it though, it's dope. But he's just like using that as an example. He's like, if I could just sit in my studio line and just produce beats and like make money doing that, I'd love to do that. But he's like, it's the harder route. But he also worked corporate at one point in time, and he's like, it's easier to make money doing this, but at the same time, I don't love doing that, so I have to figure out a way to get it on my terms. And he always kept saying, like, get it on your terms. He's like, the most important thing long term is to get it on. He's like, for your happiness, you have to get it on your terms. He's like, don't settle. He's like, don't stop, don't do it. Don't just purely do it for the money, man. Don't fucking want to kill yourself long term.
And that's sorry.
Go ahead.
I say on the podcast today, you're so right. And today I feel the most validated I've ever felt in my life.
Good.
I've already spoken about it, but
Good.
somebody reached out for business, offered native marketing,
Good.
and I felt amazing.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That's
And
great.
like, even if this doesn't follow through in real business, and obviously knock on all types of wood, because I'm not trying to manifest anything like that with negative words, because it will. This is going to be my first close.
Good.
I can't talk about who it is right now, but
No, but it's validation, man.
It's validation.
I mean, if it works once, it can work 10 times.
Exactly.
Right? If it works 10 times, it can work 100 times. Right?
And the best part is like I think what got me is like this wasn't even for my outreach. This wasn't like for my outbound. This was my inbound. This is an inbound lead. It's crazy. So like
inbound's where it's at, dude.
yeah, I got my inbound virginity taken today.
It's all about the inbound,
virginity
man.
taken today, bro. It was unreal. It's crazy.
Yeah.
By a guy named Travis.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like when it comes to running your own business, it's like the clients and the money almost validate your job. Because without the clients and the money, it's like we don't have a job. But when the clients, it doesn't matter who the client is, but when if they have the money and the job's there, it's like just here's a really good example, like something really weird. Like let's say you're a circus clown or something like that, right? Which is like that's such a weird job. It's like, that's not a real job, right? Well, let's say you get booked for Cirque du Soleil, and they're just like, all right, you're in Cirque du Soleil now, and you're gonna be like on stage, you're gonna be the #1 guy. You're gonna be on stage performing. I'm gonna pay you big bucks, and there's gonna be a huge artist every single night. You go from being the clown to being the motherfucking top G clown, man. And then next thing you know, now you're walking around being like, yo, I have Cirque du Soleil validating me, I have the audience validating me, the money validates me, I'm paying my whole lifestyle. Now, it's undeniable. In something as weird as that, right? So it's kind of like that. So that's what I started realizing the importance. It's almost like it's. I really feel like a lot of what business is that it's society meeting you halfway. It's like this is what I want. I want to go halfway. And then minutes, holy shit.
Oh,
All right, keep going.
But yeah, man. Yeah, no, it was a great feeling. And you're right. I think the other part too is like no one really gets lucky. You have to be in a position because all of this, the way it happened, was like it was dumb things. Like it was like this guy booked a 4:30 meeting on Friday. If you know sales, that's usually literally a pejorative sign. That's a fuck you. That's like everyone that books a 4:30 Friday meeting is like I'm bailing. You know what I'm trying to say? So like because he was supposed to book it, he reached out to me on Wednesday and he's like, I'm like, do you have a scheduling? He's like, no, send me yours. I'm like, first of all. Anyhow, so I sent him my link on Thursday. He booked a Friday meeting because I told him, you can book next week if you want to. Books the Friday call, and first of all, it's the fact that I had a Calendly link. Right? It's the fact that I had Calendly and like had a scheduling link like ready to go, and then it's like, okay, well, also you have to have like Google Meets and like just like little things. It's like nothing lucky really happened, and it's just like I didn't even realize what was happening on that call, but it's the fact that like everything was sort of set up, and even not even like the best way possible. And it was funny because even like my deck, which is like trash, because you told me it's absolute terrible.
Yeah, I said your deck was hot trash.
Yeah, I said it was hot trash.
It was a good first attempt.
Yeah.
It's actually so funny because like he showed it to me at first, and I don't know anything about pitch decks. And I'm like, looks fine to me. And then Mitch looked at it. Mitch was like, he was professional in sales for like years. He was like fix this, fix that. And then you look at it too, and you're just like, I fix this shit.
This is absolute hot trash.
No, but it's funny because it was like I'm probably the worst person to ask because I've never actually looked at one of these things. I was looking at it and I'm like, this seems like it's enough information. I don't know who's looking at it. I don't know what type of clients are gonna be. I don't know what type of information it needs. I don't even know what a professional one looks like, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was good. And then I actually had somebody. The funny. Actually, I have to. But I don't even think I have the bitches. But I have to bitch out in front of for a second.
That's fine, man. You know what? The way you gotta think about it is like it's a honey trap. You're the predator. You're waiting for the prey to come in there, right? You're waiting for the prey to come in there, and then when they grab fucking fruit, bite.
There's hunters, farmers, and there's trappers.
There you go.
I told Nick that one time because hunters and the farmers because I don't do outbound, that's hunting, and then farming is when you drag them into the camp and then you keep like kind of churning their cycle and getting more them, and then this is straight up trapping. Trapping to me is actually running ads and shit like that because trapping is like you pay for the ads, you set the traps up, and every day you check your traps and then see what you caught. So you check your fishing trap, you check the rabbit trap. Did I catch a rabbit today? Did I catch any crab traps today? Sometimes it's empty, sometimes you get a lot. Sometimes you might catch like some fucking big ass animal and be like, yo, it's a whale, I got a whale today.
It's just gotta step out and take a bird's eye view, man. You can do it, you can be ethical and logical, right? We run portfolio workshops for high school kids in the summer, every summer for 30-minute session. It's like $50, right? 30 minutes is up. And I'm like, do you want to do like extended course? Right, you want to do the extended workshop, it's $100, right? So you double the price, and you keep going, you're like, well, I know, the logical thing, you're like, hey, you have potential, I know you're in high school right now, but we get a lot of students into these art schools. Why don't you pay $1,000 for like the one-on-one mentorship sessions? Talk to your parents, right? Let us know. They come back, they're like, Mom said yes. I'm like, of course she would. You know, she really wants little Timmy to get into art school, right?
No, goddamn.
Right?
If you can deliver, if you can coach them, that's providing value, honestly, because information and time costs money, expertise costs money.
Well, yeah, because the end value is like, you had a teaser, you had a 30-minute session, you viewed your work. It's okay work, but do you want good work? Do you want great work? Great work leads to X point, right?
Yeah. You're doing a good work leads to more good work.
Yeah, it does, but you have to do the work.
You gotta do the work. Some people don't do the work.
I'd say like most people don't do the work.
But you know who did do the work? You missed a good session yesterday, bro.
What?
At the cryptocurrency.
I did. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That man.
Jeff Morphy did the work.
Jeff did the work.
I think you would have appreciated it because not a lot of people ask questions, but I think if you're there, you would have asked a lot of questions. We legit had like a CEO of a major corp there, and he was just we could have asked him way more. We could have hit him with way more questions.
Yeah.
He was talking for most of it. He was cool talking for most of it. I think he was prepared for us to hit him with at least 50, 60 questions.
Well, because he had a pre-call with me for half an hour, and I told him roughly what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's why he talked to me.
Like, I went home and I thought about it. I'm like, There's so many fucking variables in
Oh,
Bitcoin
yeah,
mining,
dude.
man.
Oh,
It's
for
dude,
sure.
dude,
That's
This
why
airflow.
It's
Dude,
incredible.
airflow,
In the warehousing.
physical security, cyber
Immersion
security,
cooling.
environment, regulation. And I'm
Cost
like,
of miners,
dude, you know, and like,
A6.
I don't even want to be ageist, but I'm like, at his age,
Dude, it's so impressive,
at his
man.
age,
It's
man,
so impressive.
there would be
man.
no
So
fault
impressive.
if you just
Yeah.
settle down and he's like, I'm hanging it up. I'm 55, 60.
Yeah.
I'm done. I made my bank. He got back in the ring, man. And not even just in the ring, he got back in the fucking trenches,
Yeah,
dude.
like very stressful.
Like, they're a
Like the
19-year-old.
most sketched out fucking tech to be in.
There's fucking 14-year-old man's out there, like, waiting to dump on his ass, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm fucking in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I respect that, man.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
a non-frog dudes out there
Yeah.
ready to fucking hack his servers
Yeah,
and like
yeah, yeah.
redirect bitfarms.com to bitfams or whatever. Like,
Exactly.
dude, like, that's fucking wild, man.
Like when I see that, man, it always inspires me. Everyone acts like life is over past like 40, 50, whatever. I swear to God, like we're gonna hit that age one day, and we're still gonna get up every day, and we're gonna want to do shit. Maybe we'll be a bit more tired and have a bit less energy and motivation, but we're not gonna want to do nothing all day long. I guarantee you. Because you train your whole life to be that good, and then when he's gonna hang it up, like honestly, you have all this wisdom and knowledge. The reason why he's able to operate at CEO levels, because this guy spent like what 25 years as a banker. Like he said, he spent his entire life preparing for his Alamo. Of course, you're gonna fucking want to fight your Alamo at 55, and at that level, the amount of money and resources he had to fight was so crazy. He was just like, he's like, dude, at this level, he's like, I'm playing the same goddamn chess game, except I'm like in my 60s, and I have like a $200 million war chest, and everyone's gonna fucking listen to me at this point because I'm the motherfucking king, and I'm sunning all of you guys. Why the fuck would I not want to play this game? You know what I'm saying? Like,
What do you say? He was like, what, 60 days from like basically shuttering, like having to raise every like month.
And he wasn't even scared. He was like, whatever, bro. He said it so nonchalantly. I'm just like, dog, that's like balls of steel.
It is balls of steel.
No, I love that.
I love it too.
You go against the wall, maybe you have no traction, and you're like, I gotta raise 5, 10, 20, 40 million dollars over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man, it's go time. At that point, it's go time. The CEO is like,
He's going to investor
Banking,
presentations. The point that got me was like, average number of boardroom meetings, maybe like, 5 or 6 a year at most, but he was doing 40 a year.
That's like warfare.
Almost every
That's
other
like
week, man.
Winston Churchill's war rooms every
my
fucking
God,
week.
man.
But it also goes to show it's just like, when they think of startup founders having the endurance and being young, and imagine being 23 having to raise so much money, you'd be fucking rabid because you're a little boy. By the time you're 60, man, you've had your kids over your feet, you've been through so much trauma in your life already, you're essentially a war general at that point. Like, for him, was like, oh, God, I was turning up. And his life is like, oh, man, I've already done this like 6 times. Like, I've had to do this every 5 years since I was like probably 30. He's just like, I've already seen this shit, bro. He's like, you can't scare me, dog. I've seen it all. He's like, my PTSD. I've had so much PTSD. I've made a PTSD at this point.
Respect for the work he put in, because he knew nothing about Bitcoin before what 2012, like 19, I think. Something like that. He's only been 4 years.
and here you are, you fucking go to Paraguay, right? You're hoping not to get fucking,
so crazy.
not to get fucking
Kidnapped
by the cartel, right? They're like, yo, you want to operate here, bro? Gringo, you want to operate here?
Exactly.
You want to fucking operate here? You gotta pay the licensing fee. Okay. Shit, man. You got probably the Ministry of Defense from Russia trying to hack your system or whatever.
You know what? I want to say that makes me look forward to getting older because those are the war command veteran general of the army things that people will mostly because if you want to look at the average age of most corporate CEOs, they're not young guys, they're old fucking and there's a fucking reason. The reason why is because you need enough life experience to not shit bricks when you need to raise $200 million in 30 days. Because he didn't sound like chill talking about it. He's like, yeah, it's fucking stressful, but at the same time, give that problem to a 22-year-old startup boy, that kid will fucking. If he fucks it up, it might break him permanently. He might never want to. He might never want to return to war ever again. So it's like, that's it. By the time we're that age, man, if we just keep up the hustle at that age, man, it's full on veteran war command to the point in time where you're you might have he says his kids on his team are in their 30s, and it's and to him that's young. So you're like my son's age, and I'm I feel like a grown ass man. But I'm talking to a guy who's 60 who's been at war for 40 years. I'm like, dog, I'm in my first tour of Afghanistan right now, man. I barely know he's my fucking gun. And this guy's killed 4,000 people.
Yeah, this guy's fucking
bodies.
He's like fucking canoed Al Qaeda at this
point.
point.
They call him the canoe king, bro.
Oh my God.
He's the fucking canoe king, bro.
He's fucking.
Oh shit,
They call him king of the canoes,
Because,
man.
I mean, it's so impressive because Bitfarms, unlike other miners in Canada, they only do Bitcoin. They're not doing high performance computing as any secondary revenue stream.
Wow.
That's why I brought him in because I'm like, yo, I need to get the guy from Bitfarms because like that's all they're doing. Like Hut 8, Hive, they do other stuff on the side, not much, but on the side, right? Like he's just pure Bitcoin player. I'm like, wow, man, the amount of volatility you go through. Like you look at the stock price of that company, you know, it's trading at 32 cents IPO, went up to $9, fucking crashing back down to $1 in less than 5 months, man. It's like, oh my god, right? Just insanity. So like he went through all that, right?
Of course, man. And for a lot of businesses, like staying focused is really hard. I talk to businesses all the time. They're like, yeah, our one revenue stream is down, so we open up a new one. So you do like 10 different things now? Yeah, like across the board. I'm like, oh, why don't you just focus on the one? Like, no, man, like we couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, this guy's just like, yeah, we only do Bitcoin mining. That's it. We don't like mine anything else. I'm like,
We make it or
fuck,
break
man.
it, yeah.
Shit, man.
And like when it opened my eyes up because like I was really curious to talk about energy stuff, right? Because when he mentioned that he had a deal with the Quebec energy provider, that like they just have to turn it off sometimes for like, you know, like what was it?
You just have to eat that. It's like,
you
yeah,
have
the
to
power's
eat,
off like 6
300
hours a
or
day.
something. It's like 6 days a week.
He's like, we're gonna turn it off. We're gonna lose like 400 grand right now.
Yeah, like they lost like 5 Bitcoin. You know, just like that, right? On just like that, they got to turn it
It's
off.
like, yeah, because you're operating in the province of Quebec, you just gotta eat that stuff. And the way he says it was so nonchalant, and it's like, the level he's playing it is so like water under the bridge, and like, and this is actually why, like, I think like, we're in a generation where like, we're like, fuck the boomers, we're not like scared about this, and like, tech is all young people, it's all innovators, and like, man, dude, like, Bill Gates, all these motherfuckers, even Elon is like almost 50. Like they're not young guys. Like these guys, like they're dudes with decades of experience. And that's something I should look forward to as I get older. Is like that's something you can definitely look forward to become an older man. Is that another thing too? Is that when you're like a 60-year-old man walking into a bank meeting and you were like the CEO of like a bank at one point, everyone takes you way more seriously. Holy shit! No one's going through your LinkedIn and being like, they're just gonna look at you and be like, there's no way. Like if you're a 22-year-old kid, like dude, you could be like a scammer for all. Like you could be like a fucking like crypto scammer for all I know.
Sure, but also
you know?
these fuckers shouldn't be discriminating based on age, race, or
They shouldn't, but like ageism is a real thing, and like when it comes
I
down
know,
to it,
these
man.
motherfuckers are like, hey, do you want to get a student credit card? And I'm like, why the fuck would I want that? Like, oh, you sure? Literally, I went to the bank last week, and they're like, hey, how about we get you like a new interest rate account? And I'm like, dude, I don't keep any money in your banks for a reason. Like, just because there's no fucking money there, I don't want fucking money. And they're like, oh, you sure? Like, how about we give you this credit card? I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, stop trying to sell me shit, dude.
Dude, so I like when I had like my second business, I used to go to the bank, and the teller who used to work there was this girl I went to high school with, and she could see how much money was in the bank account balance, and the company was eating shit at the time. And she'd sometimes check the balance, like, oh, this company's not really doing well right now. I'm like, this is so fucking embarrassing. I'm not going to school. You actually can't legally go and tell anybody else because privacy, but it's definitely not good either. Yeah.
That's so funny though. Yeah. No, it was an inspiring event. Just so inspiring to hear him talk.
Yeah, if you were there, I think you probably would have like hit up with some good.
Yeah, you would have loved it.
Because everyone else was being sad. I think there was a bunch of the people there were maybe they're being a little more quieter because some of them were more. There was some more ESL people there.
Well, I don't think that was necessarily it. It was actually more just I made it so that the guy could just keep talking because he had so much to say. And that's the thing. Like previous speakers, I usually have to do a lot more intervention, and like I did jump in a couple times saying like, okay, I'm kind of curious about this, right, and help stimulate discussion. But the previous speakers don't speak. This guy spoke the most of anyone by far. Like,
he gives a 2 hour lecture.
Because that's what I told him to do. I said basically, just tell us whatever you're comfortable telling us. Like tell us about the whole process, how you came to Bitcoin. You know, what it's like to do all these investor presentations in 4 countries, US, Canada, Paraguay, Argentina, energy requirements. So yeah, it was a comprehensive discussion. Like it was really, really privileged actually to have a discussion.
Yeah, we definitely had a show for that one.
I mean, we didn't pay him anything, he just came entirely out of his own,
I think he enjoyed it too.
Oh yeah, I think he had a good time.
I can't wait till I'm like old so I can walk in and like give like, I don't know, some like old man wisdom. Be like, listen, children. Listen, children. This is what the church is like at the highest level. Because he's CEO of the company. At first, I thought he was like VP or something.
No, he's
when he's CEO, I'm just like, this is what it's like to have like a $200 million budget and like full on work. Like full on work. Like the shots he's calling, he's just like, yeah, man, we have like operations in like 4 different countries, and like this one's fucking up. We're shipping parts from like one country to another country all across the world. We're warehousing this and that, and that warehouse is like burning down, and like and this country we have to like grease the palms of this politician. I'm just like, dude, you're like just like the Confessions of an Economic Hitman. For
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Like
It's
that game to play.
Yeah, oh man.
That like to get, you know what? If life is all about getting to play better and better games, to be able to play that game is fucking dope.
It is, yeah, it is dope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I want to play
It is.
that game. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, who knows, man? Maybe in the future you do animation consulting or something, right?
I was watching James Cameron. He's like motherfucking 80 doing Avatar, right? So I went to James Cameron.
I didn't know he's that old.
Dude, he's
That
so
old.
yeah. He's like 76 or he's like.
I didn't know he was that old.
And so I was watching his career and everything like that, and like everything is built up to was built up in stages. So like even doing Avatar, like the reason he's so obsessed with water is because he did the movie called The Abyss, right?
Yeah.
So, and before The Abyss, before The Abyss, he did the first movie he did was no, I think he did The Abyss before he did. I think it was Terminator, and then The Abyss. No, I think he did The Abyss before Terminator actually.
I don't know.
No, and the reason why is because because The Abyss was the first CGI movie that they ever did, and then they used the CGI from The Abyss to do Terminator afterwards, I think. And then they used all the water technology they learned throughout doing that process to do all the other water movies he did like after that, right? Because he also did one of the Alien, I think he did Alien Resurrection too. Because after that, I'm watching all his movies. I'm like, why is this director so obsessed with drowning his actors on camera? This guy's like fucking obsessed with that shit. And it's because after doing The Abyss, he's like, dog, this ain't drowning, dog. I filmed a movie in a fucking swimming pool for 8 months with you fuckers, and I gave everyone skin infections because the chlorine level was so high that the set, like glue from the set was dissolving, giving everyone rashes, and I still made you guys get that shit every day. And I'd make you sit at the bottom of the tank for 8 straight hours waiting for me to call shots when you're gonna come on set and do your motherfucking lines, and you all got decompression sickness from it. I'm like, this guy's a fucking psychopath to work for. He's like,
I've heard Cameron's tough to work for. Yeah.
Because he's just pushing everyone to the motherfucking limit. And anyways, but when I saw James Cameron just being 80 years old, like, you know, people talk about directing. It's like you go back to directing for a second. I'm thinking to myself, how do you become a director? How do you become a director?
There's different paths.
Yeah, but you know how long directors become directors? Take a fucking risk. Film a crazy movie like James Wan, like who made Saw and shit like that. Like all these guys. Film a low budget. Denis Villeneuve. Like film a low budget ass movie. Pop that shit off. Film a slightly higher budget movie. And then when Hollywood is like, who do we want to drop money on? Who's actually doing some dope shit right now? They're gonna give it to the. But you have to take that risk initially.
One win at a time.
Yeah, 100%.
One win at a
Yeah.
time, man.
Weird thing.
Yo, I like that. One win at a time, bro.
Weird thing happened though. Weird thing happened though today.
Yeah.
One
win at a time.
Yeah,
I like that.
man. Cheers.
One win at a time, man.
Okay,
One win at a time. I like
so
that.
I'll say 2 things.
That's very motivating.
I'll say 2 things. The first one actually is I got a random DocuSign signature request
From who?
from some random person online, the 6 Cents company or something like that, just randomly out of nowhere. And like I've been getting a whole bunch of like random like phishing attacks, text messages, and all this shit. I'm like, this is a new one. Like they send you like a random DocuSign document. So like I haven't opened it yet. So I don't know what that is. The other thing is like apologies for missing that, but actually funny enough, last night I had an interview that ended up turning into like another like pitch.
You already mentioned
Yeah,
before,
so I had to like basically like redo some stuff. Then unfortunately I was missed, but I really wanted to attend that, and actually it's really crazy that you're able to command the attention of a lot of these people. And like you said, the fact that
I just put in a lot of time to write emails, and I write them really articulately, and
Even still,
it just means a lot of work.
You're also speaking on behalf of the university.
I'm speaking on behalf of the university,
and you're also a PhD student.
And I'm also showing competence
Yeah.
in the things that I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
like I always
So-
write and explain. Like I write them like I can show you some, but like I write them a paragraph saying I actually did research in your company.
Yeah.
And like I like know what you do. I don't just bullshit it, right?
Yeah.
Like I do the due diligence when I invite the speaker. That's why I've been able to get better and better speakers over time. So that's the thing. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you've been doing a really good job at it, man.
Yeah.
It's good too because you definitely like. It's nice having something you can leave as a mark, like at the school. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, sure, exactly. Yeah. 'Cause
You're
already,
gonna leave many marks at that school.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I've taught there for 5 years now.
You've done so much for like that school, like the institution in general, right? You taught so many kids in that program.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying at this point, it might be good to start building your personal profile, personal brand.
I think you're. I think you already have one, bro.
I mean, but that being said, like I'm going to probably go in academia. If I do that, there's a very specific way to do that in terms of academia. But if I consider private consulting, other things maybe.
No,
but that's later.
You've already published papers and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You've already
But that's academic brand building is very different than other kind of brand building. It's very different. It's usually very
I
specialized.
have the perfect brand for you. I have the perfect brand for you.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, you're gonna be the arch nemesis of Jordan Peterson.
The Irish.
Fuck that, bro.
Oh man, no,
Fuck. What you're gonna do is you're gonna drop like a Peter Zeihan level book. It's
Yeah.
Super negative, super depressing.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be the Joe Rogan podcast,
For
and then
real,
you're gonna go viral.
maybe,
You're gonna make like $10 million on Audible.
Integrated philosophy, politics, economics book. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
I can totally imagine.
A couple years, yeah. No, for real. I got a project or two lined up, maybe.
Listen,
Yeah.
I will know
Yeah.
Adrian's made it when Elon gives him a shout out. When Elon bans you on Twitter, bro, when he calls you out as a short seller.
Oh, that's short seller.
I'm like, I fucking man, I don't fucking know this guy. Man. If you get him riled up,
Oh my
man.
God, man.
You get the Tesla Bears to rally around you.
Tesla Bears
to
to
rally
rally?
on you, man. Holy shit, man.
Oh my god, that'd be
And you
so
know,
funny,
and
man.
I'll put this on the record. I would say, within 12 months, he's going to relinquish the CEO position of Twitter.
Oh,
I think so.
Maybe,
I think within 12 months,
yeah,
man.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
You know that's okay. He doesn't need to be CEO to vote. He doesn't need to be CEO.
Because he was already saying he's looking for a new one,
Yeah.
right? So I wouldn't be surprised.
He's running too many votes.
By that point, I
So
would have.
he's always just like figuring out, like, hey, maybe running a social media firm is not the same as building rockets.
No, it's not. Or building tunnels or electric vehicles.
Oh, man.
It's not. It's all shaped up. Yeah, I mean, like if you saw the Qatar World Cup, Elon was there and he's chatting to a couple people. You see Jared Kushner was next to him.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa, what's he doing talking to Kushner? What's he doing? Is he gonna help Trump get reelected? Well, bring Trump back to Twitter, maybe, right?
No, he gave Trump his account back.
Yeah, he did.
He gave Kanye his account back too.
I'm so.
Well, and then you probably banned him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Kanye get banned. As soon as Kanye got his account back, he posted like a swastika or some shit. And he
Fucking, you got fucked up, bro.
I'm so tired of all this shit. But on a random note, funniest thing happened at Spaces today. Yo, I've never seen Evie so uncomfortable. Yo, so basically, like me and Evie are here chilling, just working, right? And this guy is just walking around. He came by a couple times. He's just like looking at me, right? And like he didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
Then he finally comes back like, yo, I think I have you on my Instagram, right? And I'm like, oh, no way.
Okay.
He's like, yeah. It's like, he's like, I don't know if you see my Instagram. It's usually like crazy stuff, like like anti-vax and blah blah, all this kind of shit. So I was like, oh wait, didn't I see at the protest?
Whoa!
He's literally one of the co-organizers of like the Freedom Convoy and like.
Whoa, he was here at the space.
Yeah, he works upstairs.
Oh.
And like he runs a bunch of like anti-vax protests like down that square. He's a fucking good job.
What up?
Or whatever.
How are you guys doing?
Hi.
What's up? Do you want to join the podcast?
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Pretty
Hi, I recognize you.
Yeah, camera's on by the way.
Hey,
Oh,
what's up?
yeah. I know this guy.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah.
Camera's camera's on by the way.
Yeah.
There's a camera.
We're
There's a live
recording a
camera right now.
podcast. It's
You can say hi if you want.
Do you want to join?
Oh, that's the right attitude.
Oh,
Get that money shot. There you go. That's the right attitude.
There you go. Where you guys coming from?
Where do you guys come from?
What?
Where do you guys come from?
We were at have a bunch of friends coming up the elevator.
That's fine.
Boy.
This is a party podcast. You can do whatever you want. This is a party podcast. It's not a serious one. It is sometimes, but
Going downstairs to the gym, I think.
There's a gym in this building.
Yeah, there's like a training center downstairs.
That's cool.
What?
Are you whispering about how I'm in a bad fucking mood? Yeah, I'm in a bad fucking mood.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't need to be a dick.
It's all good.
Where's Neil? Did he go home?
Neil went home.
Where are you guys going after? Where are you going?
What?
Where are you going after? Oh, okay.
We're actually both staying at the Shangri-La tonight, so we'll probably just
Cool.
go back there.
Nice place.
Nice.
One of my
But
favorite
actually, we were at
franchises.
this bar, and it was like, okay, I need a drink. What are you guys drinking?
Wine.
We got some wine back
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I think running the podcast here is actually better because it's actually better for dropping. Because at my place is like you pretty much have to go all the way to Lisgar, but like this place is like
Yeah, we're all living a bit close.
I'm sitting down.
So we have a are you okay with being on camera?
Yeah, we're literally
There's a camera on right now.
podcast.
I guess so.
Yeah. Don't say anything.
So,
Cancel.
how was your
How's
thing
yours?
yesterday?
It was great.
Yeah, nice.
Jocelyn, make friends. Like, be nice.
I mean, we are recording our podcast. That's scheduled. It happens every Friday. It's like religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's a chill podcast. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
hangout podcast. It's not.
Yeah. Pardon?
Wine? Where's wine? It's right there on the table.
There's wine on the
There's some
Yeah.
gnarly blueberry wine in the beer fridge if you guys want it. I have brought the blueberry wine over if we want to finish that. If you would
There's
like it.
absolutely no way I'm drinking blueberry wine. Now, what are you guys talking about on your podcast?
It's mostly like geopolitics.
Yeah.
But we talk about other stuff too. It's whatever the conversation. We just record our conversations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here.
Wait, what were we talking about though?
We were talking about the freedom protest and for the freedom convoy, and Elon Musk like giving up Twitter.
No.
Yeah, all sorts of
Has
stuff.
he given up Twitter?
No, he's
Might be.
considering though.
Yeah.
He's trying to look for a new CEO and all
What we were
that.
talking about,
Well, yes, because it's not the right fit for him.
No,
Yeah, I
it's
don't think
not.
it is. It's over his head.
we're talking about he who must not be named, who works upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, freedom protest guy?
Yeah.
Oh, Victor.
With
Don't say- don't say his
the
name.
height, fuck, the numbers are going up. I want to punch him in the
Wow.
face.
So what's yo? So he came downstairs. So actually, I saw this. I met him at a protest.
Okay.
Yo, so he came down today, and like he just started looking around at me. He's like, "Hey man, I think I have you on Instagram." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah." So I probably post like a lot of crazy stuff. It's like a whole bunch of like anti-vax. I was like, "Oh no way." Then I was like, "Oh wait, yo, I saw you at one of the protests, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm not sure if you mentioned he organizes it or like.
He's a co-organizer of the Toronto one. Yeah. He's definitely a co-organizer.
And then he expresses his strong feelings towards like the whole scenario
Yes.
for a bit, and I've
Yes.
never seen TV so uncomfortable.
He has very specific views about women, about.
Oh yeah, he hates women.
Yeah, he definitely hates women.
That's
Women-
not
women-
that's not a good
women-
thing to hate. That's
women-
not a good.
Women are objects. The way he speaks about women with boobs is
Oh, yeah.
absolutely disgusting.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I've overheard several of it. I've actually even overheard him talking about me in particular.
Oh Jesus.
Where he
Sorry,
said,
we haven't actually met. My name's Adrian.
I'm Jocelyn, and I'm about to tell you that a dude upstairs who told me that he had a lot of respect for my business proceeded to turn around and then...
Camera, by the way. Are you sure you want to say this?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Proceeded to turn around and look at somebody else and go, she's only good for motorboating.
Oh God. Well, that's.
He said.
Is there like an HR?
Here? Of course not.
Of course not.
No.
Maybe Jack Neal. You could.
Yo,
Well,
Mitch,
they're not even HR.
Mitch can't come in and be like, yo.
Oh, Mitch
Yo,
is
chill.
definitely not HR.
Man, that's terrible. Actually, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's extremely.
He
That's
doesn't-
fucked up.
He just,
Wait, so
he doesn't like women.
but there's no recourse though for.
Women. Women are.
These are good people, Jocelyn.
I understand that, but we also have a $700 a night hotel that I'd like to go put a house coat on and sit in.
Yeah, you
As
can.
you can understand that.
Yeah. I could 100% understand that.
You liked it?
Very blue.
It's a lot.
Cam, can you hear me a couple of ice cubes? I love you.
So, how do
I'm
you
on
guys,
that right away.
how do you guys know each other?
See you.
It's a scene. It's a co-working space, right?
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So recently, Beyonce has had a tour she's announced, and the tickets are very expensive. Have you been considering buying any tickets to that? Like,
I thought they sold out.
Are they?
Absolutely not.
No.
They sold out.
What's your music scene? What's your music scene? Are you into live music?
I love live music.
Yeah.
I just think that the economies of skill right now are wildly broken.
Okay.
When it comes to anything entertainment level. I truly think, especially like, I understand supply and demand. If anybody gives me a
That was so
macroeconomics
dope.
lesson again, I'm gonna slap them.
That was dope as
is not
fuck.
the
Day
scenario.
one.
Yeah.
That was dope as
You ain't
fuck.
seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
But there's a point when you are that big of a superpower of an individual that I truly believe, like, I understand, can I have 3 or 2? But if you if you're that large of a leader, it's less about the macroeconomics and the economies of scale. It's more about the fact that you should have a fiscal
Could I
responsibility
actually get one in here?
in which you're asking
Yeah.
people who,
As well.
on average, carry a
My name's Adrian, by the way,
$30,000
what's your
consumer
name?
debt to
Yeah.
pay the
Kim, nice to
volume that
meet
they
you.
do to go
That's not
see
gonna
you,
fit.
then you are encouraging
Whatever.
people to go into debt. So I
You need
don't
a hand.
approve of that.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Any concert that's over
No, they're smaller
250
ones.
bucks
Okay,
right
okay.
now, I question.
Which is
Smaller
probably
ones will do.
perfect. Like that's probably something
That's
Wait, wait,
that's
wait.
easy. Like I think I've tried it.
That's
I
not
mean,
big
I
bucks
mean,
to
that's-
money.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most like the last concert I tried to go to was to see the Rufus concert, and
Wait,
it was
one
like
more. Let's try this.
$200.
This will work.
I think,
Who's getting canceled?
she's like sitting her
Who's
ass.
getting canceled?
Now we're
That's
just,
not the wildest thing that's happened on the podcast. We all sorts of crazy stuff.
I feel like that might have been the wildest thing that's happened in this podcast.
Yeah, you're not the wildest thing that
It doesn't seem like there's a
By
lot
far.
of wildness
We've
happening.
had really crazy stuff happen on the podcast. Like,
What's,
you know,
what's the
we-
wildest thing that's happened on the podcast?
You man, I got like 50
Bro,
clips.
I
of,
don't
like,
think any of us
straight
have seen a
fire.
lot of wildness.
Straight fire.
Yeah. That's
Oh, really? Straight fire on
Straight
this
fire.
podcast?
Yeah, straight fire.
Straight fire. Like,
Yo, what do you guys think of serendipity?
the movie or the word?
The concept.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there are.
I mean,
things
you
that are
you met us
serendipitous.
completely serendipitously. You think about it.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
It was through his brother's like buddies, and then he lives next
yeah,
to
really
you.
hang my brother's place.
Completely
This guy
random.
comes over.
Yeah.
We can. Do you want us to have a like seat here or like are
No,
you?
it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have plenty. We have
She's
100
on the
chairs.
struggle bus right now.
We have 100 chairs.
No, I'm just like servicing these people.
What are you
But
servicing?
what are your thoughts on the concept of serendipity? Why did you bring that up?
Yeah, man.
That's quite random.
Let's hear about it, bro. What are your thoughts on serendipity?
I just think like
It's not real.
I've
It's not real.
I've never been
It's not
like
real.
too much of a hippie woo kind of guy until like a couple years ago. But I do sort of think that like these days, because nothing is coincidental. It's really interesting how sometimes certain elements, certain things, certain people enter, leave, re-enter your life. It's all very interesting. The timing, all that stuff, I find very interesting.
I think like your vibe attracts your tribe,
Yeah.
and I think man, I think like this time last year, maybe like 6-7 months ago, dude, we were like partying so hard. We were in this crazy party phase. And like because that we had so many party people around us, and it was like so insane. And it got to a point in time where it was kind of like take a step back from that shit. It was like a little too crazy at one point. But it was also because everyone was kind of like in the mood for that. And now I feel like
Summertime,
yeah,
right?
it was such a crazy time.
Yeah.
And but then now it's kind of just like everyone's kind of just chilling now, kind of being more low key.
It's also kind of cold.
It's also kind of cold.
But also,
and
we
now we're not
did.
behaving
Remember,
that
we
way.
did wait in line for like 3 hours to try to get to Coda last week.
Yeah, that was so man.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I know,
Get in.
and like that's happened to me like more than once at this point. Like it's made me very like discouraged about that place, and it's just very kind of because that place used to be like a true rave where it's like very welcoming, going. It was cheap.
I
it
was
was
really
nice.
looking forward to.
Yeah, like a nice proper. Like
Wait,
good,
you guys
good.
waited 3 hours?
He showed up at 9 and we left at like
Then we left.
11:40.
It was fun.
Why?
Gotta grow up.
I would
sometimes.
have given up after 20
Well,
minutes.
to be quite frank, it's actually a very like
No, Kim, I'm never gonna
idiotic
grow up.
format in which they do ticket sales.
You gotta grow up.
Do you just want to like sit in? You can just participate in the podcast if you want. You know.
I don't even. I think I'm also half making a joke of like, this isn't a podcast. Like,
Yeah, we're just chilling. We're just
No,
chilling.
it is a podcast. It's just a very casual one. No, but
when I
sometimes
listen to this podcast,
you don't have to.
Okay. You know what?
This is the podcast we like. We like the podcast because some people run podcasts like it's like a news broadcast where everyone's on microphones, just like very, very serious. It's almost like watching like CNN or something. But ours is just like us hanging out with our friends, and every now and then we do have serious conversations. But at the same time, it's also Friday night, and like people are drinking and partying
like
and shit.
trash
And
for
if-
CNN.
Yeah, and if people say crazy shit on camera, that's all part of the fun because then you get to record that and memories.
trashy CNN. You mean Fox News? A bit like trashy Fox News.
Where it's like local Texas like
Oh,
news
local.
reporter.
Oh, so
local
like
Texas
Fox
news.
we're like live Toronto Sun.
Local Florida
Oh,
news.
Toronto
Yeah.
Sun, man.
Local Florida news.
Jeez.
Well, that Toronto Star fucking threatening people.
Did
Either
they?
way. Yeah, I don't think any Toronto media is that great.
I've read Toronto Star in a
Except
while.
for Odeni Media Group. It is the finest media
What is this?
group.
Shameless
Sponsored
plug.
by Bits and
Yeah,
Bites?
exactly.
Shameless on your own podcast. Shameless plug.
That'd be an excellent
The
sponsor.
finest brand of
You
media you
gotta
can
work
find.
on that.
OMG. Irregardless.
Bits
though.
and bites. You want to sponsor?
Irregardless is not a word. It's regardless.
Okay, well, you know, regardless, irregardless.
Look,
You can ask them
Irregardless
if
is
you want.
not a word.
they're
Also,
a fucking
regardless-
like they got
regardless,
main
regardless.
screen.
Oh,
I
cheddar.
think-
Oh, it's all cheddar.
That Toronto.
Old
You
cheddar.
can ask them if you want.
I don't know, I'm good, man.
What
They
is the
got
difference
fucking
between
old
irregardless and regardless?
Good, man.
Nothing
Why?
is regardless.
Bits and
Irregardless
bites. If you're
does not
listening right
exist.
now,
No, because
we're a big fan. Call us back.
Yeah.
But it's not a fucking word.
It's not a
Well,
word.
you asked me the difference. You know, that's the difference. You know, like
It's
You,
irrespective.
you regard
That's the word.
something or it's regardless.
Yes, that's
But
she's
irregardless
right.
Irregardless is a made-up word.
That's a way that you
That's a
can
made up.
use
That's a made up. That's a made up. But you know what though? You're allowed to make up words if you want.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude. Listen, irregardless, nuclear,
You say nuclear?
nuclear, nuclear, rough,
Like nuclear? As in like a nuclear warhead?
nuclear, rough. These are all words.
Rough?
You can say rough. No, but that's you're not. That's not a made up word though. Rough is a made. Rough is a normal word.
The rough. The rough.
The roof.
No, the rough.
Get out.
Are you saying like American style? Americans do pronounce it
The rough,
The
yes,
rough.
it's the
Americans
rough.
do pronounce it the rough.
So,
No,
yeah.
but that's like a regional accent thing because
Yeah, yeah.
the spelling is the
It's the
same.
rough.
Fuck no.
Yes, the rough.
Yeah, I was reading Rick Rubin's book. This guy's such a hippie. He's just
Irregardless
like,
of your-
He says.
Irregardless.
Just get out.
The
That's
roof's the,
terrible.
yeah, the roof's the roof.
Irregardless. Yeah. No.
Wait, there's a couple more too. Garage.
Ew.
I don't know.
No, I think it says
Garage.
something.
I don't know.
Garage.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, I've heard people say Beijing as Beijing.
No, that's so bad.
That's definitely wrong.
So that's
say-
pretty
yeah.
You can
incorrect.
say Beijing, and if you're, you maybe call it like Peking if you want to, but
Peking? Why Peking?
Peking duck, baby.
Because that's the history
The
of the
Peking
name.
duck. No, but when you're in Beijing, they say
Yeah,
it
you
Beijing.
didn't know that.
It's
That's the
Beijing.
name. It's
No, that's why it's
longer,
called
I think,
Peking
in
duck. But Peking duck is
How would I
Beijing
know?
duck.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I thought you
Talking
knew.
shit, talking shit.
Should I break this camera? Should I break this camera? You keep recording. I can take a break if we want. I'm talking here. Shit, we can take a break if we want.
Okay, I mean, if you want, well, no, but
We can take a break.
so we can keep going. I was having a good time.
Okay, well, keep on or keep going.
Yeah, we're having a very punny time.
Yeah.
A punny time. That's not even punny.
Okay, we're taking a break. We're taking a break.
Okay.
We're taking.
That's why you eat fish after you catch it. Like you can catch certain small fish in BC.
Well, even just like filleting it, right? Just like
oh yeah,
like
yeah. Cooking that up in the range
yeah, like,
too. And,
Just make sashimi on the spot.
oh, I don't know about
bacteria,
that.
make it clean. Yeah.
One of my buddies was saying he was fishing, and then like the dude brought like the wasabi and soy sauce. They caught a fish, and he instantly filleted it and made sashimi right on the spot.
Love that.
I was like, that's because I didn't realize you could do that. But
Yeah.
also like you have to watch out for parasites and shit too.
Yeah,
Like, you check
yeah.
the fish, make sure it's not infected, and
No,
Doesn't
there's,
that
like,
Fukushima
there's a
cancer?
great channel called Outdoor Chef Life. He's a Japanese guy who lives in Hawaii, California. He talks about like every fish he catches. He shows how to fillet it.
Wow.
Like he basically
Nice.
he's like a fishing vlogger, right?
Oh, that's
He
sick.
shows how to even like because all of the fish have different ways in which they store bacteria or like parasites. And he's like, oh man, if you see the parasites in here, if we don't rub this fish, if you've got it and there's fucking worms in it, you can't fucking eat this one. This
Yeah.
one's gone, man.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you exactly the way you should be filleting fish, whether it's a salmon or like a crappie or whatever. Like, not all fish are the same, right? Some are just a little bit bulkier, some are actually just poisonous, or like bottom feeders, which you should not be eating.
Oh yeah, bottom
No,
fish.
not all-
Yeah,
not
you
all
don't
fish are
touch that
created
shit.
equal.
Yeah,
not all fish are created equal. Yeah, that's what's wrong. We live in such an artificial like place sometimes. It's so disconnected with nature. Like when I watch these vlogs about people living in like, dude, I'm watching this one vlog about this guy who lives in Korea. It's just, his name is like it's called like fuck. He's this Korean guy. He might be ex-military. He does like mad like luxury camping in the middle of the woods in like Korea.
Like,
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, no, this Korean guy, yeah, like so he has a fucking Land Rover, like a fucking balling fucking Range Rover. And he has the best camp equipment I've ever fucking seen. He has a tool for everything. And he has a tool. He has like, and he has a kit, and he sets it up in every single video. So he even has like his cooking kit is like so well set up. It's like almost like a nail file kit. He opens it up, salt, pepper shaker. There's like 2 grams of salt, 2 grams of pepper, 2 grams of cayenne pepper, little like little fucking like utensils and everything. And then he has like this little like, thing he sets up, puts this thing on top, and he opens it, and washes his hands with it. I'm like, it's so fucking organized.
Yeah.
And I actually I made a spreadsheet for all my cooking, and I nicknamed that spreadsheet "Cook in Camp Eric." Because when I watch this thing, I'm like, dude, what's the difference? If you're a single guy living by yourself, what's the difference between me camping in the middle of the fucking woods and bringing all my food and me doing it in my place? Because I'm watching it, he brings all the stuff out, and I'm just watching him cook and everything. It's just one guy cooking. I'm like, there's really no difference between me doing this and me doing this at home. Because I'm like, what are you eating for dinner? So he brings a fucking pizza, and then he puts the pizza out. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, you can't. How the fuck are you gonna recook that?
can't be
No,
pizza.
that's stupid.
No, watch this. Here's a pizza. So it's a black squid ink dough pizza. So the dough's all black. So it's very fucking gourmet. So this is Glenny, bro. So like, how are you gonna reheat that? How the fuck are you gonna reheat that? He has a fucking blow dryer, cuts a hole in the fucking pizza box, sticks the blow dryer in it, plugs it into a portable battery, and heats the pizza up.
Stupid.
And pulls it in. It's
That's
crispy.
excessive.
No, it's crispy, and then he has sets up a table, sets up his fucking like couch inside his fucking tent. And then he sits down, he has this like pizza in front of him, and it's like all crispy and shit. And then he pours out the liquor, and pours out that beer, and I'm like, and then he has a little iPad, he's watching a soccer game while eating the pizza, while drinking the liquor. I'm just like, dude, you're balling out. And then he's doing this in like the middle of the woods at like -30 with a fucking, I'm like, this is the most balling thing ever, bro.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
There's real motherfuckers who are out there in like, North Bay, fucking hunting the like caribou.
That's caveman shit, bro. That's caveman shit. No, dude, this guy comes up.
In
He's
10
sitting
years,
there.
in 10 years, it's gonna be. I call it HAS.
Oh.
Hunting as a service.
Hunting as a service, bro.
Hunting as a service.
AJ, what humans been doing for millions of years. That's the original profession as a man.
Yeah,
That's the ticker right there, man.
Exactly, it's ticker, man.
I'm adding it to Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
Hunting as a
You're
service.
gonna be subscribed to some dude named Thorfinn, right? He's gonna fucking bring you your caribou and elk every month, right? You're gonna pay him whatever, $99 subscription fee.
Yeah.
You're gonna get ethically sourced.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. There you
Man,
go.
let's watch, man. Watch,
Dude,
man.
this guy's sitting there, so like he has the butane still, puts the butane still on. I'm always watching it, and he doesn't say anything the entire time. The entire thing is like almost like a silent fucking movie to watch it. So I'm like, what the fuck is this guy gonna eat for dinner? So he sits down, and then he pulls his tray out, and he puts it on top of the butane thing, and he pulls the lid off, and it's like Korean military fucking stew, and he cooks it, and he has like rice, like in a little fucking pouch, like a single serving, right? And he pours that into a bowl, and he boils that. I'm like, he has like one bowl of rice, the Korean military, and he's just sitting there fucking like having his dinner. I'm like, this guy's like eating like a fucking king. This guy's eating in a fucking tent in the middle of the woods, better than most fuckers eat in the city. Fucking blow drying his pizza, his black squid ink dough
that's
pizza,
ridiculous.
like a boss. And then he's grilling steak and like because I watch Joe Robinette, who's like Canadian in Northern Ontario, who does like bushcraft. So he's like building
I
shelters.
respect bushcraft guys more.
Yeah.
than these
No. He's a professional
Bushcraft
woodsman.
guys, man.
And he's like, all he's eating for dinner is like fucking whiskey, fucking tall cans, and like steak. He feeds his dog the steak. I'm like, okay, you guys, that's pretty boss. But then I saw this Korean guy. I'm like, he's doing it like with mad sophistication. When I saw the fucking blow jar in the pizza box, I'm like, you're a gangster, bro. And this huge battery. Turn the battery off.
This guy's stupid.
The lithium battery, it was like brand new, shiny. He has like settings on it. He puts it on high mode. Blow dries his pizza. I'm like, you're a gangster.
You know what's more dope is when I was in Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah.
You gotta build your own shelter, man.
Fuck that shit.
That's the best.
Fuck that.
No, you gotta.
Fuck that
I
shit,
swear,
bro.
went Penticton, 4.5-hour drive north of Vancouver, man. In the winter, and you gotta build the Quincy. You gotta pile all the snow. You're 10 years old. You got 5, 6 other little small kids or little small kids. Okay, guys, let's pile the snow up. We get a big pile of snow, like 5.5 feet tall, and then you gotta let it sit, and then you gotta carve it out from inside. It's like so satisfying to be in there and actually like full on roughing it, right? For
Yeah,
like 3
man.
days, 3 days,
Like,
man,
we
doing that
like,
shit.
Last time we went to Portage for 2 days.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Oh hell yeah!
Switzerland?
Oh, that's
Right?
crazy,
That's
dude!
brutal. I don't wanna do
Oh,
that.
that's crazy. Oh, I'm down. I'm fucking
I
down.
fucking hate Portage. You like Portage? I fucking hate Portage.
Take this.
Dude, I can't fucking balance the canoe.
What do you mean?
It just keeps banging down and up and bang, and I just fucking give up every time.
Have you kayaked? Have you kayaked?
No, but I've canoed many times.
Are
I
you
just
doing
can't
one-
carry the fucking
No, but
thing.
are you doing the one person too or two person?
Crack some olives.
2-person canoe.
Let me get a fork.
I'm telling you, you take this fucking Korean guy, you drop him in the middle of like fucking
Nah, he'll die in
like
2 days. man.
Cranbrook or Camp Loops, and he'd be fucking dead.
Yeah,
bro.
he's fucking-
He's fucking dead in a day, bro. There's no like flame torch in the middle of like
Yeah.
the Rocky Mountains. This guy's fucking done, man.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to carry the canoe. Then Portage, yeah, I can do it. But I'm also carrying like 90-pound canoes that we rented
Oh,
instead of like,
okay.
the 50, 60 pounders or 40 pounders.
yeah,
You can.
We bought a we
What
bought
are you eating, man? There's pickles?
Olives. That's olives.
Holy! We're getting gourmet here, guys.
On that European shit, trying to be a bit less scumbag. Yo, did I tell you these French guys made fun of me one time? Because I was smoking with these French guys when I was 18 in Cambodia. They're like French Cambodian.
Where in Cambodia?
I was in Phnom Penh. I'm in fucking Cambodia smoking weed with these fucking French Cambodian guys, and like we're fucking high as fuck. They look at me, they're like, "You don't be so American right now." I said, "What?" They're like, "If we had a bag of fucking potato chips," and they were fucking laughing at me. They're laughing at me, and I said, You're absolutely right. Because if I was back home, we would be eating chips right now. And then I'm like, what the fuck do you guys eat when you're high? And then they're like, let me show you. Went to the kitchen, and they made fucking ham and cheese sandwiches and microwave that shit. Like, all nice. And they give me this look where they're just like, let us show you the way of the French. You fucking caveman ass American. I'm like, I'm not from American, man. But like, you know, after that, like, yeah, no, they definitely upgraded my game, and they put me on that fucking shit, you know.
Nice.
There you have some. There you go.
I remember smoking weed in Cambodia in a place called Sihanoukville. It was like a little hippie commune area, and I was at the bar, and all these people are smoking weed, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. So I looked at the bartender, and I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, you want some? Okay. Gave me weed, and I rolled it at the bar, and smoked it right there. And
I did not know that was allowed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was not good weed.
No,
So
I
it was still
not
weed.
expect it's good.
Like it was very
I
plain.
bought a fucking ounce there for like $10. And it was,
That's a good deal.
well, it's all bushweed though.
Yeah, it's the bush weed, yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's pretty low quality shit. Probably just give you brain fog and that's it, kind of thing. Right? Well, it's now legal in Thailand.
Oh, really?
Oh, it is. They made it legal a couple months ago.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the quality, who knows where it's coming from, how it is.
I've smoked it in Thailand too, but I got it on the way to the bathroom. You know, you go walk in the bathroom, and the guy's handing me because they hand you the toilet paper, right? The guy was handing me the toilet paper, and as he's handing me the toilet paper, he's got a joint in there.
Oh.
And I just look at him, and I'm like, you know, and I'm like, okay, how much? So I paid him, and then went on the beach and smoked it.
They're pretty good.
And you know, it was like, again, it was like shake. You know, it wasn't good, good weed or anything, but still, it was the concept was there. Like hanging the guy at the bathroom to give me selling you weed.
From?
Oh, got them from my roadie place. Masala fries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go for it, guys.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
Yes,
Pretty good.
Thanks, man. Let's grab a couple.
Oh, no.
Tastes like curry.
Well, it's fucking good.
That was really good. Thanks, man.
For sure.
What? Shit.
Yo, this is bathroom fucking then raving. You're up. You go to the fucking bathroom. You're pissing in the fucking urinal. There's a fucking hole in the wall. A fucking spoon comes out, a little bit of coke on it.
Oh!
Dude puts his fucking face up, sniffs the fucking coke.
Oh my god.
And you're like, oh yeah. And then the hand comes out, €10.
Oh,
What are you talking about? This is a real thing?
Yeah, no, my friend, he went to a fucking rave in Amsterdam and some guy fucking did
that's
this.
crazy, dude.
It's fucking hilarious. It's not funny. But I'm like, yeah, that's how much it costs. You're gonna fucking pump a coke right there. You know?
That's crazy.
Isn't that funny? That's so
That's
lit.
pretty hilarious.
I'm snack lacking right now. Have a good night, guys. Good night. Have a
Take
good
care.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah.
Snack lacking.
Fuck, that shit's good.
Yeah, not bad. I think it's $3.99.
Yeah. So, a lot of things happening in recent events. I think some more casual conversation is in order. So I'm trying to think of like something that's like, Rihanna's having a baby,
Rihanna? So, baby number 2.
and it's not mine. I'm very upset.
Are you sure it's not yours?
I prayed.
You failed?
I prayed every night for the last 3 years.
You got cucked by A$AP Rocky.
I know.
You messed up your game up, bro.
I know.
A$AP Rocky stole your bitch.
It's the worst.
You knew that, bro.
It is the absolute worst. Like I would definitely say that like
I don't think you can handle it, bro.
what?
I don't think you can handle it.
Oh, you have not.
I think you're too masculine, and you don't want a woman to out-earn you.
Oh!
You don't want a billionaire woman.
I think a woman of masculine energy would be offensive
Yeah, man,
to you.
she's fucking
No.
weird.
The last girl I dated earned a lot more than I did. She was a corporate lawyer.
At Rihanna's level, though, when you got
Yeah.
mans on mans sliding into your DM every hour, you got that security.
Nanosecond.
You got the confidence, bro. You got the security.
Yeah, I've never not dated like a woman that's not incredibly in demand.
Okay, all right.
And I'm generally like actually quite.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say this. I'm a guy. Like I'm not gonna say in relationships. I'm not like. It's not like I don't get possessive or jealous because I think if a guy says that, they're talking shit. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But I can cope with it. You know what I mean? It's like there's ways you can manage it. But that's also what I'm trying to say. If harkening back to the earlier part of the conversation, if your girl or whatever part, if your partner is really into you, yo, they're just gonna move a certain way. It's not like, so for example, like it's not even just like, okay, like if you're dating a girl, she's not gonna, in my opinion, get overly drunk around like a whole bunch of dudes that may be a risk to her. Same thing as a guy, you're not gonna go out and like always be around like some nasty hoes all the time. If you're really valuable,
I would.
girl.
I would. I would.
Imagine you got.
That's my job.
Imagine you have access to the vault, and you're
What's
like,
the vote?
why would I not open the vault once in a while?
Even the vote? Are you talking about Ken Gaston's brothel tent?
Why would I not open the vault? You have access to the
The vault of pussy.
A little bit of Schmiegel.
Yeah.
Schmiegel?
If I were to have a very adult conversation about this, what I would say is that like I think that like yes, men of a certain caliber will have access to a lot of women, right? And the thing is like
Schmiegel's fucked me so
every
good.
now and then, every now
You know what?
and
You know what, Eric? You know what, Eric? There's a little bit of Schmiegel.
No,
in all
okay,
of this.
let me-
No, fuck
There's a little
that.
bit. There's a little bit.
That is so that's the biggest perk ever.
I'm gonna finish the
That
statement.
guy was
first.
asshole for sure.
Alright, so basically, here's the thing at the end of
Asshole
the
for
day.
sure.
Every man of a certain caliber will have access to a certain amount of women, and here's the thing: you have the option to frequent those women or not, right? And I think if you're in a committed relationship, maybe every now and then you do that. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, if you actually love the person you're with, and there's certain metrics the woman you are with will hit for you to love her, in my opinion, and if you value her enough, bro, you'll feel guilt. You know what I'm trying to say? You will not want to be going out here fucking all these hoes because you're like, oh, I was gonna piss her.
Well, if you're not-
So every now and then, like maybe, yeah, sure, you're gonna nibble on the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, but it's not gonna be like, you know, like if this is my opinion. Reckless cheaters do not give a fuck about their partners. If you're doing, and what I'm saying is, if you're doing something cognizantly that your partner is not interested, you know it's gonna piss them off. You know if they knew about this shit, they'd be like, yo, fuck this motherfucker. You know what I'm trying to say? You probably would either feel guilty about that in some way, or you do it shame. So, for example,
Also, aren't you just looking at it and thinking about it from one perspective, right? Maybe you're just like attaching more to it than it actually is.
That's Montessori training right there.
What is?
The way he thinks.
There you go.
Even though I was just like, is this like Montessori school training where they make you think about? You always ask the question. It's just like, is that just one way to think about it? What is the other way to think about it? So do they teach that in Montessori school?
It's very philosophical.
Yeah. No, and even you said honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, you do a public school, they make us think in a very linear way.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not
No,
good.
because I was just like, the other one is fuck, what Trudeau one? It's called
No, but I want to harken back to this thing.
What was the other one?
The thing is,
It starts with a J.
obviously,
It's like Jehovah Witness.
Well,
Jehovah Witness
It's
thinking.
not
optics, right? So
Jehovah Witness thinking. It's
there's optics there, but again, that's also just optics.
I'm saying it
So
depends.
it's
If you're in a relationship where somebody's like, okay, cool, whatever. I've dated girls who've been like, yo, you know what? Vacation pussies like that doesn't count.
wow, that's so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what?
That's
But you know, if you have a relationship with your girlfriend, okay.
But it's because I'm fully cognizant that like what she's saying by that is that like, yo, I'm gonna get vacation dick. So you go get your vacation pussy. You know what I'm
Wow.
trying to say? That's like that's.
What I'm going back to is also like, again, this is like obviously just personal perspective.
Yeah.
And also, I know guys who are like some of my good friends who are like they're the most asexual guys. They do not care about like relationships. Because for them, what's higher than a relationship? Like for them, it's like relationships, and then money, and then being good at your craft. The most
Yeah,
important thing in life
being good
is
at
being
your
good at your
craft.
craft. Relationships
Being
don't
good at
matter
your
to them.
craft.
Yeah, like,
Honestly,
they're like,
I feel that way sometimes.
like I know guys who just like I look at them like you're
Yes.
so fucking good at your job.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and I get it because it's not even just in focus. It's just
Yo,
like
SEAL Team 6.
yeah, they're basically the SEAL Team 6 of like of
Joint
dudes
task
and
force.
girls. I know some girls are like
Yeah.
like they can talk to guys, girls, and they don't really care. They're like, but they're just like trying to prod, just like trying to get
Yeah, I
better
know
at their
a couple people like
craft. I know people like that. I'm like, wow, I really respect that because like you're literally at the end of the day, when
Yeah.
you go to sleep, you're thinking about how to get better at like the craft.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
not just the job. It's like
Yeah.
how to get better as like a salesperson, how to get better deals, how to get better as a like artisan, and I'm like, that's wild. Like you literally don't even it's like, you
Full
don't even see-
self-actualization.
yeah, like you don't even see gender. You don't even see
You
like.
go beyond the primitive.
Do
You
you
go
want
beyond
my
the animal.
perspective on that? Because like I feel like I'm not asexual, but like I feel that way sometimes about like my
Yo,
craft.
you're
where it's like-
pervert, bro. You're asexual.
No, I'm definitely I'm way too far to be asexual, and like, I'm not into something else. But here's what I feel about it. Is that, no, I was talking to one of my friends about this one time. So one of my friends one time, he really wanted to be an artist, but he couldn't be. So he went into like like a corporate job. He was a good stable corporate job and shit. But he told me instead of being sexually frustrated, he was very artistically frustrated.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this guy was super fucked up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
at a party, he was super fucking wasted. He came up to me. He's like, Eric, man, like. No, because I went to a party with him one time. He invited these guys who were like famous and they came up to me and they were talking to me and they're like, "Yo, Eric, man, good to see you." And they gave me they paid me some respect. Like, "Eric, you're sick and shit like that. Like, thank you for like working in the industry and everything like that, the music industry guys." And he's just like, "I really wish those guys gave me the same level of respect." And I said, "Why do you give a fuck, man? Why do you give a fuck about these guys validating? You're like a thought worshiping these NBA player guys trying to get them to like notice me, senpai." And he's like, "It's not about that, bro. I just want them to recognize that I'm also good." And then I said, and he said, because I saw the way they looked at you and they thought that you were good. I said, "Do you know what I had to do to make those guys think that I'm fucking sick? I really had to like bleed for it, dude. Like, and I didn't suck the guy's dick or anything like that, but I had to work really hard, make a lot of sacrifices for them to look at me and be like, you're on our level in terms of like commitment to the craft." So what it came down to is, so after that he said like, "Dude," he's like, "I just have all these ideas and like, I really just want to get my ideas out." And I said, "It sounds like you really just want to bust a creative nut really badly." And what happened is that the reason I trained so hard into like visuals and animation and all this shit is because I have all these ideas. And they're all banked up, and like my semen is all backed up. And so when I did fashion for 7 years, I had all these crazy ideas I couldn't execute. When I learned animation, for once in my life, I could fully control my execution of the idea. I could fully come, and honestly, and the idea, and the feeling of us getting that idea out, that you've been like no-fapped, like
no, for real, no, I see the analogy.
Being able to fully express it is so orgasmic. It's like what fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger says about going to the gym. He's like, "Oh, yeah, the pump is better than coming." Like honestly, like when I get an idea and I execute it perfectly, and the shot comes out and it's like so fucking good with the music. Like it's honestly, it's better than fucking pussy, bro. And like I want to say like
that's the clip of the day.
It's better than it's better than because to me like that is like the orgasm of your spirit. Spiritual orgasm. I was talking to Rick Rubin. I'm reading Rick Rubin's book about this, and he's talking about like why musicians and artists do creativity and they do music and art. And he says that first of all humans are creative. Like all forms of life take creativity in general, but he says that when you do art and music at a really high level, there's no way it can't be spiritual.
Yes.
I was like, I've banged so many girls where it's like it's so mechanical and so like disconnected, like marginally better than masturbating. Honestly, maybe even worse than masturbating. Honestly. Yes. Ever been in such a duet that was so fucking mediocre that like that fact would have been better than that.
You know what I'm saying, right? It's about having a good girlfriend.
When I bang chicks, I touch her soul. That's why I've never really had like a one night stand.
Oh, you touch her soul?
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true, bro.
What are you talking about? What do you know?
No, because there's many times you've told me I banged this chick and I felt like it was so empty. I didn't feel good myself afterwards.
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about?
So I'm sure you've touched some girls' souls with your penis, but I'm sure you've also stuck your dick in and it was soulless, and you walked away after, and you were like, "I feel like shit. Like I feel even worse about myself."
No, because the real issue is like when you touch her soul and you feel nothing.
That's my point.
What the fuck?
Shit.
What?
Okay,
This is some psychoanalysis shit, man. This is some Freudian shit. I don't know, man.
Okay, that's my point.
Also, you internalizing, decolonizing.
Decolonizing? Yo, are you decolonizing chicks' souls? Are you fucking white chicks and decolonizing their souls?
It's like revenge fucking, because you're like, yo, I'm gonna give them this black dick, and also
Dude, what
I'm
is
gonna
your
bring them
narrative?
back to
What is
Kenya.
your narrative, man? What is your narrative?
No, basically.
A lot of these white girls off saying, "No, you're not fucking me, Odie. I'm fucking you." But do they know that? They think they're fucking you, but you're fucking them.
No, very rarely, because Odie's on his Tyrone shit, and like there are very few. Remember that one girl we brought back? She was like, I had a friend, and I fucked him so hard. Maybe his penis was too sensitive that we couldn't be friends after. He couldn't look me in the eye anymore. I was like, and she was so casual about it. And the same way that like Odie sometimes is like he'll casually say that like he fucked this girl so hard that like he touched her soul. And this girl was like, "Yeah, I hooked up with him one time, and like maybe his penis was just really sensitive. I was just doing my usual thing." And she's like, "Yeah, I've been in sex clubs before." And she's like, "Yeah, I've been in gangbangs." And she starts alluding to the fact that this girl is like, she's a freak to the max. And she fucked her friend. She's like, "Yeah, I hadn't been the friend with him for a while, so I hooked up with him one time, and I fucked him so hard to the point where like we couldn't be friends after because he couldn't look at me straight after." I was like, "Yeah, because you probably fucking raped his soul, bro." This is what the podcast is about, bro.
No, because basically it's
every week it's just bad.
It's the same thing. If like, and this is a weird conversation to have with all dudes, but it's like, okay. So I'll put it in this context. If you get good pussy, like
Yeah.
really good pussy, bro,
Yeah.
it's undeniable. You know what I'm trying to say? It goes back to your
Yeah.
So even like the way you're saying, like sometimes it's such like a physical thing. Don't get me wrong. I've definitely I've been with girls where it feels like it's very mechanical. And to be honest, I haven't been with them too long then because of that. But like,
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But there's definitely like,
it makes you not want to do it together.
yeah. But I'm not like I'm not.
It's like shitty food. You don't want to eat at that restaurant again because the food is so fucking bad.
Because here's the thing. What I do when I hook up with when I hook up with girls is falsify intimacy.
Say that again.
Falsify.
So what I do when I hook up with girls is I falsify intimacy.
Why do you do that?
Touching girls.
I don't do it. I don't do it intentionally.
Are you enjoying this podcast, man?
What?
Are you enjoying this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, every week it's this fucking. This is actually a pretty tame conversation, but every
Yeah.
week. This is what we start.
Dude, I watched your podcast
Oh,
like 3 times.
Oh, have you?
I obviously didn't watch it long enough because
Wow.
usually it's pretty tame.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary.
Oh,
Kevin
yeah, that was episode
O'Leary.
1.
SBF.
Oh no, that was episode 1, man. Yeah, no.
I saw episode 2.
Yeah.
Parts of it.
Yeah, it's like some statements I made earlier in the podcast.
So it devolves every week.
well,
No.
I mean, like,
Should I post the clips I post on Instagram are actually the more tame things, so we don't get banned. If you actually watch the
yeah, some of the early ones you posted were not tape at all.
Oh no, some of the ones you're talking about fucking people's grandmas and shit, and like it's out of control, bro. like pretty.
Look
Dude,
at his
man,
face.
like, you obviously haven't seen that clip, but the first 10 clips I have, this guy's like just absolutely disgusting fucking statements, like heroic level, like borderline carrying the nastiness of the podcast.
I still
like
would-
shouldering the weight of that.
I still would titty fuck Nancy Pelosi. I don't care.
It's like on episode 2, he said
You're talking about like the 25-year-old Nancy.
no, the
Pelosi.
75-year-old with the titties.
75 fucking.
Yeah, episode 2, he's like, it was, would you rather fuck Hillary Clinton or Nancy Pelosi? And I didn't know who it was. He's like, she has nice titties. I didn't know the fuck she was. I looked her up online. I'm like, she does have nice titties. And she's like 80.
She's got cannons.
She's like third in line after the president.
Exactly. Yeah.
Second is the
basically,
VP, and
yeah.
then she's
To
third.
your point, there's also, yes, there's some thoughts who age really well. I think Nancy's one of those thoughts. I think Nancy was probably a bomb.
She is an attractive woman.
At 80, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine her at 60, not even 60, fuck, imagine her at 40. She was probably a cannon, dude.
Attractive.
100%.
No.
Paul getting some action in there.
Listen, and I know,
Paul getting that action.
I know some lovely women like this.
Let's be
I
honest.
won't say who.
Dude, if you want a stock tip,
Yeah.
go to Nancy
Yeah.
Of
Pelosi.
course.
With
One of the best traders in modern history.
with all due respect, Nancy Pelosi's a bit of a ghoul. But the thing is, like, what I'm trying to say,
Just a bit.
the origination of this statement was like I was sort of thinking more so about like Paul Pelosi because he's a freak. He's honest to God freak. This guy is doing the craziest stuff. He's getting hit in the head with hammers by
Assailants.
by homosexual drug dealers.
Hitting the head with hammers.
Paul
Okay,
Pelosi.
I don't ask the,
Paul
the sex and gender of my drug dealers. I don't fucking care, bro.
Paul Pelosi's drunk driving home, T-boning cars.
Yeah.
While insider trading off of information.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Pelosi is
yeah.
fucking crazy, right?
Yeah,
So I'm thinking then, imagine if Paul Pelosi's that, what the fuck's Nancy doing? Yo, can you imagine the harem of fucking like 20-year-old douche probably has?
Oh.
Think about it. Just imagine it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Sometimes I think with like guys like Leonardo DiCaprio, he's like only dating 20 girls under 25. He's just-
yeah, what do you think Nancy's doing?
I read Steve Aoki's biography. Even Tiesto got married at 50. All these guys, like, they get so into their career, and like, you can just tell, like they just love it. I have problems explaining this to my parents sometimes because like I'm getting older. I'm just like, man, marrying this and that. I like it's so weird to say to my parents that the craft is better than coming.
Whoa.
The craft is better than coming. It sounds so crazy, bro. Dude,
Spoke like a true monk, man. That's a true monk.
During the pandemic, bro,
Yeah.
I used to be in my room just by myself, like, and I would just like get mad emotional and just put on music, and like I'm kind of fucked up doing it, but like I'd listen to these songs and like I'd get so intense with the music, I would just fuck. One time I broke down, I was crying by myself.
That's good, man. That's good.
I was so touched
No,
by
that's
the
good.
music.
Man.
It was
That's
so
good.
spiritual.
Yo, that's good, man.
No,
That's good.
and there are so many people out there that just don't understand. That's what people talk to me about, like, oh, you're
No, man, dude, I understand. As a musician, I understand.
No, you're too focused on your
Trust
job,
me, I
this and
understand.
that. And I said, dude, like,
No, man, you're in
gonna
the art.
You're
You're in the art.
gonna die someday, and you're just gonna dissipate, and all that's gonna be left behind is that energy left on the planet, and that's what, and you know, and like that's what doing, like, it's not for 3D artists full time, right? But like that's what it pulls you in. And when I went to EDC for the first time, and like, you know, and we're watching Martin Garrix, and we're having this huge sermon, that's when it had this religious moment where I realized, like, it was that moment just realizing that if you listen to the lyrics, my brother, we went to Ibiza, we're around Ushuaia watching Martin Garrix, and I'm just like, he brought his wife to listen to the lyrics of Martin Garrix and the songs he's playing, and his wife started crying, and I started crying and everything like that, and I'm like, and I said, you know what? Because like to me, I heard these songs before, like whatever. But you know, the first time I heard like the music he was playing, I was like, if you listen to the lyrics, the lyrics are super inspirational. They're talking about like one of the lyrics, like everyone's so fucked up, everyone's partying. And one of the lyrics is that you are exactly where you need to be. Like that is super inspirational. That is like super healing. The message, and the reason why he's so famous is not because he's some young Dutch. It's because the message he brings is so incredibly positive and healing that he's healing a generation, and that's on some Jimi Hendrix shit.
I think when we saw him in Vegas, it was one of those moments. Even though it was only like an hour set, it almost like
it changed my life.
I actually cried inside. I was like, holy fuck! It was like
it showed me the power. It showed me the power of music and how it can unite people and heal people.
So guys, it wasn't the drugs at all.
We didn't have drugs. I didn't have drugs.
Oh shit! No way.
I didn't get. They had.
We were pretty sober. No.
Okay.
I said drugs again.
I was being a dick. Sorry, guys.
No. I didn't drugs. I think if I had drugs, it would have been crazy.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't. And also, it was just like the power of music. That's when I really truly experienced it.
No, music's actually.
You might not have that focus with the
there
drugs
was
too.
the crowd. There was the environment, like being in like under the sky at night. Everything. The music. I'm like, holy shit! I've never felt like that in my life.
It was honestly like going. It was like being a Muslim and going to Hajj and Mecca and being united with like 400,000 other Muslims and you've heard sermons your entire life from different imams. It was like on that level of religiousness.
I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. Yo, do you guys believe in casting spells?
No.
Yes.
Yo, so
to a certain extent.
Do you feel in scenarios like that where like there's a singular artist commanding so many people that is providing an environment like that?
Yes,
It's a spiritual zone.
Okay, if that's what you mean,
it's a spiritual
Because if you agree with that, you have to agree with it on a smaller level.
100%. Yeah. So I'll give you in contrast, right? Astroworld is the opposite. Chaos. He's fucking just creating, like, you know, like preaching chaos.
He's controlling it.
You know what I'm trying to say? And it's almost like that was the whole thing with the whole Astroworld thing. He's almost sort of like orchestrating the chaos and just sort of like hovering over it.
Anyways, so back to those religious.
She's not trying to smash you?
No, bro, it's not about that, bro. Anyways, okay, back to my point. So, back to my point. No, but it was at EDC. It was that moment when I realized that, like, being an artist, wanting to work for DJs, electronic music, all this bullshit, like, it made me realize that, like, yeah, you're not alone, and that there's a place for people like you in the world, and that if you do your job correctly, you can make all these people happy. I saw Zed's performance after. So Zed is the best 3D visuals out of any artist right now. I actually, like, Silly Gabe is the one of the 3D artists who works for him. They've been friends forever. So I'm watching his visuals for an hour straight, watching his visuals, and I'm just like, this is what I spent my entire life studying how to do. And everyone's having a great time in the crowd. Everyone's hands are in the air. He's fucking dropping sets. Fucking like Martin Garrix came on after. He's like, okay, let me play 2 songs because they have songs together. And he came on. He was DJing for a bit. And everyone's having such a great time. And I'm just like, I have such a niche job. It's such a weird job to be like, I'm going to animate and do visuals for tours. And that's such a fucking niche job. But when you're out there and there's 400,000 people going fucking crazy to like fucking Zed's music and the visuals are on stage and like it's the same software I use and like the guys like people, I look at him and he's one and I'm just like. It makes it all worth it because it makes you understand that like that doing this work makes so many people happy.
Yes.
And if you don't do this shit, this experience right now is not going to exist. So you have to do it. And then that's when I came back to EDC. It was very career affirming. Just being like, you have to do this. This is one of the purposes of your life. It's very niche. It is. That's
Visuals for concerts?
Yeah, no, I do tour visuals for like DJs and shit like that, and music videos, and I'll show you right now, man.
Okay, so you have the sound, and then you have the visual.
Yeah, I'll show you this shit. I just show like this. Watch that. That's my job. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
You built that shit? Like the visuals?
Completely solo, yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like, I definitely understand why you feel so good about like that job. Because alternatively, my whole career has been about selling very shit deals.
Dude, I just shit deals too.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Fam, that's what I'm
So
doing
like
now.
it's a very niche.
No, I know.
It's a very niche job, right? But to the point where like you might start questioning your life, being like, why am I spending my whole life doing these type of things? But then you go to a music festival where everyone's celebrating that.
So you can get instant gratification from your craft.
It's not the instant gratification, but it's the validation. Everyone is celebrating it. Everyone being like, why do you do this? It's almost like spending your whole life like playing basketball by yourself, and then you go to the Olympics, you go to the NBA, where everyone is like, this is fucking sick. Thank you for doing this.
Or if you're an artist, when the crowd is clapping, screaming, standing ovation, same thing. That's that validation.
It's incredibly validating. It's affirming. It's career affirming.
Probably one of the most pivotal points in my life
Interesting to you,
was
right?
getting
Like,
standing
it's like,
ovation
not
once.
everyone's gonna be
On a stage.
What were you doing?
Walking. It was a play in fucking high school.
Actor?
Like, oh, you know, I'm just good at this.
Or
and
just
that, but you, like,
business
you just
guy.
have to act
But I walked out on the stage and people fucking stood up and like I fucking started bawling my fucking eyes out and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Acting in the play.
The first thing
Yeah.
we did, the only thing I did,
Yeah.
we did
It was the craziest fucking, one of the craziest experiences of my life.
Because most people
I can
I
still
just did,
hear
like,
it right now.
most people are talking about
like,
most people are talking about too hard.
And afterwards, I'm
But
like,
society in
I
general.
would have kept going down that route because just from that moment
Yeah.
would have carried me forward.
Exactly.
Absolutely, that would have carried me for. I'm still talking about it fucking years later.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, so you can definitely relate, and that's how I feel about it. Because like most of your life, people are, it's so hard to be an artist. People try not to do it. Society doesn't want you to be an artist. It's so difficult, right? But when you have a moment where everyone is telling you that, like, if you didn't do this right now, none of the stuff is experienced. It makes it all worth it. And that's what, like, I don't know. It's like a
But after time to actually
Yeah, you gotta pivot.
like,
I'm in my 30s
like
doing
even
this,
getting a
yeah.
couple wins there, we're like,
You could be doing. You could be a salesperson. You get a deal. You get another deal. You get another deal. You get another deal.
But-
Someone's handing you a crumb here. Someone's handing you a crumb
There
there.
weren't
And
exactly
crumbs all of a
ways that
sudden getting a
probably
piece of bread at
felt
some
good
point.
about, right? 'Cause, like,
But getting
1, 2,
something
3
at
wins,
that
we're like,
at that
that's all right.
scale
That's all we did.
Yeah.
We didn't
is-
feel it. We didn't feel
is
it.
significant
Yeah.
for your
Totally normal.
I guess ego may be the word.
It's for your
You know,
soul.
not saying
Yeah.
ego as an egotistical, but for your soul.
It's
even. That's a
honestly
good
for
word.
your soul, because like I
Yeah.
feel like art feeds so like I always tell people, what would a world without music or art look like?
It would be awful. It
Like,
wouldn't be like.
if you look at
wouldn't be like-
if you look at
It would be
dystopian
fucking robots.
If you look at dystopian societies
robots.
where everyone dresses the same, the buildings all look the same, there's no art, there's no
It would be
music.
Khmer Rouge, man.
Yeah. No. It's North Korea. North Korea.
But they still have music there. They still have music there.
Yeah, it's Kim Jong Un's fucking evil music and like the buildings all look the same.
Yeah,
Like
you gotta give it
so I spent a lot of time thinking about that. Like, yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking about that.
Yeah, honestly, it was
It
really
motivates
fucking
me to keep
great.
going. I'm in my 30s still doing this. All my friends gave up, dude. In my
That's what I
20s,
said
they all gave
earlier.
up. Yeah, a lot of them play.
It's actually really still fucking with me, man.
I feel like playing this sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
But you gotta do it.
You gotta do it. You gotta keep going.
Take your pieces and keep you going.
Forward,
Whatever
forward.
keeps you going.
Going.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah,
If you love it, right?
That's what I was talking about serendipity.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck?
it's almost like having a shitty, like an abusive girlfriend. It's
Good
just
things
hard to
that
love.
happen.
Yeah.
But if you can stay with her long term, it makes it all worth it.
Side note.
It's like you know. That's what I say about Canada. It's like I know. I think this chef said this about living in Argentina. He's just because Argentina's cold as fuck in the winter. He's just like Argentina is like a fucking asshole fucking woman. At first, she's a fucking bitch, but eventually, you will learn to love her deeply. I was like, holy fuck.
Holy
No,
shit,
and
man.
I was talking to so my sister-in-law's from Vietnam. She's visiting Toronto. She's like, it's so cold here. Like, how are you guys still so skinny if you can't work out outside? I said, Canada is like a mean-ass girlfriend. At first, she's kind of fucking mean and cold and shit, but over time, you will learn to love her deeply. And, yeah,
Okay, all right.
and that's what I feel about Toronto, man. It's like, yeah, it's a mean girlfriend, but you know what though? There's a lot of inner beauty. At first, it's not so. I think Darren was saying it's about Toronto. He's like, Toronto's a terrible place to visit as a tourist, but living here is interesting. Living in Toronto's dope, and visiting Toronto's kind of boring. We don't have like, it's not like fucking LA or New York where we have like. It's not so amazing to visit. It's not like London or Paris.
No.
But living here long term there's inner beauty, but you have to stay long enough, and you have to
It
fuck
took
this
me
bitch.
some time to transition.
Yeah, you have to fuck this bitch long enough to really appreciate that pussy, because long term, underneath it all, it's really quite amazing, you know. But you have to kind of get over the service level, which is like she's kind of an asshole.
You ever just like bang a girl like twice and you're just like totally over her?
Yeah, I banged a girl once to get over it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say, I can't. I'm sorry. I thought I liked you, but I can't tolerate you.
Yeah, I banged girls one time, and I'm like, that was so fucking like not good. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good, bro. Anyways, that's an interesting conversation today, just talking about like the fucking like the art is better than coming. And here's the most fucked up thing about it is that like it's so addictive, bro. That as I get older, bro, like I just want to
dedicate my life to that shit.
Yeah,
that
so I
shit.
want to hear, man.
Yeah,
I want to hear that.
shit. I think you're like just because I'm getting to an age right now where like everyone, like I have 3 brothers, they're all getting married, and having kids and everything, and I think that's great. And like but here's one thing that.
But Eric and I are the artistic ones in the family.
We are very artistic. Yeah, but at the same time too, though, you can be artistic and still have like kids in the family and shit. And, like,
100%. So you went full out with it.
I went full on artist mode, and that's one thing that like I never compromised in my life. Is that like I really just like absolutely uncompromised. Like I'm
that's awesome,
give
dude. That's so good.
my mother
so
fucking-
good.
Also,
Yeah.
you can look back and, and say you had no regrets, right? Because better to actually go in and really give yourself a shot than be like, yeah, I should have, would have, could have, right?
And sometimes I feel like I had no choice because like I look at a lot of rappers these days, and it's just like a lot of rappers and NBA players. They'll always say, like JPEG Mafia, this was all I'm good at, so I'm forced to do this. So like for me, it's like I have university education. I'm not a rapper from the hood. I'm an educated guy. Like I could have done something else in my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm smart, educated, intelligent enough. A lot of rappers had no other choice. They're like, it was this or go to fucking jail. Like you have a wicked jump shot, or you're sick of rapping. It's fucking like it's what Michael Jordan says. You sell crack, or you fucking join the NBA. 2 ways out of the hood. That's not my life, man. Like I had other options, but like but in terms of something I'm really good at and I like doing, it was definitely like just like making really sick fucking graphics, bro. I was looking at my reel. I was looking at my reel today. So I'm editing my reel because I'm like applying for jobs and shit. I'm looking at my reel and there's so many like just sexy naked bitches and like all sorts of shit. I'm just like the pussy, the sexiness. I have this one shot of this girl hitting a fucking hookah. There's 2 bitches making on the bed and her body's so curvaceous and like just so sexy. Exhaling the smoke out of her mouth. I'm looking at the shot and this shot is so sexual. It's so sexual, and I'm like, better than coming.
I would describe your art as there's elements of sex.
Super sexual.
There's elements.
Super sexual, bro.
There are some elements of sex.
When I was talking to Victoria, she told all her friends.
Rated R.
My friend Eric in Toronto, he's like a bunch of rappers, but like Eric's actually a 3D porn animator, and I had to tell her, I said, listen, Victoria, I don't actually animate porn for a living. She's like, that's not true, Eric. I've seen your art. Your art has so many naked girls, and there's so many fucking titties, and I said, I don't animate penises hitting the vagina. Balls clapping the pussy. I don't animate that shit, bro. I'm not. She's like, that's not. And so I had a 2-hour discussion with her why I'm not actually a porn animator. I don't animate porn for a fucking lick. Get a straight bitch. No, and she's like, that's not true. I've seen your shit. You definitely animate porno. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm a fucking porn animator. Pornographic fucking animator. Bitch, you fucking wilding.
It was so funny because on that topic, I had a childhood friend who will not be named. It was really young, and so I used to go over on Sundays. This is elementary school. Okay, this is so
sexual,
crazy,
right?
dude. So we used to play games in the house.
Peter's face, bro.
And so,
oh yeah, look at this guy's face. Oh yeah,
Those aren't real people.
exactly. Balls clapping the pussy, bro. Balls. No, that's not clap that. Fuck, clap those lips, bro.
Man, where was this filmed?
Yeah, in my mind. In my mind, bro. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna have 2 fucking bitches clapping fucking pussies. Look at his face, bro.
Dude, send me this shit.
Oh my god. You're gonna jerk off to this after.
So I just finished my story. So I had a childhood friend, and I used to go over the place, and we play tag and do wholesome stuff, right? Do stuff like that. And so he had a relative who lived in the basement. And we were like, okay, yeah, we're hanging out. We're going to the basement. We're going around, running around playing tag and stuff, right? And then one day he says, "Hey, Adrian, I want to tell you something." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." Like, not as relative, like my buddies. Like, so I found out that my relative, his day job is to make hentai.
No way!
Your relative?
Not my relative, his relative. He found out because he found out.
You went downstairs and watched.
He went downstairs and watched some fucking hentai. And it's like, and his dad's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it's my work." I'm like, "What do you mean it's your work?"
That's
If you make hentai for a living, dude,
That's
amazing.
I have the skills to make 3D porn.
It's so funny.
I have the skills. I have the skill set. I have the technology. I have the hardware. I can make.
Hey,
I'll do it.
you know what?
It doesn't pay good. I'll do it.
I'd fund a hentai. It's actually one of my dreams.
You want to fund a
One of
hentai?
my dreams is to fund
Want
a
to fund a
hentai.
hentai? Let's make a fucking hentai, bro.
I want to fund a hentai.
You're nasty.
Well,
I'll be real. In the next year, if you actually want to fund a hentai, raise the money, bro. I'll make you. Let's make a Pornhub account.
Yeah,
I'll put in the work.
Oh, there you go.
Tentacle porn.
I want to fucking fund a hentai, man. I feel like it'd be very interesting. I
Yeah,
just want
could
to
be,
see
could be.
Let's write a script.
just the script, the human behavior,
You're a nasty hoe.
what people would actually look at, how long they'll look at it. Bro.
Balls, clap it.
Bro,
I would just like to preface that
also because the voice acting, the fucking voice acting.
I'll be part of the voice acting.
I
I'll sign up with one of
Yo.
this.
Anna told me she wants she's deciding to be a voice actress. Like, you want to
No,
be
she should be on the hentai.
Yeah,
She should be on the hentai.
Who is?
Tanya.
No, I'm gonna tell her right
Tanya
now.
should be on the hentai.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her a video right now of explaining that
Yo,
shit.
I'd get Odie on the hentai just to be
Yo,
the
all of us,
protagonist.
all of us. Group hentai.
Just to be the protagonist,
Oh my
man.
god. Yeah, the protagonist. Yeah. That's a great guy.
You're like, oh,
Yo,
I don't think there's a good
We're
guy.
making a porn series, and we want you to be the voice actress of this hentai series because I need a female voice actress.
I can imagine it.
Holy smokes, man.
Fucking the protagonist comes on, they're like,
Oh man.
Guys, we really.
What you want, multitask?
that'd be fucking
We really need more girls on this podcast.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Because they're fucking disgusting, bro.
You'd be like,
We're talking about fucking getting the fucking ass.
Well, actually,
We don't. We had 2 girls on the podcast today. They fucking look
Imagine
disgusting.
Imagine this, this character comes on, big scene, all the hentai girls are waiting to be like, Kenya sensei.
What the? Holy shit.
Excellent, yo.
Oh my god. Oh fuck, man.
Yo, honestly, yo, if we made a porn and put it on Pornhub, do you think we'd like? I looked it up on Pornhub, and the highest ranked hentai films on Pornhub only have like a few million hits. So it
Legit?
doesn't.
But you know what?
It doesn't really make that much
No,
money.
we're gonna go higher.
We go higher.
We're gonna go higher.
We're gonna make the best series on
the
porn. We're gonna have like
best.
10. The plot is gonna be so lit. People are gonna be
Yeah,
like,
the plot will be so
Dude, have you seen that new?
Dude.
Have you seen that series? It's fucking real. The writing is amazing.
There's some,
The voice acting is so good.
there's some low quality
You're gonna have to write
shit.
it in 8 minutes or less.
No, there's some low quality shit on Pornhub. Some of the stuff where I'm like, bro, how does it even get online? This is
Dude,
fucking gross.
dude, on porn, Elven Ring porno. Also, there's anytime there's a new animated series, League of Legends, and that shit, there's always like fucking what's that fucking man. Anytime there's yeah, dude.
Man, we could call the channel Hass again instead of hunting as a service. Hentai as a service. There you go.
Oh.
There you go. That's it, man. That's it, man. That's fucking it, man. Subscribe to it. That's really the service, man. Holy smokes.
Would that be so nasty if actually did a story? Wouldn't it be fucking hilarious? Wouldn't it be crazy?
It
Wouldn't
would
it
be.
viral?
It could.
Start
It
to
could.
dialogue.
It could,
Dude,
man.
there's so many subgenres.
There's tons of subgenres, man. I don't know much about hentai, but I know enough that it's like, wow, it's a. I hear you. It's probably not that profitable.
It's not.
But who knows? Maybe
It's a passion project.
Maybe you can make it into. Maybe just as not good enough content creators.
One
right?
of,
Maybe-
one of my friends subscribes to
The animation needs to be better.
well, he's got some spirit. There you go.
I could 100% do. I have all the technology. I have the
You can
skill
make it
set.
like quasi-cartoon, quasi-human.
I would make it realistic because people are gonna fap to it. It's all about the writing and the plot and having some tentacles going on. But I have all the software technology, plugins, hardware, render
Dude,
time.
one of
I
my
can do it,
friends,
no problem.
one of my friends is a furry, right? And
Disgusting, bro.
I'm not gonna judge him, but that's what he likes, man.
All right.
Like he
He's
subscribes-
dressing up? He's
Yeah, he
dressing up?
subscribes to like furry porn.
Okay.
Right? He fucking
Okay.
loves that shit, right?
Okay,
I'm like,
all right.
You know what? You are who you are, man. It's 2023.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, you wanna watch, like a half centaur, like half fucking rabbit fucking? Go for it, dude. He fucking loves that shit, man.
Yeah, there you go.
He sent me some stuff sometime, and I'm like, this is fucking nasty, but I don't want to see a half female woman rabbit getting fucked by like a fucking half gazelle dude.
Oh,
right, with horns.
oh,
Right? So that's
oh.
fucking cool, but also I'm not interested.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's a market for everyone, man.
There's a market for everyone.
But what I'm just saying, how do you go from normie to furry? Like,
I don't know.
Is there like a cartoon show that like gets you excited, that like transitions you? Like, how you get into like? I'm
don't
curious.
know.
What's the
I don't know.
normie to furry pipeline? Like,
I don't know, man. It's a good question.
are you watching National Geographic watching two rabbits fucking? Like, how do you fucking go from normie to furry
So the
pipeline?
fetishes start when you're a kid. Balloons, clowns. All the guys who are in balloons fetish. It all happens when you're a kid.
I've actually never heard of a balloon fetish.
Very, very common.
Balloon fetish?
Very common.
Really? Dude, I've never heard of it. Dude, what are you talking? Whoa, teach us, man.
Dude, super common. The
Dude,
balloon
what?
fetish is mad common.
What
Never heard of this. What?
Are you serious?
Dude, what are you talking about?
Balloon fetish. Guys have got it's the most common balloon. Dude,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Women hugging the balloons, popping the balloons is orgasmic. Woman,
What?
She's hugging the balloons, pops them into their titties. The guys are jerking off that shit.
What?
In terms of porn commissions, top 10.
I had
no
Top 10
idea.
balloon
I had no
fetish,
idea.
Sure.
Well, hold on, there's some logic to that because there's the climax of the pop.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Okay, I see that.
The other one is a quicksand fetish.
What the
the
fuck?
strangulation of drowning
Whoa,
in the quicksand.
what the
It's very, very erotic to some guy.
What?
Look at Peter's face. Anyways,
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. I didn't know
I
that.
can
The only
believe
balloons
it.
I've ever seen have been condoms.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing.
Quick-
I can believe
Quicksand
it.
fetish?
Quicksand fetish.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, no, but think about what. Anyway, no, so it was.
I can see the logic because quicksand, you're getting trapped. It's almost like you have like a gorilla get gripped.
It's very erotic. It's very erotic.
erotic.
It's
I can see that.
being drowning in the fucking
It's almost
sand.
like a power play because
It is.
you are actually powerless against the quicksand. And imagine quicksand being the woman, and the woman is like eating you up. Like it's almost like a man eater, right? So the woman's
Yeah.
eating you up, the quicksand's eating you up, and you're being trapped. You can't go anywhere, and you're like helpless. That's fucking.
Oh my god, that's what. The funniest one was one Eric had a client he showed me. He's like, yo, you check this out. I'm like, what the fuck am I seeing here? So he's being commissioned to make animations for really, really large and tall women and like tiny guys. Like tiny dudes.
What
No,
the
I'm talking
fuck?
like the guy is like this big on the table.
And they're like giants.
And the women are like literally like a trillion times as big. And like dudes are jerking off to like the woman being a trillion times larger.
What
And
the-
Eric's job was to animate this shit. I was like, what the fuck kind of fetish? You can't even see the woman. You can hardly even fucking see them in the video. I was
Dude,
like,
she's
what the-
beyond being a tall woman. She's like literally a fucking orc.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
fucking towering over.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, is this supposed to? Because we're watching
Like
this,
mouse elephant kind of shit?
Yeah, kind of
Yeah, must be.
mouse elephant style, like animated, like borderline hentai stuff. It's like, what the hell am I? What? Like, I thought it was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like fan fiction shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, no, this is actually supposed to be a fetish. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Oh my god, this stuff people do, humans, man. This is humans. Fetishize anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's like hard for me to wrap my brain around. It's like, you know, I can understand dominatrix thing, but like this is like a whole other level. It's absurd. It's like
That's more than domination. That's fucking annihilation, man.
that's like some
Fuck,
other.
if she's like 60 foot tall, and you're like a
Yeah,
oh man.
yeah, it's absurd. Completely absurd stuff.
I'm gonna make you guys.
No, but the blue one—that's a funny one. I hadn't heard of that.
I'm gonna ruin your lives right now. I'm gonna make you guys drink this shit.
What's that?
This is a nasty blueberry wine. I'm
Oh my
gonna make you guys drink this shit. I'm gonna make you guys drink that.
I don't know about that.
I want to
Anyways.
know what's going on
What is this-
in
what is
someone's
that?
mind
What is that?
with the little thing and the big
What?
thing.
What is that?
I me neither.
That's
Oh,
Yo,
yeah,
Eric,
I can't.
Brand, drink
Eric,
Like, what's
you-
the?
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm drinking that
That's
shit.
not. It's just what if you like it.
No, it's okay.
Eric, remember this prospective client you had where you showed me a video of like this fetish where you have really small dudes and really massive women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Remember that
fuck?
shit? Remember that shit? Can you
Yeah.
explain this?
Okay, so once a month I get people requesting me to do porn, and one guy was like, I want to. Oh, that was fucking. I think a year or two. The guy was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that was like a year or two, yeah.
So every month I have at least one person. So one of the guys requesting, can you VFX me getting fucking like devoured by big women, and I'm a small dude. I'm a microscopic.
Like
I'm
them,
like a
like
5 centimeter tall dude getting devoured by women's teeth, getting crushed by ass claps. Can you VFX this?
Oh fuck!
Yeah, no, my job's crazy sometimes.
What do you
bro.
mean? Like they want them
Like you should be able to charge a lot for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay enough, honestly, because like rappers.
You're not charging enough.
No, rappers. No, because like a lot of porn is like commission based and everything like that. So it's kind of just like I can either go do music industry.
So did this guy want you to like have the women crushing dudes?
Yes. Like and splatter them
Like grapes? Like crushing like grapes?
No, splatter them with blood and the VFX with blood and everything like that. Yeah. No, but the pay was so shit. I'm like, this isn't worth my time, bro. Like,
Were they naked? Like were they like everyone like what
No,
the
no,
fuck?
and this guy actually he filmed a bunch of women in lingerie like crushing dudes. And I'm like, you wouldn't film this shit like and the women in lingerie. Like, so he showed me. That's happened. There's one guy who's like having like 8 guys fuck his wife on camera, but his wife was like 50. So he sent me like all these videos. And it was so funny. He's like,
Wait, he sent you videos of his wife getting fucked?
Oh yeah, you
Yes.
should leave all this. This is
Yes,
disgusting.
and then he said, he was so funny. He's like, got quiet. He's like, can I ask you something, bro? So what? Can I ask a question right now? I said, what? He's like, what do you think of my wife? And I said, she's all right. Yeah, she's all right. He's like, she's hot. I said, she's nice looking. He's like, yeah. Would you fuck my wife?
You want to be number 9?
Would you fuck my wife? And I said, maybe. I don't know. And the guy was insult the guy. He was like 55. She's like a short-haired blonde, probably Eastern European. And then it's like, yeah, tomorrow we're having like 8 guys come over, and then yeah, and we're having some boys come over too, some younger guys. And I said, why? And he's like, yeah, because I fuck guys too. You know, hole's a hole. Is what it is. I said, are you gay? And he's like, I don't see it that way, bro. I just fuck. Men, women, you got an asshole, I'll fuck it.
Holy
I'm like,
shit!
damn, that's fucking really gay. Still.
That's kind of gay, just a little bit. I mean, maybe he's just like, maybe he's asexual. Maybe he doesn't care.
He's not asexual, but this guy's obviously very sexual.
Pansexual.
He's probably pansexual. Oh yeah.
He's just bisexual. No, he just
Oh, for sure, man.
He knows his craft.
He just likes clapping bum cheeks, male or female. Anyways, so he told me, he's like, yeah, so he's like, I'm fucking my wife on camera tomorrow, we're having a scene, and then tomorrow I'm having 8 guys, I'm gonna fuck my wife on camera. He's like, so I need you to edit, can you edit these videos for me?
Oh my god.
And we're starting a porn account. That's what I'm saying, like, I you know, this sounds fucked up, bro, but like, if there was a company that was like, I'm down to hire you, like, for a lot of money to just make porn, like, I might say yes to that shit, because like, that
could be life-changing money, man.
It probably pays a lot. They pay a lot to fucking. It gets to a level where I'm like, it would be cheaper just to hire girls, bro. Because you can fuck a girl on camera for $2,000. You can hire sex workers like porn stars for $2,000 versus like animating. That animate's way more expensive, honestly. I said if you can't, if you're telling me it's easier for me to animate this with tentacles versus you finding some like sexy girl who's 22 to get fucked on camera today, like it's probably easier to get some sex
When
workers.
you think about the risk-reward profile, clapping cheeks, bro, like actually might not be so bad for an hour of work, 2 hours, potentially.
Clapping bum cheeks, bro.
Yeah, I remember watching like what's the one on Netflix?
This conversation is way too fucked today.
Hot Girls Want
This is a dirty conversation.
Dude, hot girl want
Oh, I never watched that. I saw it.
I see that.
Hearing some of the rates some of these girls work for, like I was like some of them were like, yo, I got paid $200 an hour
Oh my god.
for like the craziest shit.
Jesus.
Like yo, like so I don't know, there's like the really extreme porn say facial abuse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Some of the early ones, that's what they used to pay the girls, like $200 an hour. It's the most
Like $200 an hour is a lot of money if you're working 40 hours a week. But
Yeah,
this
but
is
they're
like $200 a shot.
Yeah. It's wild. That whole, it's actually great. It's a really like, there's a lot of depravity in that.
Oh, of
industry.
course.
Of course, man. There's a reason why, like, for example, like, straight men in porn actually get paid really well because men who can go both ways, even though they're straight, they can do gay scenes, female scenes, they get paid very handsomely.
They're down, they're not
There's
down.
a pay grade, man. There's like, bi dudes
Yo,
who do anal, right? Anal is actually a huge market.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's more grimy. No, female porn stars, hit or miss, bro. It's either you're getting paid a lot, or you're doing $50 cum shots, or just getting fucked in the ass on camera for money. If you're like Jules Jordan, if you're like a king porn star Chad, if you're like the NBA level 1%, you're getting paid a lot of money. But if you're just like an up and comer, you're 18. I saw this one porn movie where it was like guys fucking girls, but like the camera, this is weird. You know when you watch most porn movies with guys, it's guys fucking girls, and they kind of edit the guy out. They're not showing his face.
yeah.
It's like, okay, this was focused on the guys fucking the girl.
Oh, interesting.
So it was weird. I was watching this porn movie. I'm like, this is weird. Like, why are they focusing so much on the guy? So they're focusing on his face. They're focusing on his body. The guys are all jacked. And they're focusing on the guy's dick. But the guy's fucking a girl. I'm like, it's straight
Sounds like
porn.
it's geared towards women.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Because that's the women's perspective.
Probably.
You might be right, or maybe even just bisexual guys, or guys who want to watch guys get
So I
fucked.
dated a girl,
Yeah.
and actually funny. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like a habitual dater, right? So I date girls like for a long period of time now. So this girl, actually very clean cut, very like straightforward girl, but like watched love porn. So there's like a web, and she was like the first girl I've dated that like was like that, because generally like the girls that I dated that like were freaks like porn, but this one was like a very well put together girl. Anyhow,
Fuck.
so there's a porn site for women called Balesa,
Hello?
and it has like porn geared towards like female like preferences.
I'm on camera right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on camera.
Well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, you know, everyone's fapping.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. You You know what I wonder about is, so I read that pigs can orgasm for like 30, 40 minutes at a time, like continuously. Yeah, there's like certain, like you dolphins too apparently. They can go for a while.
Pigs.
Pigs.
Dude, once they get that whole genome thing figured out, we're gonna all be able to do that too, and they can just adjust to give us the pig fucking gene.
Yeah, there you go.
I just want to take a
So-
quick break from recording for a second. We're like,
Yeah. Well, no, if you're going clubbing, guys, you're gonna touch your ass. That's what happens. History of birds. Let's go.
So again, before Haber-Bosch process, 1910, right? Fritz Haber, German chemist, right? I mean, he was kind of known for like, saving people's lives because he allowed for chemical-based fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer, etc. So it allows world population to fucking skyrocket post 1910, but also for creating chlorine gas. So he's a chemist who won Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1918. And so like if you look at that, you think, well, that's a contradiction, right? So you have a guy who's like killing people while also saving people's lives. But before that, you had to use bird shit, fucking guano and like bat poop and shit, which is like bird crap. And so Peru has a long history of this in the 1800s, where you have all these British and French ships coming down through the west side of the Pacific, Peruvian side, and they're noticing, hey, there's a lot of bird shit, there's a lot of bat shit here. And because they knew enough chemistry at the time, they're like, oh, this is actually composed of the essential nutrients that are required for like plant growth, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, stuff like this, right? So this is well before potash, fertilizer, all this sort of stuff, right? In terms of like a mass industrial scale. So they started actually exporting this to Peru, and then they eventually made it so that they had to nationalize bird shit. Which is so funny, right? So then the state had a monopoly on essentially the bird shit. And so, long story short, what's the punchline on this? Because I'm just building up to the punchline.
Yeah.
Punchline is that hypothesized that this is what caused the potato famine in Ireland, because there was so much bird shit being sent back to England and UK and that region that there's diseases that ended up wiping out some of the potatoes. Is that fucking crazy?
Is that real or is that like a theory?
No, it's like a somewhat confirmed
Credible theory.
Yeah, credible theory in history of agriculture.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, okay.
The connections from that, right? But like it just shows you like we take it for granted that like we have such efficient fertilizer processes in chemistry, right? Before then, like they were just literally taking bird shit and bat shit en masse in massive quantities and like trading that as a resource because it's so efficient for agriculture. And then like, yeah, they hypothesized that this is also what caused the Irish potato famine.
Fuck, man.
So that was something I read just like yesterday. I was like, that's fucking crazy, man. That's globalization of diseases, right? Globalization of like fucking trade, specializing in things. Who would have thought, right? But you know, that shows you their nature's efficient. It's an efficient thing. Like, you know, even shit is efficient.
Yep.
Bottom feeders are efficient.
Well, the whole Earth, as it is a 100% efficient recycling fucking factory.
Pretty much, yeah.
Of course,
Everything
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
the leaves go down, they get used,
Yeah,
then they get
decomposers
grown again, and the whole Earth, the whole planet
Like,
is a big
it's
fucking
actually
recycling
miraculous,
facility.
right?
It's
So just
incredible.
like-
It's fucking
right, so you've got the
incredible.
ocean as a layer, and then you've got land, and you've got obviously the sky, and the ozone. You're just like, if one of those things were off, just one of those things were off,
Yeah. It's a very fine
it's
system.
it's a completely different game,
Huh.
right? And then within those systems, all right, on land you've got mountains, you've got the rainforest, you've got like somehow, like what, like how much of Earth is actually inhabited? Like 90%?
No, way less.
Dude,
Way
dude,
less.
are you kidding me?
Because 60% of the Earth is
It's
water.
90% of it is
bro.
water.
No, we have land. I'm sorry.
Oh,
land.
off land.
No, dude, how much of Canada is occupied? How much of Russia is occupied?
Yeah, no.
Touched land.
No,
Like,
it would
yeah,
be
if
like
you take a look
1
at
to
like
5%.
villages and towns, yes, the villages and towns are scattered across nations, but like that's still touched land.
Yeah, it's
It's
touch
like,
land. Yeah, it's
Come
touch
on.
land.
No, for
Humans moving around and shit. Yeah.
yeah.
Loose definitions, bro.
Yeah, Canada needs a seed bank, man. Norway's got that figured out.
Well, the Norway's isn't the world seed bank there?
Yeah,
That's for the
they
world.
do, that's right.
Yeah.
So I feel, why doesn't Canada also make a second one? We got enough safety here.
The plant, I think the plant needs multiple seed banks. I think.
Yeah, let's get multiple seed banks, guys. That's the real investment, I think. Yeah, we need seed banks. What else do we need? I don't know.
Did you guys, a couple of days ago, I was reading this article about the bird population.
Oh,
How
yeah.
the bird population has declined by like 30 or 40% in the last 30 or 40 years.
Shit, I did not.
And they're
know.
like,
I
what
did
the
not-
fuck's going on? And then, okay, so then you
Windmills?
look at it. What?
Or like wind
That's
turbines,
one
yeah.
theory. I mean, I'm sure one contributor
Apartment
probably.
buildings. Apartment buildings.
Don't know about that. they also say fucking airplanes and all the airplanes in the air. Another thing was the obvious one is the insects. There's less insects because of what they call it. I don't know if it's glyphosate or whether it's because of less fucking. They're just deforestation and all that.
Well, how do they know there's less insects? Because
oh, how do they know how many fucking tigers are in the real world? So it's
you can
count it.
Dude, that's so loud. What's that noise? Who's
Somebody upstairs.
It's 12 at night.
yeah, probably somebody upstairs fapping.
That sounded like someone got knocked over.
Yeah.
That was really loud.
Sounded like
That's
a desk.
a 300-pound fucking object.
Then the other one is like the EMFs, right? For the electromagnetic fields, the cell towers and the phones and all that shit. The birds are kind of diverting.
Oh yeah, because they have an internal magnetic compass. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So all of that,
it's
all
true.
of that
It's actually
shit
true.
put together, you get all those things, and then like basically bird populations. But it all has downstream effects. And holy shit, dude! Some of these things, and we don't know. We don't understand how the fucking whole world works.
Yeah.
So it's like you just find out, oh my god, what's happening with the bird population, and who knows what the fuck problem is a real problem, right?
So I heard an increasing problem is also birds just hitting into glass ceilings and just like fucking hitting right into like New York, Manhattan, just birds fucking.
Yeah, but that would have happened.
No, but does that matter at the
That would have happened
the
before.
rate in which they are reproducing? Because sure, yes, I understand.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There was something else about the food they're eating has got like pesticides and shit on it, which is making them whatever infertile.
Oh,
is that the word?
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the
Interesting.
birds
I believe it.
aren't populating as
No,
much
because if
because
let's
of
say
that.
100 birds are dying a day being hit from wind turbines or glass, but then they're actually producing, I don't know, a couple million eggs globally. Does that mean,
I actually don't know.
Because here's the thing,
I'm
though.
sure ecologists have studied this.
You
so I
got to
don't
think
know.
over time.
Yeah.
If you kill 100 birds today, that could be worth 50,000 birds in 10 years from now.
that's true,
Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
so
yeah,
like it
sure.
depends.
It
If you look
could
at it
be-
over time,
I don't know the growth rate. So
I don't
on
know.
that topic, it's
Well,
estimated.
that's why I'm for funding, preservation of ecological sites,
Oh yeah,
right? I
100%.
think,
100%.
preservation what?
Ecological
preservation of
sites.
ecological sites,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Sending money to whether it's South America, Africa,
Amazon,
Thailand,
yeah.
whatever. Amazon. I think there's probably not a lot of funding in those markets.
Yeah, no,
Especially
there's not
at,
as much as there should
I'm
be.
sure tech is fancy and all that, but
Yeah.
funding opportunities to save elephants, save tigers. right?
Yeah.
Do they get somehow, somewhere, sometime in the world? They better fucking figure that
Well,
out
I
soon,
think the
man.
thing we need to conserve the most is actually bees. Because bees,
So I've heard.
bees are responsible for over $40 billion worth of GDP in Canada because they fucking pollinate all this shit, right? We take it for granted how important
The
bees
fucking
are
house
to the
is
economy.
killed.
No, I'm good.
So bees so important, beekeeping, gotta get people more trained.
We're gonna have a bee problem.
We're gonna bee problem,
We're
man.
gonna have a bee problem. We're
The
doing it
bee
now.
thing, one of the things I heard about the bees is that a big part of the bee issue was the cell phones. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what's.
Maybe I don't know about
That's
that.
what I
don't
heard.
think
One of the
that's
biggest
quite how the
reasons for
biochemistry
bee
works.
declines. The bee population is
I don't
down
know.
big time.
That's
Maybe
that's loosey goosey.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
You think it's?
Cell
I
phones
think
are
it's more
affecting-
pesticides myself.
I guess it's pesticides.
Yeah. Or insecticides,
I actually don't know. I'm
whatever
not a bee
it's
specialist.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to read more. All I know is the bee population is starting to decline.
Is there a fight happening upstairs or what?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's
Just
going on.
fapping, dude.
That's not bad.
You have access upstairs. Let's go find out. Let's take the camera.
I'm
Let's go,
go.
Phil. Let's
I'm down. I don't have access upstairs.
Holy fuck.
Well, I've also heard that.
I don't know if it's injured. Maybe someone's hurt.
I don't know.
Do you have? I don't have keys upstairs. Do
Everything good.
you have keys?
Well, is that part of the co-working space
Yeah.
upstairs?
Yeah. No.
I don't even know if it's coming upstairs. Maybe come downstairs.
No. That's
Because
definitely
the gym
Oh, it
downstairs
could be
still-
downstairs. Makes more sense. Than it's
I heard
downstairs.
it. I heard it.
No, I heard it come over there. It's coming upstairs, but it's one of them. I don't know if it's fighting or some dumb shit. I'm upstairs. So I'm getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Probably fucking Victor.
Jocelyn, pile driving.
Probably fucking.
Yo, she wants. Oh my god, never mind.
Probably.
Never mind. Yo, turn the camera off first.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Well, fuck. I don't know. Conservation, all sorts of stuff going on.
All I care about is life and living life in the best way possible. And for
Yeah,
me,
but how can you do that if you're not preserving the world, man?
Yeah.
Preserving, putting money towards,
who gives a fuck about the
Let somebody
world?
else do
the
it.
WWF,
F.
man.
Listen.
The world, just like the universe, is completely indifferent to your suffering. It will survive on its own means.
That's true. The universe isn't different to
It
yourself.
doesn't give a fuck about you. It doesn't give a fuck about what you do to it. The earth is gonna be fine with whatever the fuck you do to it. It does
Not if we keep heating it. That's why we have ESG reports and all
doesn't
that,
matter,
right?
man. Humans have come, humans have gone. It doesn't fucking matter. It's life. Fucking enjoy life. Live life to the best. You're not to worry about these fucking inconsequential things to you. All we are is fucking ants in the grand scheme of things.
We are.
No, but being an ant is amazing though.
Being an ant is amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, you know what's crazy about ants? Did you know ants keep, aphids? These little small. Did you know they milk aphids?
What?
Yo, I kid you not. Yo, I fucking kid you. So you know Richard Dawkins, right? But put aside the anti-religion stuff, okay? We have to remember Richard Dawkins is an evolutionary biologist. He actually writes books, right? I mean, he's also a research
Yeah, he wrote The
scientist and all.
Selfish Gene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you read The Selfish Gene,
Oh, yeah,
he actually
right.
talks about this in The Selfish Gene. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, ants are crazy, dude. They're making armies. They're doing like fucking economics. They're doing all sorts of shit. And they're also taking aphids as pets. And they're also fucking milking the dew out of them and using them as nutrients. Yo, isn't that crazy, bro? Isn't that fucking crazy? Yo, look that shit up with a microscope. You see little ants going on? They're going to the colony. Yo, they're dragging the aphid. They're taking the aphid. Oh, they're taking the little insect buddy, right? You say, oh, little insect cow. Oh, yeah, let's take him into the tunnel. Oh, let's take him into the colony. Well, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna milk them. We're gonna milk. We're just gonna fucking grab some of the
They're not
nutrients.
so fucking dumb after all, man.
They're not
kinda
so
fucking smart,
dumb.
man. They work in unity, right?
Oh,
And
yeah,
they,
yeah.
And they get the farm going. They build the
Yeah,
tunnels.
dude, tunnel,
fucking
dude,
smart,
ants are
man.
fucking sick, man.
Dude, I was in a jungle once, and I could see this giant like path. It was like a swerving
shit.
path,
Oh, fuck,
and I was like,
man.
"Oh, that's the path where people walk." So I guess,
Oh, fuck,
and
no.
it's the fucking, it's like quadrillion million fucking ants the whole time,
Holy shit.
up and back the whole fucking way.
Holy
It's the craziest thing. It's like an ant highway.
Oh,
That's
holy
fucking-
shit.
And like through a field, a giant.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like raw to the ground
Oh.
in a field, and it's that's where people walk. No, that's fucking
I'm not
ants.
gonna lie. One of the things I remember, like growing up in Kenya, was like I fucking was disgusted by the insects.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I've always, I remember like
Just like
fucking
the size of them. just like-
centipedes like this.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
no, get no fucking way,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm saying this long, but I was fucking like,
Yeah,
I was like
yeah,
six,
Yeah,
six.
Yo, Japan. I've been to. I farmed in Japan for 2 weeks in East Japan. Well, it was only 2 weeks, but I saw shit I never want to see again. dude, you know the craziest part? The craziest part about that is like, okay, so you wake up 5:30, right? You're sorting potatoes, right? You work from like 5:30 to 10, take a break, and then you end work at like 2 because it's just too fucking hot the rest of the day, right? So you're like, okay, fine, you do your thing, and then like nighttime, right? So I'm staying in a cabin, has like basic electricity, no aircon, so I'm like fucking 40 degrees and dying. But so anyways, let me get to the point. So the point's that at nighttime, right, all the lights are off. You're like, oh man, I just got to use the washroom, right? Okay, no problem, right? So I turn on my phone, and I'm going around. I'm like, oh, good thing we laid out the insect traps, because I'm like, oh, that's a fucking huge spider. Oh fuck, that's a huge fucking spider.
Like tarantula kind?
Yeah, well, not quite that big,
Yeah.
but there's like decent size.
Yeah,
Like they
big
don't
ass
look like they
spiders.
could kill you, but they look like you don't want them anywhere near you.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
stuff you can't see in North America kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's not the half of it, because then by the time you have your phone out, you're moving around. There's the timer's ticking. You have the timer's ticking for. Timer's ticking for when you receive a knock on the window. And you're like, oh, who's that? Is that the farmer? Yo, that's not the farmer. That's insects smacking themselves against the fucking window because they're
the
attracted to the light, dude. Dude, when I first started doing it, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what's going on with the window? I was like, holy shit, you know the hundred they can fucking smack and try to get inside? I was like, yo, fuck, dude. That's why I was like 2 weeks. I was supposed to be there 3.5 weeks. And I said to the farmer after 2 weeks, I said, I'm really sorry, but like I actually can't psychologically handle this. And he was like totally fine. He totally.
Yo, he's like,
I
yeah,
actually
fuck.
could not handle it because
That's a horror movie.
It is a horror movie because there's too much. There's way too much. I'm like, there's knocking on the window, man. There's like shit dying because sometimes you have to clean off the window because there's carcasses of fucking mini bugs trying to get in. They're so attracted to the light.
And they're huge too, probably.
Some of them
'Cause
are.
you can hear them.
Okay, it's even funnier because some of them are really small. Those are the ones that are typically dying on impact, right? But then you have other large. You have beetles that are
That's
eating
what
the
I'm
other
thinking,
insects on the fuck. So you have a full-on massacre. It's full-on StarCraft level.
Or you even have the beetles chasing
With
them.
that
Yeah, fucking right.
dude, it's fucking crazy because all of them are attracted from like as far as light they can see the fucking light. Because we had one of these like wide open like floor to the ceiling style like open windows.
There's a lot of fucking minerals.
There's like a lot of fucking just shit all over, man.
gas.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, holy shit, man.
Vespine
But
gas
like,
is
it's stuff you take for
efficient.
granted, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Canada, we got bugs, sure, but Japan, Australia.
Dude, I saw a fucking tarantula in
Whoa.
Australia.
Oh, that's fucked.
I walked into a hotel and it fucking went running into the corner, and I was like, I just got there. It was like
Right.
maybe my second or third day there.
Oh,
I'm like,
fuck,
what
dude.
the fuck is that?
Yeah. Bugs freak me out too much, man.
I've lifted the sheets of my bed and seen cockroaches. a couple
Oh,
times.
fuck.
Twice.
Dude. Oh, dude, that's fucked up,
Yeah.
man. Dude, that's
That
fucked
happened in Florida once, and it happened in Australia another time.
Oh,
like the big ones, like the ones that are like this big.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
I know, and I slept in both beds.
Wow, man.
You gotta sleep somewhere, you know.
You gotta check your luggage after that, eh? You gotta go
I
straight
don't think
back.
I probably wouldn't have opened it. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I don't think I would have.
Light that on fire, eh?
Put it, fucking yeah, hang it up somewhere. I don't know.
No, I hear you, but stuff we take for granted, man. Canada, we have Vancouver has like almost no bugs. Honestly, it's just mosquitoes, a couple small spiders. We got nothing.
That's all we got here, really.
Yeah,
More or less.
a couple cockroaches. That's it, right?
I go
But-
camping all the time. All I got to worry about is the odd little tiny little thing. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
A couple
You
mosquito
don't
bites.
pass out,
That's
Eric.
it.
No, he's good. Whereas, like, I can't imagine being in Brazil. Like, close to the Amazon, like, oh my god, you see bird-eating spiders and shit, like, all sorts of fucking snakes and shit. You know, fuck. Australia, too. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, man. Yeah. No, we can only tame nature so far. Yeah. So much we rely on. I was just thinking about like living in Afghanistan too, or like Nepal, like relying on goats
Oh, fuck.
as like transport
Oh.
for like supplies and stuff. Like
Oh my God.
that's the equivalent of your like SUVs, your fucking goat, because they can go up all these hills and shit.
So
And it's just so impressive, like looking at goats when you see them, because they can go on like really like less than a foot of rock, and they can make their way up cliffs. And like when you see that, you're
Dude,
like, wow.
I've seen so many videos
Yeah.
on YouTube
Yeah.
where these fucking there are videos of goats on
Yeah.
the side of like the fucking Hoover Dam.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I've
stuff
seen
like
that too.
And dude, I think I've watched one, and I'm like, every time I see it again, I'm like, I am not watching. I can't watch this. I just can't, dude. This is like, they're gonna die, and
Yeah.
even though I know they're not gonna die and they're gonna be fine,
Yeah.
they're jumping fucking 12 feet onto a
Yeah,
piece of rock that's
exactly.
2 inches big, and I'm like, they're gonna be fine, but it's too brutal to watch.
It's incredible.
Like, holy shit.
It reminds you of how kind of like weak humans are. You know, the one thing, well, two things. One, the two things about humans, we got the brains. But the second thing apparently we're really good at, and I learned this even from experience, is we're actually good long distance animals. Because you ask yourself, how the fuck did we survive in the regions of Africa where you have fucking cheetahs and all sorts of shit, right, trying to kill you? And it's actually because if you can survive that like 20-minute like a fight with a fucker, then he's gonna tire out faster than you are. So you can just literally out jog him. You just fucking out jog him.
That's persistence hunting. So it's
Persistence hunting. That's it. Humans
So-
are persistence
funny.
hunters.
All those humans basically like jog down their enemy until they literally like,
Yeah.
like retire to death.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
so just
Really
basically
good, bro.
because
It's good. You just had a little.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like you would run after something?
so it would basically imagine it'd be like a tribe of humans, like 4 or 5 humans, and
Yeah.
then they would see like let's say
A gazelle or whatever.
so it would run like it's solid like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers.
So this I'm assuming is like an open field or something like
so,
that.
So the humans are just keep walking that direction, keep going that direction to the point where gazelle has nothing left.
Holy shit.
That's like
Well, you need to try to chase a dog. Like, so the dog runs off for a bit.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, where the fuck did he go, right? And then you kind of like hear him a bit. And you go, hey, you'll catch him. He'll get too tired, right? I mean,
just keep going.
humans are really good at
It's
conditioning
almost like
because
a-
that's
it's
how
like-
we survived when there's so much shit that could easily fucking
It's
kill
like
us.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's like get the right tools, brain part, and then just survive that cheetah going at you.
It's a
Fuck,
fucked up- it's a-
jaguars trying to fucking kill you, right?
It's a fucked up metaphor for life. Those who keep going survive. Right?
It's got persistence.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like if you actually think about it, like just one generation or maybe 2 generations apart, somebody in your family is probably like really in like the fields or like living off like a cent a day or something. It's like it's actually only a generation or 2 ago. It's actually kind of wild.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you think back like a generation or 2 ago, it's like 1930s, 1940s, which means they would have had to survive potentially not being conscripted, not being
Dude, in
not-
all 3 of our backgrounds,
Dude.
100%.
not being in a war,
100%.
right? Not being like
100%.
maybe coming across on a boat or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking not long ago, but like in the 1940s, maybe 30s, black and white television. Like it's actually wild, man. It's actually wild. Can you think about? Let's say.
Well,
like,
think about 100 years ago, and I would say 100 meaning like 100-ish years ago.
Yeah.
No electricity, no toilets, no
Yeah.
lights.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
fuck, dude. What's that? Think about it. Like you can't even think about it.
I had a
Impossible.
professor in university. He was like, he just turned like 95 a couple weeks ago. So
Holy shit,
At the
dude.
time, when
That's
we,
crazy.
The time when we were in university,
Yeah.
he would have been about in his 70s, 80s. The shit this man have seen. You know when some people when they just talk, you just know, man. Like,
Yeah.
He was not judgmental. He was not prejudiced, whatever. When he talked, you're just like, dude. You've seen some shit. You just know, man. I talk to this. I'd go into his office hours, and I'm like, you fucking seen some shit, man. Like, 70 at the time. That means you would have been fucking living through the 40s, 50s. I'm like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that must have been wild.
Yeah.
Yo, so I'm gonna completely switch to something else.
That's okay.
What's your concept of family? How would you guys each individually define family?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Me?
Well, I would put it this way: family is not necessarily exclusive to your blood.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it is in a way, but there's a certain sense in which like your girlfriend can feel like family, right?
Yeah.
Or obviously, if you marry them in a long-term partner, then they are, right? It's like feeling safe, comfortable, cared for.
Yeah.
It gets interesting when people like include like animals and pets as part of the family, right? I mean, that's a whole other dynamic. Right? A lot of people have that, right?
Yeah.
But a thing too is like there's people who have been so neglected, right? And they either foster parents or some people even find organizations like family to them, right? I mean, look at Japanese work culture. I mean, it's not a good analogy, but it's something, right?
It's true. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a factor. It's what has allowed certain Japanese companies to last for as long as they had some sense of camaraderie or family. So some people who have gone and served active tours of duty in military say that their fellow soldiers felt like family to them.
Right,
Maybe
right.
especially if they came from a really bad background. Maybe they didn't have a good household themselves. So I think there's many different concepts of family.
It's like how you define it, really.
Yeah.
How you define it, really? Yeah.
And a family is, I would say, something that can also be dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have. It could be transient too.
Yeah, it can
Yeah.
be very transient. It's like things change over time. Life's like your lifestyles, like the way you view certain like issues or solve problems together as a family, as a collective. That could be part of what makes a family as well.
You could even define it as people that have your back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it could be like, let's say you go on vacation. You can have a family while you're on vacation. There are people that are looking out for your well-being,
Yeah.
right? It could be like transient, or it could be people that are always looking out for your well-being, who are maybe your parents or your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you place like value in family?
What
Like,
do you mean?
if you were to put like, let's say, a very grandiose priority scheme of like 5 things.
Sure.
Honestly, bro, family is really fucking important, man. Because like one day we're all gonna get sick and fucking die of something, and the only people who are really gonna take care of you are your fucking family.
Yeah.
When you have fucking cancer, when you're fucking old, and this is actually why my dad's like, you need to get married and have a wife, bare minimum, because he's like, one day you're gonna be fucking old, and your wife is not like your nurse or your maid or whatever, but like, you're gonna take care of her too, and it's like, imagine a world where like no one had anyone, like when you see homeless people on the street and everything like that, it's because they have drug problems or there's no one to take care of them anymore.
Yeah.
And you end up out. Like, let's say you have like a brother with mental illness and he's addicted to drugs. It's like if I had a brother who was that fucked up, like he had no family, you end up out on the street, dude.
But also looking
Yeah.
at, but the thing is, I think looking at that way is also ignoring the trajectory of civilization too, right? It's like realistic. Like I mean, like you can probably say 20 years ago, many people just like did not expect the way we be now, right? They didn't expect the progress. They didn't expect the
Like social services, like
well, yeah, social service, like the mobility across many different things, right? Like a friend of mine, and he's like, dude, I think this guy is like when his company went public, he became like a billionaire, right?
Wow.
But like for him, the first thing, like one of the first things he did was like actually take his family, like take his grandmother who had fucking dementia, like his grandmother did not recognize anyone. She got to a point where she was very violent, and the best thing that he did was he's going to give her or put her in a home where PSWs, people can take care of her. He visit her once a month, whatever, but it's better that he put his money where she can get the best care. And so that for him is family, even though this person does not recognize him anymore. This person is like, who are you? Why are you paying for my services? I don't know who you are. And he's like, obviously it's very disheartening. You know, this person he grew up with his whole life, now suddenly they don't know who you are.
Fuck,
But it's still,
really sad, really sad.
For him, that's still his family. But on the other hand, for that person, they're not her family because she's like, I don't know you. Like
It's asymmetric.
Yeah, it's asymmetric, exactly. Right?
Yeah, that's a really good example because psychologically she's not aware.
So some people are saying, well, if you were really their family, you would have them stay with you. You'd have the family look after him or her or whatever the parent. But for
That's
him,
just
it's like,
someone's thinking they're, that's an opinion.
yeah, that's an opinion. But for him, no, the best thing I can do as a family is to get her care. And the best care is not in this household where none of us can take care of her, right? None of us are healthcare workers, PSWs. The care is paying the money to get care.
That's true, but that's usually stage 2. But I know what you mean, like.
True, but I don't think you assume that like everyone has the same financial status.
Family's like a concept.
Yeah.
I think family's a concept more than a.
It definitely is a concept, but usually, like for most people, like the norm is like I'd say like most people have a family take care of them, and then if you plan B is that you have like nurses or like you have paid help, but like we're also in a generation where people are like getting married and having less and less kids and everything. So I think this is the generation where it's like, you know, our parents are like, oh, if you don't get married and shit, like 40s and 50s, you're gonna be alone, this and that. I think in this generation, in the 40s and 50s, we're gonna see a lot more like single income, no kids people. I feel like clubbing is gonna change a lot in our 40s and 50s because if you go clubbing in your 40s and 50s. Like in 10 years from now, there's gonna be a lot more people who are like in their 40s still doing it because a lot. No, it's not sad.
I think it's a great thing.
It's not sad. It's when you
on
go
the club
to
with you guys
Europe.
over 40.
When you go to Europe or Japan,
Dancing, enjoying music, man.
when you go to Europe and Japan, there are so many more like older people still out partying. Everything because people have less kids out there.
Europe is crazy. The clubs you have like 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
And you have 50-year-olds.
Dude, when we went to Tomorrowland,
It's normal.
we went to a 3-4 day music festival.
Was that in Brazil?
It was in Belgium. Dude, there are people that are in their 70s, 80s, like couples going
That's
together.
cool. That's
like
cool.
families taking their like
Just enjoying music,
newborn,
right? Just enjoy.
Like, and I think that's one thing you always want to be careful of. Like, just because society was already pre-established before you were born, doesn't mean you actually have to play into it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Don't say, oh,
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
like,
Times
that-
change.
So one thing people might be like,
Infrastructure changes, yeah.
That's sad that somebody is going to the bar at 20s. Another part of the world, they're saying, oh, that's awesome that they're being
That
liberated.
you can still do it. That's what I don't think it's sad. I
think it's a great thing.
I think the fact that you can still do it, but I know what you mean though. Like historically, like family was. My dad always says like family's like humanity's greatest institution.
Yeah, of course.
But
What would you define family as?
yeah.
I think you guys basically said a lot of it, man. It's a support system, it's people have your back. In my opinion, it's actually the most important thing. That's just for me.
Yeah.
Than anything else. Family is the infrastructure that like, it's very rare to like, sure. I mean, you hear a lot of like success cases of these iconoclasts that came from nothing, you know what I'm trying to say? But I find in general, it's very rare to see someone that's successful that doesn't have family. The route to be successful without like an infrastructure, a base, a foundation, someone that can support you when like you're not strong, bro, it's fucking hard. It's near fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Like legitimately. Like so for me, family establishment is actually a really important part of my life because like I don't have one, right? So like,
That's
You don't have what, like a traditional nuclear family kind of thing?
Yeah, like I don't really like my family doesn't like they're not. Yeah, I don't have a traditional nuclear family at least at all. Yeah, I try to say I don't have family in like the country anymore. I never really grew up in any sense of like a semblance of a traditional home. I know that's like very rare these days, but I'm saying just in general, this was not. So for me, like yeah, like the child rearing, mate selection, all those things are very, very important to me. Still.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, but I realize it's basically almost like it's interesting how certain conditions of life can foster certain perspectives.
100%. Sure.
Families change because family from 50, 60 years ago, what do they call it? Lever to beaver kind of family?
Yeah.
That's like how it was back then. But nowadays, like everybody's working now. Like look what's happening even with like now remote work and all like parents and then everybody 50, 60% whatever get divorced and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's the definition of family changes versus like let's call it traditional blood family, right?
That's
Right, it's
true,
changed. So you probably, I'll just assume this, you probably have a family, and you're saying you don't have a family, but you do. Because your needs, hopefully, I'm assuming, are being met by people in your life, right? So let's call it maybe things that your traditional paternal father would say to you, maybe your friend is saying to you, or maybe you're even someone who's, in your support network. So you could be getting the support of a family, but not in the mom, dad, cousin, sister, brother, 6, 7, or 8 people family. It's defined a different way. That's why I think it's a concept, and I think I even think it's transient. I think it depends on. I think you take from it I think it's what you receive from it.
Yeah.
Right, like how you take it in. Like right now, who's to say at this moment in time that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, this is the family right now of this moment in time of your life.
Okay, sure. I
Right?
feel what you're saying. Yeah.
So, but
So
but like you say, when you get sick, you need those people that are going to be at your side when you're
dedicated
60,
to you.
70 years old because
like borderline like selfless love, like unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get that from someone for your family, your spouse. And that's actually where I believe, I really do believe if we have a generation of incels who don't get married. I have a theory that millennials, Generation Z, I have Generation A, which is the kids of millennials and Generation Z. I have a theory that they're gonna be like Mormons and they're gonna get married in like a university and way younger because they're gonna see the mistakes of the millennials and the Generation Z being like, oh, you guys got on the internet and get too much online dating.
That's already happening, eh?
There's gonna be a return to conservatism because they're gonna see the mistakes of the millennials and Gen Z. Like, oh, you guys wait till long to have kids and you guys are all fucked up. What's gonna happen now is they're gonna be like, you know what? Let's get married at 24 because even if we get divorced, fuck it.
Yeah,
I think
or
it's a return to that.
it'll be a return to conservatism or conservative values for that aspect of life. So let's say, for example, now everyone's like, yeah, we got to have our kids by the time we're 30, and like, yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, we'll do our 5 or 6 years together, and then you know what? Hey, we'll probably have another husband or wife, and another husband or wife, and another husband or wife. Or hey, oh my God, now lifespan is like 140 because of some advances. Holy shit, hello, like. Or you can have kids when you're 60. Who the hell knows? Or 70, or who knows? I'm just saying, like the whole world could change within our lifetime.
It's true. It's true.
Some of those things could change that much. But I think that like it's smart to have kids when you're 25 because biologically speaking, it makes sense. So maybe maybe it goes back to that, and it's like, hey, people are doing that, but the whole thing of the till death do us part. Is like, yeah, okay, that was when the church was around, and that was for a reason to hold things, there's a whole reason for that.
People vastly underestimate the rate in which society has progressed, both like in terms of like values, the shift in behaviors, technology, the amount or number of...
We legalized gay marriage like early 2000s.
Yeah, like
early 2000s.
There was a time where if you were black and white in a relationship, you were getting basically, fucking hunted, right? If you were like gay, or if you had like, like a same-sex cousin or whatever, like, and that was actually only one generation ago.
100%.
In fact, some people have not come out until the past 10 years,
100%.
right?
Even George Takei, right?
Yeah.
Star
and you're
Trek,
like,
what,
fuck,
10 years ago
it's
we only
the
did
90s.
that?
People were aggressive in the 90s. Yeah, man, they were still killing up until the 90s, and that was only
even today.
20 years ago, right? It was like if you were, let's say, like like a white dude with like a black girlfriend, or like an Asian dude with like a Indian girlfriend, you're like, that never would have happened. Or you're like, you were an anomaly. Like if you did that, people were like, man, it's kind of weird, man. You shouldn't be doing that.
My first girlfriend was black, and it wasn't. No one ever said anything as in like good or bad or anything, but it was kind of like, it was kind of like not said.
Yeah.
But that it was the fact that it like
unsaid.
It's just unsaid, but there was like always in the back of my mind. And then the weird thing, I'd be walking around with her in town, and like all the black people would be like nodding their head and saying hello to her, like kind of as a like it was just a thing, and it was like almost like it was like I got to see. There was like I used to drive motorcycles for a long time. And when you drive motorbikes, you wave to other motorcyclists. It's just, you just do it, right? So motorcyclists wave to other motorcyclists. And I'd be hanging out with her, walking down the street, and then a black person would see her, and they would acknowledge her, and not necessarily acknowledge me. And it was weird, and I don't mean in a bad way, and I never felt slighted by it, but it was like, oh wow, like, there's something different here. It's 25 years ago kind of thing, right? Or 20 years ago. So that's where it's like, so yeah, nowadays I think it's probably not way less of a thing. You know?
When I started hanging out with like a lot of black friends and stuff like that, like the black experience is a real thing. And it made me understand that like being black is like there's certain things that, like just for example, I'm driving in the car, my black friend's like, don't let me sit shotgun. I said, why? Because I'm more likely to get pulled over. And I was like, that sounds like paranoid. And then no, it's a real thing. You're driving in the car and you're blasting, you're smoking weed, too much of fucking like Asian. Like if you're a black guy in the front seat, cops are more likely to look at you. And then because you're more likely to get pulled over. And I was like, that's fucking racist. And they're like, well, that's reality. And I was like,
the way I like to explain it to a lot of people, right, is that like there's so many things you don't see. Right? So it's even like being black, and like it's so complex. So it's even like, for example, for me, it's like I'm considered a larger black guy. So my treatment's actually a lot different than, let's say, if I was like 5'5" and light skinned. Right. So it's interesting because then people can be like, oh well, you know what? It's not like I feel uncomfortable around black people, because like I have my friend Alex who's like 5'5", he's light skinned. I like him, but then it's like when they're around me, tangibly uncomfortable, right? And it's like. There's so many. So like you forget. There's one that happens typically all the time. Living downtown Toronto, you
You've told us the story.
So many times. But like living downtown Toronto, you go back and forth from places, and later in the evening it gets darker. So every now and then, you're walking and like someone's in front of you. Every now and then happens to be a lady. The thing though, being a black guy of my size and like my complexion, you don't understand the fear these women feel, right? And it's like, on some level, you want to say I understand it, but it also has such a tangible effect on my self-esteem. Because it's almost like, how do you expect me and you to sit at the same table and not have a conversation? When you're clearly fucking like petrified.
Now you're talking about sitting down in a conversation here, or anywhere in general, right?
Especially, let's say you're the larger black man, all of a sudden you're walking on me, and then some chick starts speeding up, starts fucking walking faster. You're like, what the hell? And you're like a fully lit downtown.
That one exactly, but it's even more egregious than people think. I've seen literally people do I call it like the 30-yard dash, or basically like
30-yard dash.
So someone will be behind me and they want to pass me because I'm not walking that fast. Because I'm a black guy of a certain stature, complexion, they don't want to be right in front of me. So they do this 30-yard dash and then just stop. It makes it so clear what the intent is. Oh, I just wanted to get in front of you and create distance. But now I'm like rationally, psychologically, how are you rationalizing this? Like, how do you think that's okay for you to do, and for me just to walk around fucking society, operating, working with you people, doing all this shit, when this is how you fucking treat me? Like, there was an example back, there was an example a while back. Basically, I used to live around Davisville, and there was this one like lady who did that, and she was like also like, I guess like a clerk at a convenience store, and then like I'd always see her at the convenience store, and I'd just always be like, yo, like I'd feel uncomfortable around her, right? And she always wondered like why, and I'm like, in what fucking world are you wondering why I'm not treating you well? Or in what world do you not understand why I don't fucking like you? You treat me like a fucking animal.
So basically, it's like that happens so much, and it's that's not true. So it's like again, I'll go back. There's so many things you don't see, and I'll say one thing. It's actually like, and and it's a pessimistic thing to say, but it's like there's also this aspect I feel in society, right, where it's not like people are happy to see people of my stature fail, but it's almost like it's normalized.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like
That's
I always have
You
this.
said to fail?
Yeah, so I always have this feeling where like people just watch you drown and they're happy with it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, I expect to see that shit. Or sometimes for me, I get the feeling like, oh, they like it, like they enjoy watching it, right? And I can actually further wrap into this, like maybe make it a bit more lighter. The whole Kanye thing, right? Kanye's obviously made a lot of fucking mistakes. Now, obviously, clearly, they should not be. Al Vanta's message is crazy. The reason why you see people still support him, though, right? It's because it's the trope of seeing a black man fall down and people applaud that so many times. So even people are talking about Rihanna for a Super Bowl performance was a bit of an ode to Kanye because she's playing a lot of the songs. The performance itself was very much so Kanye-esque in its artistic and creative aspects of it. And people are like, oh, like why would you be doing that? And like part of it, like I don't know that she hasn't said it, but the community sort of like putting it on her. It's like, well, yo, we've seen black men get destroyed so many fucking times. People fucking enjoy doing this shit. Like, yo, fuck that. Like, we clearly understand this guy's done some stupid fucking shit. He's a fucking idiot in this perspective. But it's like, bro, like, nah. I mean, like, nah. Like, it's Kanye. We can't allow this to happen. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, but, yeah.
One of my black friends said, man, so he's like the guy made out of the hood, and he says that there's like survivor's guilt in being the one black guy that made it out of the hood. He's like, you know my friends that didn't make it past high school, have like shit jobs, or in jail. He's like to be the one black guy. You can crack second all you want. He's like to be the one black guy. He's like to make it out of the hood. He's like you have the survivor's guilt, just asking like why me. Why me?
It's almost like that movie
dark.
Boys in the Hood, eh?
It's survivor's guilt. It's terrible. He's like statistically, I'm supposed to be fucked. You know, and to be the one black guy. He's like I'm not any smarter, more educated. He's like we're all a bunch of uneducated black guys from low income families. Statistically, there's like a 90% chance we're gonna end up in jail or working a shit job our whole lives. I mean, that's really depressing to think about.
So I'll even drive down on this one, and I agree that it gets even worse than that. Because I'll say this. I am very lucky to be where I am because, honest to God, seriously, people that come from like where my background are, like family dissolving, socioeconomics, I literally should be in jail or dead. Like, quite frankly, like quite honestly, right?
You mean what? Statistically speaking?
Yeah, 100%. Like, because I have like.
If I'm divorced parents and like you're black,
immigrants, single income, all that shit, right?
Statistically, it compounds.
So basically, the weird thing too then is like when you do hit success, right? Or not even success, when you're not drowning, when you're not fucking like where the rest of the fucking ranks are, there's almost this pressure on you. So now even for example, I fucking started this business. Sure, it's great that I've had these 2 days where people have actually asked me for yo, you know how people have reached out to me for fucking free shit? It's because they're like, yo, you made it, so you can help us up too, right? And it's like, yo, like, no, I can't.
Yep.
Like, I have, like, listen, you know, for me to get, even to have this minimal of an opportunity, what I had to do, I can't carry you. Motherfucker, I'm having a hard time carrying myself. Right? But it's like the amount of people that approach you, and then they call you shit. Oh, fuck. You're Uncle Tom, all this, that, the.
What the fuck?
Why did that guy call you Uncle Tom?
Yo, because
your friend, you took me black friend called Uncle Tom.
No,
Uncle Tom.
What?
Sorry, I had no idea.
Uncle Tom's
when you're a black guy, who like works for white. You're a black guy who like works who's like a house N-word. Like a black guy works for the white people.
There's no winning, basically.
I know the black community is kind of messed up in the sense where like they don't want to support other black entrepreneurs. They don't want to support other black businesses. There's always
a lot of communities.
The black community is definitely the worst.
It's pretty fucking bad because
the black community is definitely the worst for it.
So I want to say this earlier in the podcast, but I was gonna say there's always this thing of like support black businesses, but then it's like no black person actually supports black businesses.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up part. That's what I'm trying to say is the fucked up part though. It's like when like black people don't.
They're talking about like black women going to like Asian nail salons and everything, and then what does the Asian community do for black people? And then I'm reading the comments and it was like nothing. It was all black people hating on that, and I'm just like, it's because like if there's a black nail salon, black people won't go to it, but it's an Asian nail salon, they'll go to it. But like and they're saying it's because black people don't want to support their black people because there's this like crab in the bucket mentality from poverty and shit like that. And there's a lot of trauma in the black community, man.
It's even simpler than that. It's more so okay.
You talked about earlier, right? You're saying like, so your experience is not the black American experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's like you think, oh well, what is black American culture versus like African black culture.
Yeah.
Right? Because African nations, like, there's no African culture. There's like fucking dozens of countries in Africa.
Exactly.
Every culture is different, but what is the Black American experience, right? You wouldn't be like, oh, what's the Asian experience? The Asian experience, the Chinese experience is very different than the Japanese experience. It's different than the Thai experience. It's different than the Viet experience. You wouldn't be like, oh,
because a
Asian
Kenyan
experience.
and a Jamaican have nothing really.
Yeah,
common
it's
at all.
one is a fucking island which
Yeah.
has very different roots than
Yeah,
say another
oh,
country
yeah.
where you know
Yeah,
there's
100%,
like colonial. It's like
yeah.
you can't really say, oh well, the black experience is all the same across
Yeah.
like Houston, Atlanta to like New York, whatever. It's very, very different. Like,
Yeah.
but I just like I think the purpose probably why the block bring it all together is because they want to have that shared collective, that mentality that we're all in it together, which is actually I feel it is important that you all are on the same, like people are on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Because it's true, like yes, whether you're from New York, whatever, like it can't be too entirely different. But I do think there is a difference between being a Black American or like even like a Black Canadian, and then like a Black Colombian, right? The Black Colombian is very different than like the Hispanic.
I'm really happy you brought that up. Even look at Latinas or Latinos, whatever, Latins, right? Like people of Latin descent. That is like Latam is such a large area. You know what I'm trying to say? Like Brazilians are not the same as Argentinians. They're not the same as Colombians. They're not the same as like completely like if you wanna like put a broad swathe. They come from one areas of the world, or maybe they dance. And they all maybe look attractive, and we try to put it together as like one culture. But no, they're all so unique in how they operate and how they do things, right? And you also have the fact that you have like the white Latinos and like the non-white Latinos. So it's like this
whole this conversation of like is the Black American experience, is hip hop integral to the Black American experience?
It's part of
It's
it,
part of it,
but
yeah.
it doesn't
Like,
have to be. Because it's not all black music, is rap or hip hop,
So
right?
Because some people might say, oh, for example, jazz is part of the Black experience.
It is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, oh,
But
no,
most
it's
American
not.
music is from black
So the
music,
Black
black people.
experience has to be struggle, hip hop,
That's-
guns. Not necessarily.
No, definitely
I don't
not,
think
no.
So that's what
No,
a lot
it
of
doesn't have to
people
be.
vouch for, right?
So what I break it down to is struggle music, and struggle music is not necessarily struggle music is in different varieties, right? Struggle music can be rap. So struggle music can be jazz. Struggle because jazz is also like I'm suffering.
Little blues,
Of course, you know what I'm trying to say?
Blues.
Blues
Exactly,
especially, blues
exactly,
especially.
exactly, right?
like
Yeah.
like drill music, right? Or
But
like
it's
UK,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Basically, it's all struggle music though, right? So it's like
You'll podcasters say they say that black music these days is monetizing black trauma.
it is.
Yeah, I think that's-
When I heard that, I'm like, man, that's so fucked. Something those rappers going to jail and everything.
Well,
like the more that's so negative, and it gives you clout. I'm like, that's actually the
is it
worst thing I've
monetizing
ever.
or is it highlighting the experience though?
It's monetizing.
It's monetizing and glamorizing black trauma.
I'd say it's doing
I don't
both.
know if it's
It's doing
glamorizing,
both.
No, it's definitely glamorizing going to prison and shit like that, like making prison TikToks. That's fucked up. Like,
I think there's a lot of parallels, and this is a unique one. I think there's a lot of parallels between rap music and pornography. And the reason why I say that,
Rapping
right?
and pornography?
yeah, I know.
Oh, I kind of agree. Shock factor.
It's very
Because,
sensational.
because pornography at the end of the day is entertainment. People watch it and they think it's simulated sex or it's a sexual experience. No, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
It is completely devoid of a sexual interaction.
Yeah.
The women you're watching do pornography are not enjoying that at all. They're making sounds. They're acting, right?
Yeah.
So
No, they're probably enjoying it too. Most porn stars like that.
I
shit.
don't know, man.
I
I think
refuse.
so.
So let me continue.
No,
that.
no, most porn- I think they're more sexual than they are.
So the same
Yeah.
thing, the same thing. So you know what? Maybe you're right because it goes this way. So maybe some of the women they're actually at this point now have been so manipulated by this industry. They have to actually pretend. They actually have to enjoy it. This is almost a little sadism. You have to enjoy this to almost give that. So same thing with rap, right? The same way how now I can't just talk about killing motherfuckers. I have to kill them. I have to rap about the murders I fucking did. Right? Because it's entertainment. Now the entertainment's reaching to a point where it's like, no, you
I
can't.
don't know about
you
that direction of
Drake, let me
causation.
Drake,
I actually don't think I agree with that direction.
Drake
of
doesn't
causation.
do that. Drake doesn't
No,
do
I don't
anything.
think I
want to.
There's a different direction of causation, which is that you already killed someone, then you're
No.
I agree with that.
I want to elaborate on this because initially, this is what I'm trying to say. It's like porn. The same way, essentially, where it's like, okay,
its shock factor is not good enough, so you have to do
But
more shock
what
factor,
concrete
right?
evidence do you have
Because
of the other direction?
Because essentially what happened, for
I buy the porn part.
because
I don't think I
because for a
necessarily
long
buy-
period of time, essentially, rappers were not street people. Street people.
Yeah, sure. Like Kanye's not a street person.
No, but even past that, Tupac was not a
Yeah,
street
yeah,
person.
sure. No, of course. I'm
Rapper,
not- yeah, of course.
okay, no.
He killed a cop, bro.
No, but like,
He
but-
killed a cop.
Those
Dude,
original
Tupac
rappers, a
killed-
lot of them,
Okay,
they
but
were
listen,
like,
okay,
they were
rap-
badasses.
No, but they were not
Right?
street people. Street people did not rap. Street people were actually in the streets, literally committing heinous crimes that they could not rap about, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
I don't, there's always been rap, gangster rap, hip hop, party music.
I promise you-
rap is a spectrum of
Yeah, I'm
genres.
thinking of
So-
gangster.
no.
Gangster's always been at least 20%.
I need you to trust me on this.
What?
Ice Cube was never the guy doing B&Es, murder ones. Fucking, he was not the guy. Even
but
Jay-Z.
Easy was so crack.
Exactly.
Easy was a gangster as fuck.
No.
Easy
Yeah,
was
I
a
think
gangster,
they were
man.
all gangsters, those
Easy,
guys.
no, but I'm saying, okay.
Ice Cube wasn't a gangster, but
Guys,
Easy was.
guys,
And Dr. Dre also wasn't a gangster.
I'm saying-
But Easy was a gangster. Easy
He
so
was
crack.
a
He was
full-on
fucking-
gangster.
No,
Easy fucking assaulted
You guys
people.
know, you guys don't have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
please allow me to say, that is not. And when I say street people, I have seen evil fucking people, like killers, bro.
Easy was pretty bad.
No, man, he was not even close to what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying I know killers, bro.
Okay.
Killers, like uncontrollable people that you're around them, you're fucking scared because they themselves do not understand their emotional capacity to flip out in a fucking second.
Yeah.
Killers,
Yeah, okay,
bro.
yeah, okay, I follow
Killers.
you, I follow you.
There's a lot of street niggas out there that are just like straight, like
Yeah, yeah,
those.
oh, yeah,
there's a
we
lot of
grant
people
that.
like
We
that.
grant- we fully grant that,
So
yeah.
what I'm saying is that those people are never the rappers. Right? They were never the rap. But now what happened basically is because we got to a format of entertainment where we had people emulating the street. I'm gonna use allow me in street. We had people emulating street niggas, right? It got to the point where same with porn, they're like, no, it's not good enough for you to emulate it. I wanna know you're fucking doing this shit. Right?
Okay, yeah,
You had-
I see that.
Then you had Bobby Shmurda.
There's like
You had-
Chief Keef.
Yeah, Chief Keef. Then you had even Chief Keef wasn't really a killer, bro. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, no, it's not- it's not-
No, yeah, so basically what?
He was on house arrest,
Chief
bro,
Keef
for
was-
like attempted
but-
murder or
but-
some shit, I
but-
think.
Essentially, you got due to it now manifesting it.
There you go. So now
You're
I'm
right,
saying,
you're right. In that sense, like they
They're
portrayed
encouraged,
it.
they're incentivized
Yes,
to
yes,
behave
yes,
badly.
incentivized it, they portrayed it, now they're manifesting it.
Exactly.
That's what's going on.
So now,
Yeah, I don't deny that. That wasn't what I was
So
denying.
the entertainment.
That's not
So,
what I was
basically, so
denying.
now,
Yeah, I agree with that.
now it's like I don't want to hear that you're killing. I need to know you're a fucking killer. Like, so there's guys right now who are drill rappers
Yeah, I agree. Drill in particular. Yeah.
that are
The drill in particular. I mean, that's the
legitimate,
genre's founded on.
legitimate like serial killers, but like they're not like and you have to kill and rap about the killing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I equate it to porn is why porn's getting more aggressive. People are getting tired of seeing the same shit. It's an entertainment thing. You think it's a sexual interaction, it's not. It's just entertainment. So you want to see more extreme format of that entertainment. Next thing you know, you're watching 801 gangbangs. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the only way for girls to get out of Bulgaria. So they have to be about that life. Same way fucking.
Getting out of Bulgaria.
Sophia.
The same way for you to get out of Yonkers, the same way for you to get out of all these fucking places,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, this is
East
true.
Elizabeth, right? The only way you can do that shit, fam, you gotta catch some fucking bodies.
Yeah,
Then you gotta rap about that shit. Maybe I'll catch some time, but it doesn't matter. My commissary will be nice. By the time I get out, I'm gonna have a nice record out of
You have
it.
to sell it.
These guys are catching bodies.
No, but I mean, for example, the porn stars, the people who doing OnlyFans, whatever. I don't think they're not all of them. Like some of them don't even show their face. Some of them actually don't have like male, female like videos. They just have themselves, like
Yeah.
solo play, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of them just like literally, yeah, they just they tease it.
Dark
but they,
world.
They tease
It's
it, but they
dark
don't
world,
actually
Steve.
do it, right? But do they actually
dark world,
eventually
man.
turn over to the dark side? They eventually
Yeah,
do it.
but the
maybe.
exactly right.
I
But
can see that because it becomes alluring. It becomes very like, yeah, I've gotten this close. Why
Yeah.
not go over the edge, right?
because the popular ones are the ones who stuffing their assholes up their ass. You're trying to say there's stuff.
I don't even know about that. No,
Because
no.
I'm just
Some
saying.
of- No, I'm saying a lot of the popular ones. Actually, I disagree. The popular ones are they make it appear like
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
No, I mean, Asa Kira's nasty, but Asa Kira's doing double legal and shit. She's gross.
But that's because you have to get
These
to
porn
that,
stars, they're
you
porn
have to
stars.
get to that point.
If you do that, you win an award. And if you have the reward you for doing that
People
great
see
shit.
it's an attention economy, and maybe I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong; I could be completely wrong, but I'm saying it's attention economy. You have to keep on doing things, keep people to keep their eyeballs on you, because there's always going to be someone hotter, someone doing more shit, someone more willing to do wilder shit.
Yeah.
And that's why in porn you're even seeing that right now, where it started off with like, was it what's her, something Grey?
Sasha Grey.
Yep. Sasha Grey
She's
was
the pioneer.
Sasha Grey was the first one.
She actually wasn't even like the pioneer for hardcore. She was the pioneer for a hot girl willing to do nasty shit.
And then it just
now it's like a standard. You have like
So to your point,
What's
though,
that
I do
fucking
think
bitch? What's her
there's
name?
just like
I'm listening.
to your point. I think because things are coming full circle, just like we had a political culture where we went so far left and we kind of went back right, or like the populism nationalist leaders. I think something like, for example, we talked earlier about like how families are changing, where the world is going. I think there's a class that's coming that is actually more thoughtful. Like the upcoming class, what Gen 8 or Gen Alpha, but like the people who are coming up now, because they're basically born into a digital world. They're already they're born into a world where they have to know things like KYC, anonymity, like privacy, security, all that. They have to know that from the time they're like 3 or 4, right? And so by the time they become mature, by the time they grow up in an age where they've been digital their whole lives, they've had a lot more time to think about things like digital ethics, like content ethics.
One would hope so.
Like one would hope so, yes.
Yeah.
Social causes and all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the generation before us didn't care, but
They just weren't as ready for it.
yeah, the apathy,
weren't as ready
They
for
weren't as ready. The apathy was there because yes, maybe the boomers and the Gen X's were being ground down by the capitalist system because that was the way they were taught. But the Gen A's coming up, the Gen A's coming up. The first thing they learn in probably kindergarten is like climate change is fucking up the world, right?
If it's a good system,
It's a
yeah.
good system, yes.
It's a good, yeah. I hear
And
what
so
you're
imagine
saying.
you hearing that from kindergarten to grade 6 to grade 12, whatever. For us, we should probably start hearing it what? Late high school?
Yeah,
Maybe?
if we're lucky.
Right? If we're lucky, and then between high school to university, starting to get a little bit more serious.
No, I hear what you're saying, Matt. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
And so you see already Gen A coming up, or like with Gen Z, whatever. There are ethical porn companies. There's ethical erotic companies.
Yeah, there's
erotic novels.
always a pushback.
There's always pushback.
Yeah, so right now they're saying the West is getting too liberal, and like that's why we have all these like alt-right groups and everything coming out of nowhere, and like conservatism groups. And like, dude, like I was talking to my friends from India, and I told them about like the West is like, and I'm just like, man, I'm fucking stressing out. I gotta like move the fuck out and get a mortgage, and like I need so many things to get married and have a normal fucking life as like a North American. It's all independence and having your own place and like and you know he said to me, he's like, dude, that's so whack, bro. He's like, when I'm 25, my mom starts introducing me to girls. I pick a girl, we get married. Then at 20, I have my first kid, and then my parents just like divvy up the house. So like there's a section of my house when that's just gonna be my wife living there. We have our own privacy, but we still have dinner with the family every day. And then my grandparents help take care of the kids, and then so I don't have issues with like nanny and babysitting like you guys. And then we both go to work, and it's not a fucking problem. And he's just like, the West is so fucked. And I said, yeah, you can live with your parents forever if you want, but then you're giving up a bit of freedom there. You can't have like a stripper pole in your living room. And he's just like, and you can't do drugs in your living room and shit. No, then he looks at me, then he gave me this look, and he's like, why the fuck would you want that? And he said, what's more important, your family, your kids, or you doing drugs having a stripper pole in your living room? And that's a G-check right there, and I said, good point. But I said, well, all I can say to that is I looked at him and I said, you definitely haven't been to a stripper pole party in your living room before. You definitely haven't been to a party with a stripper pole, because you have no idea how fun it is, bro. Like, it'll warp your perspective to make you think that, like, this is actually more important for now, you know. But anyways, like he was like conservative, because like for me to say that, for me to be like, I'm just gonna like stay at my parents' house forever and like, you know, and like not move out, and then like, you know, like my wife's gonna move into my parents' place and totally be okay with that, and totally love her in-laws, and everything's gonna work out fine. Like that's not the Western way. But you know, like my dad was like, I think what's gonna happen in the future, technically says this, is that cities are gonna become too expensive. People are gonna get, it's gonna be like New York. People are gonna get fucking. You're only gonna go to New York to work. Everyone's gonna move to smaller towns. Everyone's gonna fucking remote work. Housing will be cheap, and we can have single income families again. And that'll save the population. That's what technically says.
No, man.
Yeah.
I think even the way like families are being built now. I know people with like.
No, not for millennials, but we're too millennials, but from generation
I know
alpha.
people with like multiple
Yeah.
baby mamas, dads, whatever. They have like half kids, and I'm like, this is becoming a lot more prevalent. Like, this is my family. My family is like my ex-husband with my current husband with my kids. I'm like,
That shit doesn't-
Sure.
I don't care what anyone says, man. That shit doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
no, it's harder to do that.
What are you talking
It's
about?
definitely harder to do that.
Dude, Israeli kibbutz is like successful. There's a lot of examples.
sure,
There's
sure.
tons of examples.
I'm
dude.
saying-
like Indian families like do a lot of Indian families do co.
Dude, arranged marriages have a way smaller divorce rate than
That makes sense to me. What I'm
what are
saying
you
doesn't make
called?
sense.
Like just
Our love
traditional-
marriages.
Just traditional,
Yeah.
yeah, marriages of passion.
No, there's
Romantic marriages.
I could be wrong. Honestly, don't get me wrong, but like I just think that like blended families clearly have their inherent issues.
I don't agree with
Okay,
that. I think it's a case by case basis.
No. If you look at stats, man, if you just have like no divorces, regular parent household, like statistically, that's less stressful for the kids. Ideally, that's a plan A. That's what's worked for most of humanity. You want
There's
that.
so many-
Plan B, you can have like same sex. You can have like gay parents. You can have like co-parenting. That's happening more now because in some ways we don't have a choice, and in some ways, in some ways we don't have a choice, and we're evolving. But I do this theory about Generation 8, where they're gonna look at millennials and Generation Z. And they're gonna be like, you know what? Wouldn't it be easier if we just moved to like a smaller town and like remote work is available now, and our kids can go to school? Maybe partially online or hybrid, and then like there's more time for the kids to raise a family. And like that's what my dad says. We're gonna go back to more of like an agrarian society, and it's gonna be good for kids. Because this whole like hyper capitalism city thing, like look at Japan and Korea. The cities are fucked. These countries are fucking like the populations are melting down right now. People are the suicide rates through the fucking roof. It's not sustainable at all. Like
but even for that family though, right? The family that is now starting, maybe they're like 24, 25. They've also been shocked to see that, hey, you don't have one lover, one spouse for the rest of your life. It's okay for me to divorce. Like, I don't have to stay with this person forever because I have rights now. As a woman, I can leave. I don't have to be scared of leaving because my husband's gonna fucking kill me.
I think our generation.
Why a lot of women
No,
don't.
I agree with you. There's actually a lot of studies on this.
Women don't divorce because they're scared.
Yeah,
And if they don't divorce, or if they try to divorce, they get killed.
Like that's why we have divorce, and I think like we're
I
living in
think
an era.
divorce is terrible for certain cultures.
We're living in an era of radical feminism. I think
for certain cultures.
we're living in an era of radical feminism, and I think what's going to happen in the next 20 years
I think
is that
divorce
there's going to be a
is the
return
worst thing
to people just. Like, I'm not saying women shouldn't divorce because, like if you need to get the fuck out of the marriage, get the fuck out of the marriage. There's so many dysfunctional marriages in the world, but I think right now we're in an era of radical feminism where feminism is too oppressive. It's too oppressive.
I'm gonna have a very difficult conversation here. Irresponsible mothers, straight up. Let's
No,
talk
100%.
about this.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like,
there's
Well, you can't say irresponsible mothers or irresponsible fathers.
no, there's irresponsible mothers. This is no. This is one thing that's never talked about. There are women out there who, on God, have no fucking legitimacy or merit in having a kid. They don't want the kid. They move to a world that's more liberal, and now they want to basically become not responsible for the fucking family that they created. This happens. There are terrible mothers that exist out there, and they do terrible things to their children, and there's no accountability.
Yeah.
And a lot of that happens under the umbrella of progressive Western liberal fucking culture.
Yeah.
And that's never addressed upon.
It's literally a two-way street. They didn't make the child themselves, right? They didn't make the child
But
themselves.
they fucked them up by themselves because they decided to have a single parent household.
Well, I
Because
mean,
they pushed the man out.
Some did.
some
Yeah, some did.
Yeah,
And
no.
that's- and let's talk about those ones. That's what I'm trying to say.
Under abortion, though, you can't force women to have an abortion. So women in Western life, dude, like women pretty much always decide to have the kid.
yeah.
Women pretty much always decide to have the kid. No, because a man can't force a woman to abort, because a man cannot control a woman's body. But a
I'll
woman
even go.
can.
I'll even.
That's why like adultery and shit is like.
I'll even go. I'll
even
even go further. The way divorce law is set up in family law in terms of giving custody to the woman first, I think is the stupidest fucking thing in the world. Because there's a lot of.
Walk us through
that's
it.
a
You're just making tons of claims. You gotta
Yeah,
slow
that-
down.
that's what feminism
You gotta
is.
slow down. We'll listen to you,
I-
but you have to slow the fuck down.
I think the way.
Just walk us through this. Walk us through
I
this.
think the way.
Walk us
Right,
through this,
I
walk
think
us
the
through
traditional way a lot of divorces work, going through family law,
Yeah.
and justices preferentially giving custody
Yeah.
to the mother is a strategically poor move.
You just said that.
Yes.
I'm asking you to justify that.
If you look at statistically speaking, women, according to the stats,
Yeah.
make less than men, right?
Yeah.
So why would you give the child to the?
Because men can't breastfeed.
Okay,
men,
cool.
men are less nurturing than women.
So you're basically
Yeah.
setting a scenario where you're giving custody to the lower wage earner, and now you're forcing the higher wage earner
to
Pay alimony.
a legal process,
pay alimony.
rather than just providing him custody of the child, right?
Yeah.
You're creating this additional process to the system that's going to cause intangible emotional damage.
Do you know? It's statistically less, but do you know every now and then that if the woman is seen as an unfit mom, the dad will win custody of that child?
You want to talk about this, bro? Okay, listen. I guarantee you, family law, divorce law never actually look into. How do you know?
You can't say no. They do. They definitely look into it, bro. Women's on drugs, bro.
The metrics into looking into an unfit mother are insane because I'm telling you right now, I have seen anecdotal cases where there have been children.
We're not disagreeing with that. We're not
There have been
disagreeing
children
with that.
who have multiple times have had child protection services reported to that house. On the mother, and they go to divorce court, and the justice still gives custody to the mother.
No. What's the situation with the dad though? Because if the dad's a deadbeat and the mom's a deadbeat, they're probably gonna give it to the mom.
Okay, but if child protection services comes multiple times because the mother is perpetrating the abuse.
But where's the dad? Is the dad out of the picture?
The dad's there. That's why.
Is he like an amazing parent, or is he a deadbeat too?
The dad is there.
Yeah. But is he a deadbeat though? Is he a deadbeat?
No, that's not a deadbeat.
If he's a then he'll probably win custody.
No,
It's like an individual situation.
I've seen
general,
this.
I've seen moms lose custody because the mom was on drugs and shit.
I have seen mothers ruthlessly abuse their children, get caught multiple times by child protection services, right? And still win custody over the child.
It's sad, man. It's a sad world. It's a sad
But I
world.
also think it is.
It's a sad world.
You do have to look at it at a really case by case, and depending on the judge. Again, I don't know these statistics, but unfortunately, what are the rates in which male potential abusers, whether sexual abusers, pedophiles, whatever, could impact the custody of the child? Are there more men who get, unfortunately, incarcerated for abuse of children than women? Sexual abuse, physical, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that might probably skew towards the men, right? There might be more registered sex offenders who are men than there are women, and so maybe the judges take that into account. They're like, well, we know if this is a young girl, and statistically there are more potentially.
But in general, even men are I'll call it the hunters, and the women are the providers. You know what I mean? Women are, it's natural to, the kids are being brought up by women. It's like a natural innate thing.
They're more nurturing than
right,
and they can
and
breastfeed.
Men, it makes sense that way. That
breastfeeding goes on for a couple of years.
Women are made for rearing children.
Yeah,
Not all women, but in general they are. Way better than men. We're better at doing shit and going out and getting shit, and they're better at taking care of shit.
But how does that impact now where a lot of men, unfortunately, are not capable of going out and getting that? A lot of men are no longer physical. They are
just playing Call of Duty all day.
Yeah, they're literally playing they're at home, right? They're not. Unfortunately, they are not. You wouldn't call them breadwinners. They're deadbeat dads who maybe they're not even software engineers, right?
It's the incel generation, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly. And they're unfortunately, that's what
don't
they're incels. Maybe not incels, but they're not natural. Let's say alpha males. They're basically beta males, right? They're
Dude, I got deadbeat friends. I got deadbeat friends right now, man. I got some deadbeat friends right now, bro.
They're hey, I don't want to be dad. I just want to play video games.
Were they raised by a single mom?
It can contribute to it. If you're raised by a single mom, it makes the odds worse.
So I'd say
so many reasons.
The simple way to look at this is look at the stats.
That's bold, man.
Look at
you're assuming that
look at the stats specifically on males and their graduation rates, how long they stay in education, how much salary they command of males that are the sons of single mothers. I think you very clearly start to see a very clear trend.
Well, hold on. You're not doing good sociology here, frankly, dude. You need to think about confounding variables as a factor here, because we're not denying your anecdotal experience. You're making a much stronger generalization given the data that you've discussed. I don't agree with anything that you've said on the macro, because you have to think about what is it that led those people to actually separate to begin with.
There's no logical.
I mean, there's a lot more going on here than you're making.
No, there's no logic to actually giving custody to the mother rather than the father. There's no logic.
Okay, if I can't convince you, I can't.
No, there's
convince
gotta be-
you, man.
there's
There's
always-
sometimes logic.
No,
to
no,
this.
no, on the balance,
this is
logic
way
one.
too strong.
No,
But on the
logic
balance
one,
of probabilities,
No, logic one,
the women's
logic
are
one,
there-
breastfeeding. You need to breastfeed your kids for a minimum
Yeah.
2 fucking years. Men do not have titties. You need to breast. If you have multiple kids, both need to be
Yeah.
Kids aren't
breastfed.
breastfeed these days.
Yes, they do. You need to breastfeed your kids for a minimum 2 fucking. Dude, if you do not breastfeed your baby, it will die. You need to breastfeed your fucking kid. That's just science.
It's actually a whole
Should.
version of
Very bad.
breastfeeding.
There's-
It's actually complicated. Like it's actually very in demand right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
actually
formula,
problem-
baby
The
formula.
problem is women
formula's
cannot breastfeed
bad.
because
But it's
that
bad.
is-
That shit's bad.
But
Thank
actually,
you, yes.
it is in demand. Like it is actually something.
But-
else.
but
No, but it does not change. No, my point is, babies need to breastfeed, so women win custody. Because for the first 2 years, you need to breastfeed your fucking kids. So
But
that's like,
most women can't breastfeed right now.
That's not true. That is not. Most women can't. Dude, something like 90. Dude, every woman who's pregnant, majority of women who are pregnant have lactate with fucking. Dude, this is like basic
Yeah,
biology.
I
Fucking
think what you're
women
confused-
breastfeed their motherfucking babies,
Yeah.
man. So if you're saying that men are gonna breastfeed the babies instead, that's like completely not.
I'm
That's
saying,
completely
like,
false.
they'll feed them formula, or you'll buy like.
No, but
You,
formula's
no,
not
no, no,
good
you,
for
no,
them,
you,
man.
you need to do
Formula's
breast.
not
You know,
good
you
for them.
need to breastfeed your babies to boost to transfer antibodies into their body.
And to be honest, here's the thing: the custody battles never happen at the point of where custody. I'm
What
not
do you
gonna
mean
say
never
I'm not going to say never.
Stop
No,
saying
no,
that.
these are definitive
I'm
statements,
not
bro.
going to
These
say
are way
never.
too
I'm
strong
like shitty
statements.
arguments.
I'm not going to say never.
You gotta attenuate your claims. You gotta
Custody
attenuate
battles
your
with
claims.
children, I would say, you
Yeah.
have to equate the fact that it's not always going to happen at the infancy of a child. So
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
you have to consider
yeah,
breast,
yeah,
how
yeah.
long is breastfeeding a long? Like, how long is breastfeeding?
Minimum 2 years.
2-3 years.
No. All I gotta say, but that's just an example of like men are not biologically equipped to do many things that women are biologically
Women
equipped
are
to
then
do.
like not financially equipped then to.
That's not in the modern day. Women make more than men, man.
Yeah,
So right now they can
nowadays,
breastfeed.
it's a little
I am
well,
using
fair-
arguments that feminism purports.
You know, even
Well,
like,
we're
like,
using
like,
data
I'm
that's
using,
publicly available. I don't know
I'm
what you're
using
talking
data
about.
right
What are you
now.
talking
Women right now are earning a lot more,
What are you
and they can
talking about?
breastfeed. Like they're gonna like women right now have more agency over children than they ever have in human history.
Yeah,
So and the courts know
And I
that.
think because now women do have more agency, which
Yeah.
is probably also affecting the rates in which they do receive custody, right?
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like even the past 10 years, it is a very different workforce, and we're just talking obviously Canada, Ontario here. It is different for women now than say 20 years ago, right? It's like now all of a sudden women are higher earners. Like they went from making 60 on the dollar to 70, 80, 90 now.
Well, they're making more
They
if you
make-
consider probably equal or more if they're considered the same jobs.
So I'm not
Women
saying-
aren't in construction. Women aren't in some other
Oh yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
whole
I've read some
set of
stats.
reasons.
Women are starting to join the trades. You heard about this? Because there's a shortage in some countries. Women are starting to join the trades now because like men don't even want to.
Middle Eastern
Why not?
countries.
Go
I've heard
for
Middle
it.
Eastern
Have you heard
countries.
that? It's tough too. It's demanding.
Like,
Men are so lazy these days.
I get what you're saying. I think there is nuance there. Like, of course, it is probably case by case. Like, let's say, there's a case and the male, I imagine the judge is looking at the overall family, male, female. Okay, this girl, her family maybe is wealthy, or she has a solid family who can support her. This guy, single mother, chances are he may not be able to support the child. Like they might look at the history there. Yes, for sure. They might look at the history and be like, doesn't look good. He's got a single mother. He's single. Is he a high-paying executive? Sure, but his family history does not look good. But I feel like, again, we'd have to look at the data. But I feel like the judge is not meant to be. They're not meant to be, biased. Right? They're looking at the data. Whatever it's giving them. They're looking at their incomes. They're not saying like, sure, maybe in the past judges might have had a soft spot for women, but like in this day and age, I find it hard for a judge to just be like, I feel bad for you, but it's going to the woman. I think they would have to look at all the financial.
No, they
lawyers
definitely-
now are fucking smart, man. Lawyers are like,
They definitely look at the data.
dude, lawyers would for sure, a family lawyer would be like, whether you're fighting for the male or female, they're well equipped to ensure their client, like, especially let's say a lawyer is someone our age who's worldly or whatever, like understands like socioeconomic systems and privileges and all that. Like a lawyer today would definitely be more equipped to defend their client than a lawyer than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe might be focusing on the emotional appeal, right? A lawyer today would be like, no ma'am or sir, my client gets paid every 2 weeks, he gets paid well, like structurally, she's gonna be able to take care of the family.
Well,
So
then
I
the
don't know
other
if
thing
there's
is,
a lot.
even if they were even, let's say they were even or even close to even, where are you gonna put it? You're gonna take a chance and give the kids to the dad, who's not biologically or psychologically as well equipped as the woman to provide for the
Do you think that's
kids.
pertinent to both genders, though? Do you
What's
think
that?
it's pertinent to both sons and daughters?
Oh yeah, parents, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well, look,
I'm just saying, if
breastfeeding,
anything comes close,
like-
if I was the judge, I'd be like, yeah, man, if this is a close case, go to the woman, go to the woman, go to the woman, go to the woman, because the kid's got a better chance of not surviving, but
Well, yeah, in
being
a
taken
sense,
care
yeah.
of
In a
by a
sense, yeah.
caretaker versus a man. I don't feel as a man. I don't have caretaker genes. Maybe sure, and I could be Mr. Mom and all that stuff if I needed to be, but in general, I'm more of the like go out and get it thing versus the I want to take care of people. And I think women have the I want to take care of people, like it's built into their DNA.
It's like
I-
evolutionary
Right?
psych.
So
I
I think that's
maybe
why
a context,
they get more.
And again, I may be a context. Literally, I may be a context, but that is not the case in my family.
Oh, an individual basis, no,
Well, that's
it's a
why
whole
we
different
said it's a
story.
case by case
Yeah,
basis.
Yeah.
like that is not. Like,
Oh,
that is
fuck no.
nowhere close case. Like if actually the caring, nice, sentimental person is my big ass fucking Navy ass fucking veteran dad. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's
Yeah.
the guy who's actually
Yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason or another
Yeah.
very caring and sentimental. Whereas I have a banshee for the other side, right? So it's
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
yeah
Oh yeah, on a case by case basis, on a balance of probabilities is what I'm saying.
yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, on a case
But
by case basis, it could be
you
anything.
know what? Honestly, maybe if it might be more pertinent to like the African diaspora that's coming over here. That this case specifically is important to, because I find generally, and this is yes, I understand a very like complicated conversation to have. There's a lot of migration that happens here from the boomer generation to essentially appreciate a lot more of the liberal policies here, which in reality end up just breaking down foreign families. So basically you see families immigrate over here, immediately go through divorce, and go through incredible tumult out of nowhere, where they're supposed to come here to live the Western dream or the Canadian dream or what American, but it ends up being the fucking nightmare, right? Because you come here and like family breaks apart under liberal principles that are supposed to be so positive, then you're subject to fucking socioeconomic fucking like.
Well, what's the alternative you would want?
Huh?
What's the alternative
You
you
know
want?
what the alternative is? Is my cousins who are half here, right? Their parents fucking hate each other. They live under the same house. Dad lives downstairs, mom lives upstairs, yelling at each other.
Welcome to the normal family.
Yelling at each other every
Fuck out of
fucking
that.
day.
Get the fuck out of that.
Yelling at each other every fucking
Oh,
day. My
Jesus.
cousins have like PTSD because every time they go home,
Shit.
mom and dad, even though they're not divorced, they're separated. They've been separated for 30 years, literally 30 years. They hate each other's guts, live under the same house, but they're like, oh, we're staying together for you, our daughters.
Oh,
Like my cousins are like, we have fucking trauma. We don't
Cora
quit.
needs to see you. Cora needs to hear
Holy fuck, my cousins are like,
Cora's
my
anti.
cousins are like, we have fucking trauma. Our parents hate each other, and it's like, this is just like not even, I can't even imagine, like you go home and your parents just like don't want to be in the same room together. They've been doing that arrangement for 30 years, like
Oh,
in each
Jesus,
other's guts.
man. Yeah,
Probably
dude.
50% of families are probably like that.
I
would
wouldn't
be
doubt
guessing.
it, man. I wouldn't doubt it. It's like,
Yeah.
at that point, isn't it just better to just like leave, right?
No, pretend, you motherfuckers, bro.
They don't want to pretend. They hate each other's
Act.
guts. They hate each other's guts so much. They don't want to be in the same room
Figure
with
it
each
out.
other.
You gotta try to
Even
see-
though they're like not divorced, but
That sounds
separated.
pretty normal to me.
Yeah.
I know half the time it's not
when you see
funny.
shit like that, that's when like millennials are the children of baby boomers who've had a pretty high divorce rate. That's when millennials look at this shit and they're just like, some millennials are like, yo, fuck getting married, because like if that's what's gonna be, like what the hell did everyone sign up for that?
Well, because love is
Yeah.
love is not a okay. Here's the thing. These 40, 60-year relationships that I had, that our grandparents had, they weren't fucking rosy the whole fucking goddamn time. Love is not, marriage is not a fucking romantic contract. It is an economic contract, right? It is one where essentially you are deciding. This is the thing. Commitment to somebody and loyalty has more so to do than just sexual infidelity.
Sure.
You're committed to someone's fucking life. The ebbs and flows, the peaks and valleys, right? And that's why.
But there's limits to that.
But they were married in a
Sure, if someone's
time when it
abusing
was
you, don't
different.
do
Yeah,
that.
right.
True.
If someone's abusing.
But at the same time, these days it's just more so like I'm not feeling it right now, or something hard is coming up.
Well, I think
You
the
know what I'm trying to
problem
say?
with that though is they shouldn't have been married to start.
Yes.
That's more. It's not a problem with divorce.
But I'm
it's a
saying-
problem with they shouldn't have been married.
But I'm saying,
And unfortunately,
And
they
then-
got married, especially because of the times. Let's say they're immigrants, one they don't speak English, they're like that. You just like, basically, I fucking know people who literally fucking brought wives over just because they need to get a visa. They need
Oh,
to like
yeah,
immigrate from
fuck,
like
man, yeah.
China to like North America.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yo,
one of those cases they shouldn't have got married.
like
again.
yeah, like we shouldn't get married, but also you want to go to Canada? Yeah, let's get married.
Yeah.
Dude, I know a guy that brought over another guy and married the guy
Oh.
who wasn't. Neither one of them were gay.
Wow,
He just married the
that's
guy to
next
bring
level.
over.
Holy fuck.
What a
Yeah.
hack, man! What a hack!
Yep.
Yeah, all I gotta say is that
Isn't
when immigration services shows up at your fucking house asking you
Is
how
it-
you're gay, I was sleeping in the same bed as you better be down to like fucking show it.
Yeah.
You know, is there not a movie about this?
Yeah.
It's an Adam Sandler movie, is it not?
There's a movie?
Yes, swear to God, there's an
Could
Adam
be,
Sandler movie
could
about
be.
this.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Dude, this is a
I
guy.
swear,
This is
yeah.
a guy from King Street
Oh, no way.
that was over down at King Street
Oh, there you
back in the
go.
day. Yeah. And his girlfriend was like, "Yeah, go for it, man." Like, why not, right?
Man, the things people have to do to survive in this world, though, it's like that's the other part of this.
Oh
That's the other
man,
part of
it's a
this
sad.
equation, right? It's like,
It's a sad world, man.
Well, my aunt told me last month she's going back to Thailand this month with my cousin, and she said, "Oh, actually, we found a wife for your cousin." My cousin's like 25, and he's like basically like a loner. And she's like, "Oh, we haven't met her yet. We're gonna go meet her, and then if all goes well, we're gonna bring her over."
Wow.
And I'm like,
Go ahead.
I guess. I'm like, fuck, man. You know, this guy, he's definitely not going out to the clubs meeting girls.
man, for a lot of guys, like
That's
for a lot
fucking
of,
great
for a lot-
for him,
for a lot of
man.
people, getting a girl from the village is fucking. That's
Yeah, she's
that's
gonna go back to the
yeah,
village.
yeah.
She's gonna be there for 7 weeks now.
Conservatism, bro.
It sounds so
Conservatism.
Yeah, man, having a girl is gonna come back and like she's not gonna question you. She's not gonna fucking. She's gonna rely on you. You're trying to say. For a lot of dudes, that's all they fucking want.
I've been in some service limited chicks like that recently, bro, and I can tell you, bro, it's really awful having a girl 100% depend on you, and it's in a Western society that expects women to be able to do and be capable of more. When you have a girl who's 100%, she needs to do everything for her, man, and because if you're raised in Canada, especially, you're gonna look at you make her feel like your girlfriend's a deadbeat.
Well, there's a lot of girls that be
I
trying
think you
right
need
now
the
that
right.
are
You're right. I think you need the right amount of both. You know what I mean? You need that somewhat of an amount of independence and autonomy, and not like I'll call it like a piece of like driftwood,
Yeah.
or just I'll call it useless.
Yeah.
But then you need that other side of it that's, well, you know, I'll get back to nurturing, but you need that other side of femininity, which is almost fucking vacant nowadays. It doesn't exist. Right?
You know what
It's
I
like
will
they're
say?
all men. They're all fucking want to be men.
There's such a key value to having a feminine mother who like cares and loves you, because she teaches you so much about like how society should operate. Because if you don't have that, it's like fucking Warhammer. It's just war.
It's like jail,
It's
bro.
just chaos. It's just war.
In the future, all there is war.
It's just war, bro. All there is-
Guys who are Warhammer are definitely way too much testosterone, bro. It's a bunch of fucking nerds
Fuck.
writing about how to kill motherfuckers in space.
All there, yeah, without love, all there is war.
Well, these both sides, man. Like, you can't just have a woman or a mother love you. You also gotta have a father, right? Some people's fathers just like not in their lives.
Oh
man.
yeah.
They're like,
I know some
they're like
dudes.
hard nosed, like
Yeah,
fucking.
they're a little lost.
Yo, so
I know some
They
dudes.
could use a bit more discipline,
Oh.
or if not discipline, like structure,
Yeah.
or like inspiration, or certain more masculine style.
guidance, man. Guidance is like
Guidance, right?
Well, everybody needs role models, and
Yeah.
who's the first role model in your life? More, who do you?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm just fucking with you. But you know what I mean? Like YouTubers and some. That's kind of scary to me. It's kind of scary to me. Like especially younger kids.
The reason Jordan Peterson is so popular, man, is because everyone needs a dad. Because he looks like a dad, he acts like your fuck. He says he's your dad. He says he's your fucking dad. He looks like an angry dad. He
Oh,
looks
you like
like
Jordan
your
Peterson?
dad. Yeah, that's why Jordan Peterson's so fucking popular. Because we're the generation of dudes who like
You know what?
who need masculine figures so bad. Dude,
So you-
Wes Watson, and they're looking up. Our generation is so lost for men. We need a tatted up, roided up prison convict to tell you how to submit.
so you-
That's
who's
what
that? Who's
Wes
that?
Watson is a tatted up,
Maybe-
roided up
maybe-
prison
I don't
convict
know.
who's
They
got
need
huge
like
following.
maybe like a masculine male figure. They need a figure to like, hey, you said guide them, right? And
Wes
that
Watson.
could be male, female. They could be fucking cartoon. They need somebody just like, literally just.
Wes Watson's like,
not
you
fucking-
want to know how to be a man? I'll show you how to be a man. I'll
Right,
show you
so
some
that-
I'll put 10 dudes in jail.
I'll tell you something funny.
Yeah.
So my father was in the Navy, so I grew up a Navy brat, right? So it's like I live.
Or ass.
No, man, he's a gentle fucking giant. You know what I'm trying to say? Like he's actually like a pretty like, I'll put it like this. He's good to me because I'm his son and his family. But I've heard stories. He's not like, it's like me. I'm nice to you guys,
but I'll fuck niggas up. You know what I mean? They're trying to say, yeah. So it was good because like basically like I had that as a basis, but this is interesting thing is like when he got honored by my life and all I had is my mom. The interesting thing is like my mom's idea of masculinity was toxic masculinity. So how she basically fostered like me being a man was like, don't cry. I don't want to hear you bitch about shit. You gotta be hard as fuck.
Oh, man.
Never fucking complain.
Oh, man.
Yo, if you have an issue at fucking school, I don't want to hear about it. You handle that. You handle your business, bro. If I come back from home and I hear you beat the fuck out of somebody, that's good. Right?
Wow, man.
yeah.
Oh,
so
Yeah. She put me in football. She put me in martial arts. She put me. I'm trying to say it's like the whole path of like the fucking aggressive, hyperhuman being. People think is like a man. No, this is a woman who fucking did this because that's how our perception of how a man.
No, I hear you. There was,
She's
there was
probably
some
trying to
women like that.
compensate, right?
Pardon?
She's trying to compensate.
Yeah.
She was
yeah,
overcompensating.
Dude, exactly. Like,
She's putting that in because your dad wasn't there.
But the irony of it too, though, is that like, and then Jordan Peterson talks about this too, is that like in scenarios where you're dealing with a single mother, right? The second she sees competency as a male, she gets scared of it because she has issues with a prior relationship, so she tries to put that down. So that all started happening. There was a weird balance of like, okay, I have no idea how to like make a man, but at the same time too, I hate your father, and the more I see you acting like a man, the more you remind me of him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
I've heard a thing once where.
That's fucked, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
There's a lot going on there, man. There's
I've heard where
Holy
mothers
fuck,
That's
man.
so
will.
complicated, bro.
Yeah.
Mothers that have like the father's gone for whatever reason, mothers will try and make their sons the quote unquote perfect man that the father wasn't.
Yeah.
So
There's
they'll
sometimes
try
that,
and
yeah.
make the kid, because they can mold the kid into how they wanted the husband to
To
be.
be, yeah.
That's exactly what happened to my cousin. So because I was talking about going back to Thailand, his mom babies him, but his dad, I remember from the time we were kids, his dad literally said to him, "You are our ticket out of the ghetto."
Oh, shit.
His dad would not allow him to have
shit.
friends because his dad is like, the way you succeed in life is through intelligence and academics, not through friends, not through social, any of that.
That's bad parenting.
His dad was, you come home, you go to school, you come home, you study, and then you go to karate. That's it. You have two lives.
Oh, jeez.
Study and karate, and no girls, no social, because they don't provide anything to you. And he got to a point where he fucking hated his dad, man.
Of course,
The
yeah.
time he got to university, he was like,
It's
what the
actually
fuck,
bad.
man? And his dad was like, basically, as you get older, his dad was like, dude, you're not succeeding. He would like beat him and be like,
Oh.
you are supposed to be, you have to understand,
Okay.
you are supposed to be our ticket out.
Okay.
You are the only child, you are the ticket. You have to understand, you are the ticket.
Okay.
In his mind, he's like, I am the ticket. Like, I have to get my mom and dad out of here. And like, he was like, fuck, like, I don't have a choice, man. Like, they gave me this life, like, I'm beholden to them.
Yeah.
Like, I am.
See, that's negative Confucianism. That's toxic Confucianism.
Well, his dad is like an old Chinese dude. His mom's Vietnamese. They have this
That's toxic.
relationship.
That's the problem with Confucianism, and that's the problem with the Chinese government. That's all I'm gonna say. Toxic Confucianism. It's the whole idea.
That's sad, man. That's
it's
really
the whole idea that your
But
parents
you
will look at your ass.
I understood because for his dad came from a time in China where they were being cracked on and killed, right? Like they were being like, you know.
It was
like,
way worse back in the day.
It was way worse. And so for him, he's like, yeah, of course I have this offspring. This offspring is the golden goose, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get that, man. That's what happened to me. But I got thrown out. Like, I literally, my
well,
mom-
he got thrown out too.
No, see, because like, basically
Yeah.
I had the same thing where basically it was like I was the golden child of the fucking family, so I didn't do anything growing up. All I did is play like martial arts, football, school. I was a fucking grade A student. Get to university, I rubber band because like I've been in life so conservative. Second, get to university, you don't perform. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking useless. You know, I fucking expect you, right? So it's a fucking horrific fucking lifestyle that like some of these foreigners have in their fucking
Well,
life.
if you've got a normal family, right? Like, although it's like normal, you're actually rare compared to the way a lot of families are.
That's my dad always fucking says.
Well, I
That's
mean,
my dad always says. If you have a normal family, you are in the fucking minority.
The last girl,
Yeah.
the last girl I dated, I would tell stories about my family. She started crying.
Oh,
That.
Wow, because she just has such a normal family.
Yeah, she has just a normal family. She started bawling. That's how we had to break up.
Yeah.
We had to break up basically because I was like,
Oh,
yo,
she's just too sheltered.
And I was like, I can't. Like, I know your parents. I don't want your parents to continuously see you crying when you're talking to me. This is just not a good look. You know, trying to say like, what the fuck? Because it's not even like I'm doing anything. Just like I can't.
Yeah, I follow you.
I can't continuously be like,
Oh, yeah.
have my life make you sad. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like you need balance as a kid growing up, like a guy you were just talking about, totally unbalanced. My roommate in university, second year university, he was like Canada Games level swimmer. At one point I said to him, I said, so how far are you off of the world record, right? I was just kind of like joking, and he's like, oh, I'm like a half a second or some ridiculous thing like that. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Are you serious? He's like, no, trust me, that half a second is like a mile.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, real, but still, he was at that level. And I remember him telling me a story that he, to his high school graduation party, he brought a 2-liter of milk and a box of Girl Guide cookies.
Oh God.
Everyone's drinking fucking liquor, having a great time, smoking dope.
Because his health, like.
Well, no, because he never drank his entire life.
Oh.
He was like a hardcore. His family like drilled it into him.
I see.
Like
You're an Olympic
hardcore
I see.
swimmer, Olympic swimmer, the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, he was living with me.
Wow.
Okay,
That's wild.
which
That's
is
a wild
crazy
story.
because I was the fucking beer rep on campus.
Okay, yeah.
So I had
You're
the
going
complete
hard,
opposite.
man, yeah, with the
He had
kegs.
swim practice at 5 a.m. and I'd be
Yeah.
coming in at 2:30 or 3 a.m. But anyway, long story short, he ended up turning into a massive alcoholic, massive drug addict, all this shit.
yeah.
8 years later,
Oh shit.
still didn't finish fucking university,
Oh,
and then went back home.
Yep.
So the guy was like, he was the cream of the crop,
Yep.
never had a fucking drop of alcohol, goes to university,
Yep.
and just tastes it and tastes that whole other side of life. No balance.
Preach.
And he
That was me.
fucking completely,
That was me. That was 100%
completely went off the deep end. 8 fucking years. And I remember joking a few years ago about my buddies, I'm like, oh fuck Gio, it took him fucking 8 years to finish. And they're like, no, Gio never actually did finish. 8 years of fucking 1 degree, couldn't even finish it. So, that's the whole, it's balance, right? A lot of times you need that balance, whatever that balance is, right?
Parenting is not a unidirectional fucking skill.
That's why the Tiger Moms, man, that's bad propaganda.
It's bad parenting.
It's really bad.
You need to listen to your kid. You need to have
But so is full anarchy, man. In Vancouver, we got a lot of left hippie type white
I'm
people
not saying
running
that.
around, and I'm like, yo, man, you what the fuck you doing with your kids here, man? You guys need a little bit more discipline.
you need to provide your child structure because that's your in my opinion, your point.
Yeah, just
as being
foster
parents,
hobbies, right?
But at the same time,
know?
you can't just be completely ignorant of who your child is and
Yeah,
their personality
yeah,
and their character
yeah.
and their needs and wants.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it is also projection, right? It's like, you
Yeah,
guys
there's some.
succeed, man. You guys succeed, so you can get, because we put our time, energy, resources into you, right?
Yeah.
You are the investment, really. You're the investment. Right?
No, but I see what you're saying.
That's what they're saying. That they look at the child as the investment. Like, you're gonna take care of us when we're old. You're gonna take care of us when maybe we can't afford a house now. You're gonna get the house.
Well, see,
whatever,
this is
right?
the funniest
Hey,
thing. This is
you're gonna pick the home I'm gonna be in.
yeah. Well, see, this is the
Yeah.
this is the
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
See, this is the irony here, right? So, and whatever, I'll say this, but it's so my mom has on her Twitter, she's got a pretty fucking decent role too. Mother of 3, none of her kids talk to her, right? She will most probably die alone.
Fuck, man.
That's
Well,
crazy.
No one's gonna take care of her.
That's crazy.
Maybe my sister, I have no idea.
At the very end, man, I think everyone, once you pass 90 and shit, everyone's so fucking old. I think everyone, to a certain extent, dies alone in the old folks.
Yeah, it's
Because you're so fucked up at that point, it's what it is.
Yeah. I just think that's what I'm trying to say. The parenting is actually an important thing. You can't just treat it like a fucking. And this goes back to what I'm trying to say.
That's true, yeah.
I think that we're getting far away from the principles of what life is in this westernized culture of what we think is actually important in life.
That's why the Generation A, man, they're gonna go back to the agrarian way. They're gonna live in small towns,
And I
communal
agree.
homes.
I
And
feel-
I think it's where land is cheap again. I think that's gonna because the way when life becomes way too high pressure and way too high performance just to have a normal life, the human spirit will rebel against that.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a
Yeah.
pendulum, right? So things go one way, way too far, and then they go back to balanced, and then they go the other way too far, and they go back to balance, and they go the other way. So I think that's what's happening a lot right now. You're seeing things are going in some direction, some parts of life, not everything all at the same time, but some things go way too far one way, and they got to rebalance, right?
100%.
Yeah, I think we've swung really, really far to the left, and we're feeling I think we're feeling 100% the consequences of that. I think it's gonna be a really hard like move back to conservatism.
Honestly, I think I'm a microcosm of it. I think like literally I see like a lot of kids growing up in the same environment that I grew up in, and I'm like, yeah, I get exactly where you're gonna be in a couple of years. You have the exact same mentality that I do. And it's so it's like I see where things are gonna be going.
It's crazy, man. It's super fucking dark, bro. This life, man. This is modern life out here.
I did save 15% on insurance by switching to Geico.
God damn it.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. It's stuff like that just blows your mind. Or I was reading in Thailand, I don't know if you read about this, Evie. You know, like, a lot of shrimp, like over 40% of shrimp imports from Europe come from Thailand. And, like, if you read, I was just reading a National Geographic article, it's like a couple of years back. I was shocked. Like, a lot of Thai shrimp farmers are held at gunpoint, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's fucked, man. It's like really
Why?
sad.
Because they steal it?
It's because it's a really profitable industry, and you can just milk the human capital out of like sheer manual labor of just like trawling all these shrimp farms, and they're holding dudes at gunpoint saying, "You're working for me 14 hours a day now. You're fucked, dude.
Yeah,
We're gonna extract as much money as we can from you fuckers, and take away your passports. Come from Cambodia, come from other places. Really sad world, right?
You think how far, Western countries has come, but there's
So
a
it's
lot of
not
countries
like
where
large
there's,
governments that are doing it now.
rights, man.
Yeah, there was a post I read recently that said like the guy's from Canada and he says that he did the digital nomad for 2 years and he's done. And he says he came back and he's just like, I'm a privileged Westerner to say that like I've traveled the world at this point and I can say that like living in the West. We have a very functional. He's like everyone criticizes like America and like how bad the government is this and that. He's like, dog. After spending 2 years living in like third world countries, America is one of the greatest places in the fucking world.
Yes, it is.
He's like, there's justice.
of course it
We
is.
don't have slavery.
By comparison,
He's like, there's economic mobility. The infrastructure works properly. There's fucking. And he's like, it's not perfect, but he's like, it's still like 90% better than most places on the planet, man. He's like, some of the places he was in were awful. And he's like, yeah, and it's fun, and it's cheap, and you can live around, like, go on vacations and stuff. But when you start living there long term and start seeing like this like systemic problems, there's a reason why so many people immigrate like to the West.
One of my my friend Ahmed was saying like, met him in university, and he was just like, he was like basically a captivity baby because his parents had basically gone to Kuwait because dad was working for like an oil company. They went to Kuwait and like because they took their passport. Their parents stayed in Kuwait for 10 years.
That's fucked up, man.
Like
That's so
they
fucked
couldn't
up,
leave, man.
That's so
like
fucked
they're
up.
like, yeah, but the thing is, like, it was like a soft pull where his dad was making a lot of money. He just had no passport. He just couldn't leave.
Shit.
They come from Indonesia, right? And they're like, yeah, you go from Indonesia where you're making $1 a day to now making $10 a day, and eventually $20, $30. But it's just he was like, there's a little cloud hanging overhead, just knowing that like we don't have our passports. Like we can leave when my dad quits his job, and that's it.
Holy shit.
While he was employed at that oil field, he couldn't quit because they have the passport. They're like, yeah, cool, keep working. We're gonna pay you really well, right? And you're like, okay, well, I'm doing really good. I've been here for like 9, 10 years now. Fuck, like, can I even leave?
That's fucking slavery, bro.
And he's like, oh yeah, like a lot of his friends were the same way. He's like, a lot of his friends had grown up there or had been imported. And at the time, Kuwait was, especially in the 90s, Kuwait was on the come up, and most of the come up was because of like basically like modern day slavery.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. The Middle East is built on slavery.
Yeah,
That's
a lot
true.
of it is.
Yeah.
100%.
A lot of it?
is.
A lot of it?
Yeah.
Or not all of it.
I'd say a
No,
lot.
I don't agree all
I'd
of
say
it.
a lot
No,
of it.
not
I'd say
I would agree with a
There's
lot of it.
lot
I
of
would agree with all
I
of
would
it.
say all.
No, not all
I
of
can't
it.
say 100%,
No,
but
not all
like,
of it.
like,
A lot of it.
Definitely a
A lot
lot.
of it.
Like,
A lot of slavery in the Middle East.
Yes.
Indentured slavery.
Like the UAE for sure is all.
Yeah, I agree.
What does that
I
mean,
agree with that.
indentured
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
Like, just like
That's
they
what I'm
bring
saying,
it
a lot
to
of
Pakistan to build the Burj Khalifa.
But, like,
they
Yeah,
take your
they
passport.
import you from another country. They take your passport.
Yep.
Once you arrive.
Yeah, 100%.
We had a cousin. We had a cousin. We had a cousin.
Yeah. Let's just
We
look
had,
this up, man.
we had a cousin. We had to go
So-
retrieve from Abu Dhabi. He fucking this guy. I have a cousin in Kenya. They told him they had some job for him in Abu Dhabi. He goes over there. They take his fucking passport. They put him in a slum. They're like, you're just gonna work there. So he had to email us because they took all his phones away and shit like that too. He's like, I'm stuck here. So we had to go there and get him.
Yeah, that's really sad.
How'd you get him out?
Fucking paid.
That's fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
That's super fucked up. That's super fucked up.
Paid to get him out of there because that's what they do, bro. They go fucking. You know what's crazier? They actually had a doesn't matter who it was. She had a friend who went to go do a modeling trip over in the UAE.
Oh, that's cool.
You said a modeling trip?
I'm gonna go model in the UAE.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to her, and she was like a fucking like she was like a white girl from fucking like Belleville. You know what I'm trying to say?
Shit.
So
From where?
Belleville, Ontario.
Oh,
so
Belleville.
so she's like, oh yeah, I'm going over to go model over in the UAE.
Shit,
They went to go take her passport. It's sort of the same thing. Basically, it's like he was taking care of her. She was having a good life, but at the same time, she couldn't fucking leave. Here's the other thing: she wasn't getting paid though, right? So she's basically just arm candy. But you're not complaining. You're going to dinners every night. You get to go wherever you want, whatever, all this shit, right? But it's like, yo, you can't, you know.
Well, doesn't that happen to the strippers here too a lot? They come over under pretense of being
Here, I don't-
dancers or whatever, and then they
not
get their
as much
fucking.
here.
No?
It's human trafficking
Yeah.
that happens. Yes.
You
Yeah.
do get traffic, but I think it's a much smaller scale than Europe. Europe, there's a lot of.
Those aren't strippers. Those are
Yeah.
escorts. Those aren't strippers. Strippers are just like girls who need money. Escorts are getting trafficked.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
It's a sad world.
It's a crazy world.
It's a
man.
fucking crazy
Fuck
world.
did that shit happen?
Yo, St. Lawrence River, you got human trafficking, all kinds, man.
Yeah.
Really?
It's all kind. Oh yeah, dude. You can read an Economist article. This was published like 7 years ago. I read this in undergrad. Dude, there's a lot of human trafficking in Canada. There's stuff we don't even realize.
This teenagers
how
get-
much
The teenagers
trafficking.
getting trafficked Pickering.
Dude, for real.
Pickering.
I was read about Pickering.
Yeah.
I read about Niagara.
Yeah.
Dude, I read about St. Lawrence River coming from Montreal, coming from the eastern seaboard,
Yeah.
man. There's all kinds of shit we don't.
Yeah.
Unless you read academic literature,
I-
you read like. it's like crazy.
Yeah, I heard
shit.
along the
It's really sad, man.
the
We got a lot of
Minnesota
shit
border
going
and like
on.
Michigan. There's like high rates of trafficking, especially coming
Yeah.
from like the northern
Yeah, man.
US states
Oh, yeah.
into like
Yeah.
Saskatchewan. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge.
There's like thousands,
Like
thousands
they
of
cannot
people. man.
patrol.
No, they
between
can't.
1,000
Exactly, they
kilometers.
cannot.
We got
patrol.
6,000
It's also, but
kilometers across
you
Canada.
also need to
Exactly.
understand. You also need to understand how it's happening, right? So, for example, I have a buddy in DRPS, Durham Regional Police Services. He's like 80% of the motel hotel services in like Durham are for prostitution.
Oh, jeez.
Right? That's what we booked for. But then basically, he's like,
So people aren't traveling to Toronto and staying in Ajax.
Well,
Who the fuck's staying in Ajax in hotels?
Yeah,
Right?
fuck.
Yeah. But he's basically saying like the other issue is that like, yo, like we can't stop it because like it's not like these girls are unwillingly entering this.
Unwillingly?
Yeah, it's basically saying like